Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Pick a Side podcast. My name is Joel Moran and I'm here with River Brown, Andrew Velez, and Joe Dehls. And this is now episode 402. In this episode, we are going to... And it is 3?
403.
It is 3.
It is 403.
Okay, I'll try.
Never in doubt.
Yo, you know, as I said, I was like, I'm really not sure in this. I was like...
You don't got your notes.
It might be 402 or 403.
Oh, shit.
But yeah, this episode 403. Today we're going to preview the AFC and the NFC. Well, not so much preview, but just give our predictions for every single division. The opener is Thursday, so we're going to preview the Chiefs and Ravens first game of the season. And then we have some NBA stuff with Riv's higher and lowers.
Listen, Riv, we just talked about it before the show. The fans are starting to point and stare. They're unsure of your basketball opinions nowadays. You're usually, yo, this guy Riv, man, he's one of them ones.
It's the summer. I could take a break.
So you're saying you've been a little laxed on your basketball knowledge.
I only lost in the comments one recent one.
You know, I'm gonna say that low key, you're right. The only thing that kills me, and now that it's a couple episodes after, is after the Hakeem and the LeBron debate, you came to us after and you're like, yeah, I was wrong.
Oh, yeah.
The only thing that killed me about that was all the comments defending Riv.
Oh yeah, nah. TikTok. It was crazy. It was crazy.
That was definitely the most I've seen of 50-50 split in our show. Like, I really haven't seen too many people in all of our debates be as split as that one.
You saw people were
People are trying to be woke with that one.
They were challenging you on your Tatum pick.
Which one?
The one we just had.
You know, I actually am not surprised at that because I just posted my power forwards list and I had Kevin Durant, I had LeBron, and I had Giannis over them.
What were they saying?
And all I said was,
just out of curiosity, I don't know.
It's 2020. It's 2024. How do we have LeBron and KD over Jason
Tatum? LeBron's a stat.
Bronze valid. Bronze valid.
and I said to them, and this is as fair as I could put it, when Jason Tatum remembers how to shoot the basketball, he will 100% go to 2. When he remembers how to shoot,
he could be number 1.
I don't know.
You know,
Giannis, I feel like right now
He's
is very
solid.
far away.
He's a fine ball player.
And the Bucks are gonna beat the Celtics if they're healthy this year.
No, they're not.
I'm
so serious.
I'd be hopeful.
What has
Giannis
Giannis done against Al Horford recently?
I don't understand. What?
Al Horford is locking him up.
He's kind of right.
Locking him up. And the
He's
playoffs he was.
Giannis last time he played John in the playoffs and went to 7 games and he was the best player in the series.
Well, why
Jason
dropped
Tatum.
46 in
Jason
game
Tatum
6?
was not the best player in that series.
It was close.
No, it was not.
It was
Did you
close.
see the-
Giannis was better.
Do you
All right,
remember
who was
the
better
efficiency
game
of
6,
Giannis
the game that mattered the
series?
most?
The efficiency was not there.
Tatum was
See,
better.
look, this is where I get caught up because
Game
I go back to
7 does
2022.
kinda
That's when I
matter
love
the
Jason
most.
Tatum.
Game 6.
How does game 6 matter
46,
more than game 7?
Because that was a closeout.
from
Yeah,
the
Bucks
yeah,
went up
mattered.
3-2. They won game 5 on the road
And
in
Giannis put up
Boston.
40 and Tatum outperformed him on the road. That was crazy.
So because of one performance, he played
well, then
better in the
Giannis
series.
also didn't play well in game 7.
Well, game 7
They got
was the Grant
smoked.
Williams game.
They got
That was
smoked.
game 7.
You know who's
Game
guarding
7,
Grant
everybody
Williams,
shot well. Grant was wide open. What do you mean who guarded Grant?
Giannis did not play well when guarded by Al. Not at all.
Listen, Giannis is the best
Do you want me to
player
find the numbers?
in
I-
the Eastern
okay.
Conference.
And we saw what we just did with Luka, respectfully.
Giannis is the
Respectfully,
best
what you
player
did
in
Giannis
the
is the
conference.
best player in the Eastern Conference, Joel. Just
Gary Trent Jr.
I
was
just
an
think we have,
underrated addition.
I just don't think they could beat us.
Don't sleep on Gary
That's all-
Trent
that's
Jr.
all I think.
Don't
He
sleep
Sounds
did
like
on
me in
shoot- he shot
2022.
like
You know, I love Gary
58%
Trent.
like wide open
Dame,
threes.
I love Gary
Dame
Trent.
is back this year. If the Celtics meet up with a healthy Bucks team,
Dame's
the Bucks
cooking
will
Drew.
beat them.
Dame, that's an awful matchup for Dame.
When Drew
it's bad.
locked up Dame, it was because he had help. They were
He has
trapping
help
Dame.
now.
We have all the help in the
Yeah,
world.
Derek
And the
White
Bucks have
and
shooters
Drew
all over the
Holiday.
floor.
Gonna
No,
have Dame
I'm
in
with you.
hell.
I'm just saying it's a bad matchup for
That's
Dame.
a tough matchup.
It's a bad
real
matchup
tough.
for Dame.
Real tough.
Do we not look
think
at
any
the
guard
wings
is-
that Dame
Imagine
had to
you
play
getting
with
a
in
break
Portland?
from Drew Holiday is Derek White and or Jalen Brown.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough.
No, when Dame faced the Pelicans in the first round, John researched this because John is also in the producer's corner. Shout out to John right now.
We're gonna have to start including John in our intro. Be like, and our producer John Tortorelli.
We have to. The wings that Dame had, his teammates, Al-Farouq Aminu, Evan Turner. I know those were the wings for the conference
that
finals
year?
run. It might have been Mo Harkless too that was starting for them.
Yeah, it might have been Mo Harkless. Might have
They
been
both
more.
were drafted in that John Wall draft. Or am I tweaked?
No, CJ was in a different.
Al-Farouq Aminu and Evan Turner.
Al-Farouq Aminu most definitely probably was in that draft.
Because Evan Turner was the second pick.
It was
Evan Turner went in
2010 to 2011.
Yeah, he did go with Wall. He did go.
No, because Turner was second. What happened, John? Facts. It was the same draft. I only
That
remember
Bucks,
Everton
this
didn't
Bucks
go to,
team is still
Portland, though.
is still
He went
mid,
no,
bro.
he
They
went to
have
Philly.
great shooting,
Yeah, but they.
and you can't stop Giannis.
I mean, he's gonna do it inefficiently. He'll get his
You
30.
can't.
He'll
You
do it
can't.
inefficiently.
No, you can't stop Giannis.
The last time we played him, we did about as good as
Well,
you can.
It went
inefficiently,
to
what?
7, and
51%
Chris
from the
Middleton
field.
Did not play a
was
game in
like-
that series.
Right now, he's like in the low 45.
Yeah,
46.
he
No, no, not low.
Chris
40s.
Middleton didn't play a game in that series.
No, he did not.
And it went to 7.
Yes, it did. Giannis is
And now
that great.
he has Dame and Middleton.
To be
You're
fair,
good.
Boston-
Well, that was a
Better.
young. That was a
Celtics
way
team-
younger
Celtics team's way
Celtics
better.
team.
Celtics seems way better right now.
No Drew Holiday either. No
not hearing
KP
that.
either.
This not this
KP's
version.
not going
nah,
to play in
nah.
the playoffs. We know that. He's hurt right now.
Who are you saying, KP?
Yes.
Well,
I can't count on him to be healthy in the playoffs.
that's fair, but
a good
even
point.
without him, they
And
won the
Giannis would,
championship.
Giannis would
You
dominate
can't count
KP
on
too.
Middleton though either.
Against Boston,
unfortunately.
he shot 45% from the field.
It's low.
That
He's
isn't
taking
great for
straight-
him. For him, that's not
mainly-
great.
Let
Yeah.
me hear them numbers. Let me hear them numbers.
Oh, you
No,
just
he
care about
averaged,
the
he
raw
averaged
stats.
34 and 15
my
and
God.
7.
And 7.
Oh my
Like
God.
I said,
Can
he's
you do me a
gonna
favor?
put up his numbers, but it's gonna be inefficient.
Can
many
you do me a
turnovers?
favor? Can you do me? Tell me the 3-point percentage of his teammates.
Okay, well, I'm gonna have to do a little bit more digging there. I can't find his.
What was his? Can you find his 2-point percentage?
Holy
All you
moly.
gotta do is scroll down. He's going to shooting by distance. Sent the
If
wrong
you're,
guy.
aren't you on the B-ball reference page?
Yeah, but I'm looking
That's why
at
he should
playoff
just go
series.
down.
I'm here, guys. Don't worry.
We sent the wrong
The
dude.
3-point percentage of his teammates.
Let me hear Drew Holidays, please.
That
Well,
one's
the
easier to
team
find.
shot 28% from 3.
No, Drew stunk. That
Drew
series.
shot 30% from 3.
Yeah, he wasn't good.
What else did you want to know? Giannis's turnovers.
Yeah.
He wanted to know the 2-point percentage.
He had 36 turnovers over 7 games.
How many assists?
He had 50 assists total.
I could live with that.
50 assists, 36 turnovers.
He averaged like 4 or 5 turnovers a game.
It's not great.
Hey, you live with it. He's getting double.
Wesley
teamed and all
Matthews
that.
shot 40%. Grayson Allen shot 40%. Pat Connaughton shot 39%. No one else was above 32%.
I mean, the team shot 28%.
What did Brooke Lopez shoot?
21%.
Wow.
from
The
from
main
3?
guys are
From
shooting
3.
pretty bad.
Am I insane or? I was gonna say, bro. Brooke Lopez shot
My bad. I was
.077%.
looking at the whole playoffs, not just the Celtics series.
He shot 8% from 3. Brooke Lopez.
Yeah, but the whole playoffs, they weren't really able. I mean, they lost in the second round.
8%. What the fuck?
And it went to 7.
Yo, John. Oh my God.
And it went to 7.
Yeah, but the Celtics team is better.
Way
It is
better.
better.
Way
It is
better.
better.
Way better.
And like,
I'm not
how,
gonna deny
how
that.
much,
Way
how
better.
much
Not gonna
better?
deny
How
that.
much better is this Bucks team than that Bucks team?
I think
Realistically,
they're significantly
because it's not
better.
it's not the same. It's not the same Brooke
Significantly?
Lopez.
No.
Well,
It's not the
offensively,
same
I
Brooke.
think
You have
Dame,
Dame, but you
yeah,
lose defense
makes you
with
better
Drew.
than Drew.
Like the teams, you got Dame. All right, it's better, but it's not as drastically better that all of a sudden it's over Boston.
Yeah, but Drew with Milwaukee, he was so inefficient.
He was not
was
a good
so
scorer.
inefficient.
in
And now he's
Milwaukee.
on the Boston. He's like one of the most efficient shooters
It's
in the
ridiculous.
NBA.
That's because the
Different
usage
role.
has been different.
no,
well,
for
it's
sure.
also because the team is stacked.
And also his corner 3-point percentage just
Shit
skyrocketed.
is hilarious, actually.
Shout out
So
to
if we
Missoula.
expect a regression to the mean, you're very well.
You think Drew's gonna regress this year?
No, I don't think so, but if
I
he
don't think
does,
so.
I'm just saying there's a possibility.
I don't think so, man.
So this episode 403, we have John in the building right
Shout
here.
to John.
Show your beautiful face on the camera right now.
How we doing?
That sounded real.
How you doing?
Yeah.
Hi.
John, how was your weekend, bro?
It was a great weekend.
How was your date? Get to it.
The date was good. It was 5 hours. We had a good time together. So it was
What did you do?
We
Tell the
went to the
world.
dog park for my dog Carmelo, named after Carmelo Anthony, and then after we had a little
put that
Chipotle
together.
run. So it was a good time.
Never
Dude,
would've
you
guessed that.
named your dog after Carmelo Anthony?
Yeah, it's
No
also
way.
an Italian name. So
You're a diehard Knicks fan?
no, but
Probably
my family
Denver.
we name our dogs after NBA players because they're all.
Why didn't you name your dog Jokic?
Well, this was 2014. He wasn't drafted just yet. So
Jeremy Lin?
no.
If you got a dog now, would you
Gordon
name it
Hayward?
Jokic?
What?
Is there any reason you name your dog after NBA players?
Would you name your
Yeah.
dog Devin? I know you love Devin Booker.
No, I would name. Booker's already the name of Baradas' dog, but that'd be a fire name. Devin
What do you
Booker.
think about the name Henry for a
Baradas?
dog?
Baradas?
Who the hell's that?
FaZe Ruggs' brother? He's got like 4 million
FaZe
subscribers
Ruggs?
at least.
John.
FaZe Ruggs' brother Baradas.
John, you can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear
What do
you,
you think about the name Henry for a dog?
It's solid. It's good. It's good.
Why he asking you hear me? He's sitting right there. Of course he can hear you.
I think it's because Joel asked like 3 times.
He wasn't answering.
He asked Joel asked him legitimately like 6 times.
I'm just like, wait, he's right there.
Nah, I didn't hear him ask.
Nah, I couldn't hear you.
Henry's a good dog name. Naming a dog like a normal person name is fun. Like, what's up, Henry?
My sister
It's
named
a
our
crazy
dog,
name. Not gonna lie, it's just funny.
My sister named our dog Onyx.
That's hard.
Yeah.
Like the Pokemon?
Like, nah, I think probably after the rap group name.
Okay.
You don't know them, don't
No.
you? No. Okay, me either. But
Okay.
I think
Thanks for being
Now we
honest.
talking about there's in the early 2000s.
I think
Those
I think
are the
it was in
underground
90s.
scene.
I think it was. In
I think he's
Nah,
just
you
making
right.
shit up.
yeah, I think so, but I believe that's she named him.
That
Onyx.
was the Asian rap group, right? Yeah, sure.
Second dog name is DJ though, so some calm shit.
Okay.
Bash in Berlin was this weekend.
I did not tune in. Am
Yeah,
I fake
Heard
for
it was
that?
amazing.
I
You
did.
you watched it?
I watched the Randy match, of course.
The Randy match
loved
rubbed
it.
me the wrong way.
The ending, yes.
You're gonna let him get put to bed? Randy Orton lost me
They be killing Randy's legacy, man.
How long do you think Gunther's title reign is gonna last?
a long time.
You really think
he just
that?
put Randy to sleep?
I just hope that it doesn't last that long. I'm
It's
tired
gonna-
of
whenever
long title
CM
reigns.
Punk or McIntyre fight him,
Randy could have easily taken the belt off of him off rip.
You know
I'm
what
not
I've
gonna say
been?
I think they're gonna wait for him and Cody to go at it.
You know what I've been seeing on Twitter?
Not mad at that.
A lot of people in wrestling Twitter right now, they think that Cody Rhodes is hurting the WWE by being the champion with his title reign.
What?
People are just not.
Do people
never
just
mad.
go
Is he
heel?
just whack?
Cody,
His reign has been whack, but the booking has been terrible. The first 2 pay-per-view matches were against AJ Styles, and nobody really thought AJ Styles was going to take the title from Cody, but those matches were good. Then he fought Logan Paul. Then he fought Solo Sikoa. They got him in the Bloodline feud again. And then he recently just fought Kevin Owens at Bash in
friend,
Berlin.
right?
And I feel like the Kevin Owens storyline has potential, but I agree. Like people just hate anything. Like Cody Rhodes, they were begging for him to be champion. Now that he's champion, people hate it. Roman Reigns, they were begging for him not to be champion no more. Now that he's not champion, they want to be champion again.
Yep. Roman Reigns is still the guy. It's obviously, and I said this when Cody first won. It's easier to chase the crown than to actually have it, because when you have it now, there's expectations. You didn't know what it felt like to have the crown. You just knew that you wanted it, but you never know how it's going to feel when you have it. Like what you need to do in order to prove that you are a great champion. Roman Reigns, although he fought very few and far in between for a long time after the 3rd year that he was champion, deserved and earned. Yeah, I can understand people wanting him to fight a little bit more, but again, when you fought everyone, you've beaten everyone, you've done it in for relatively convincing fashion, outside of when, of course, Solo and Jimmy and Jay would interfere whenever they did. Roman Reigns knew how to run the company, knew how to be the face, knew how to talk into a microphone, knew how to get the crowd involved, knew for his matches how to get the crowd very interested in the matches. You may not have loved the result, but again, there's a reason why you were watching. With Cody, it sucks because they want him to be the babyface that John Cena was, but I'm already talking to Max, and he's saying, I want Cody to turn heel. That's kind of already the issue. He's supposed to be the guy that you seamlessly transition from Cena to Cody, where now we have another guy that the fans will always love regardless, and we're a little bit more than half a year out of WrestleMania, and people are already over him. That's where you really need to look at who are you putting up against him, what's the story you want to build with him, and figure it out, because now you're kind of failing Cody.
Who do you think he should fight?
Whether people like it or not, they shouldn't have put Gunther as the world heavyweight champion. I would have loved to see a Gunther versus Cody, because that's actually one of the real top dogs. A Jay versus Cody feud wouldn't be terrible, but at the same time, you kind of know that the results automatically going to be Cody for whatever reason. They keep screwing Jey Uso. There aren't many guys that I could see taking the belt off him. The only one legitimately is Gunther, and he's already the champion on the other side.
If there's one next baby face of the company that has John Cena type potential, just as the top baby face of the company, am I crazy for thinking that is Jey Uso?
No. Jey Uso is a superstar.
I think Jey Uso has the most potential. He's selling a ton of merch. His entrance is amazing. I feel like they're doing him dirty by not giving him a title. He should have won Money in the Bank, honestly. That's where it all stems from.
He should have won Money in the Bank. We spoke about it. That was one of my least favorite bookings of the year by far. Jey Uso should, at minimum, have the heavyweight championship, or he should be in a strong feud with Cody. But the issue there is, you want to talk about babyface. Now what happens with Cody? Similar with Cena, where the crowd kind of hated on him, even though he was still acting like the good guy. That still could have been Cody versus Jey, where the crowd's over Cody. You ultimately have him win, but the crowd just wants more and more of Jey Uso. That could be an intriguing dynamic, but I don't know, man. They're trying to keep pushing Cody.
The issue is not on Cody, but the people who he's facing. Because I feel like when Cena had his big runs, he had amazing opponents, not just in the ring, but like as heels. Edge,
Facts.
Randy Orton, for two examples, or two are probably the best heels we've ever seen in our era.
Batista's another one.
When he turned into a heel, he was an asshole.
Lesnar,
it was
too.
Amazing. Brock was dope. So it's like the few guys he didn't, like Undertaker, Triple H at times, but Triple H can be a great heel too. So do y'all think the opponent is the problem for Cody? He hasn't really faced, the only heel who can still do it at that level is Randy, but Randy's a babyface right now.
And they also have CM Punk in a feud with Drew McIntyre, although I don't know if it's going to end. They have 2 matches. They are split 1-1. I'm assuming there'll be a third. But CM Punk, of course, would be a perfect one.
Cody Rhodes, his opponents have been whack. That's why I think the booking has been terrible. It's not even really Cody's fault.
No.
There's nothing he could do. He's just fighting who they're telling him to fight. He's making the story out of who
Maybe
they're
Kevin
telling the
Owens
story out
goes
of.
Back to heel.
Kevin Owens, though, I love.
He has potential
to be a good heel. I mean, I just think that for the character that he's built now, he's a good face.
So I don't know if you saw Bash of Berlin, but when Cody and Kevin Owens fought, the storyline going into match was that Cody Rhodes has a messed up knee. And Cody Rhodes' knee gave out during a move, and Kevin Owens had the ability to target the knee and then win the match. And he didn't do it because he's Cody's friend. And I think, because of that, Cody ended up winning the match. That's what ended up giving Cody the victory. So I think they're turning that storyline into something where Kevin Owens, each week, it's now giving you intrigue to whether or not he's going to turn against Cody or is he not. And I definitely think that they should have another match. And I wouldn't be opposed to Kevin Owens winning the title. I think Kevin Owens, I don't think a champion has to hold it for too long.
I would do anything for titles to get passed around like Tic Tacs. I really don't need these long reigns at all. Roman kind of skewed everyone's idea of that, especially now that Cody just beat the guy. But I'll be honest, I need these titles to change. It's what makes watching entertaining, not knowing if this guy's going to win. If I'm going to go and watch Berlin and know who's going to win already, that takes it away from me.
What did you guys think of college football? I know Dehls is a full-blown Florida fan now.
Oh, yeah. Florida got cooked,
Hey,
man.
Miami fried them.
Yeah, you posted your dog, and I felt bad for your dog.
I felt terrible. We took it off after. So, that's shocked.
Yeah, I'm an OSU fan.
Okay.
Big Ohio
Cool.
State fan.
Tim,
locked in.
this was the first time, and I'm staying dedicated to this. I'm going to watch every single weekend. Watch college football. It's already going to be hard because it's not good football. If my expectations are NFL, that is my problem that I have to get over. I watched a lot of bad football on Saturday. A lot of bad games. That Ohio State versus Akron was not good. The only game that I should have locked in on. No.
All those top 10 opponents, bro, they have to lose 50-0.
Georgia versus Clemson, dog shit.
Yeah.
The one good game that I should have paid attention to more when I had my quad box was the Vanderbilt versus Virginia Tech. That ended up going into overtime, and Vanderbilt ended up clutching up.
LSU USC was a good game.
That was a good game.
The one good game this week
That was great.
I
actually.
did not watch.
Some
I
good-ass
think
highlights.
the cheat code to watching college football, there are some people that are fans that are teams that are going to watch regardless, but when you see those top ranked teams going up against unranked teams, it's going to be a blowout.
For sure.
I think the best games of the weekend were Notre Dame and Texas A&M.
Yep.
It was an offensive slugfest. It was a defensive battle for sure. And then USC and LSU. Yeah, I thought that game was good too.
It was.
But those were games against ranked opponents against each other.
Brian Kelly had himself a minor aneurysm after the game.
He was
He's
tweaking
slamming
in the
on the
game.
table.
In the game, he was making horrible decisions. But this was the first time I've actually locked in onto a college.
And there's mad dudes you're into now.
Yeah, I am. definitely. I'm locked in now. Like I know mad dudes because of the game.
Oh, word.
Yeah, not the way you was thinking, but
No.
for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
However-
USC wide receiver made 2 of the best catches I ever seen.
Oh yeah, he's going to the league.
The
with
one
those
in
alone.
the one in triple coverage, the one-handed one,
one-handed
which
catch
was
was
nuts,
crazy.
and then the one down the sideline with like 15 seconds left, and he
Yeah.
gets leveled,
Yeah.
and
he
he
held on-
eats
held
it
on to
and
it.
Bro,
holds
did
on to
y'all-
the ball.
There was a highlight this weekend from a team. I think it was. He goes to like a mid-major school.
Oh, I seen that. Over the middle of the field, the
interception?
interception.
Oh my-
This right
shit
here.
when he
that was
goes-
crazy.
yeah.
That's the best highlight I've ever seen in my life. That
Which
shit was
catch you think was
insane.
better of the USC receiver? Because the one where he gets laid out, bro,
Yeah.
is crazy to hold on to.
In the clutch, to do that in the clutch and get helmet to helmet contact
know,
and
that
hold
first
on.
one
That
was-
first
The
one-
first
That's just
first
that
one
tone. It
on
was like,
wow
wow.
factor alone, I think it's a pure better
That was the
catch.
more spectacular catch.
It was.
Yes.
But the other one was more impressive, bro. To
I
get
feel you.
just
But the
clapped.
shit when he just was like there and then he brought it. It was
Because the defender also has a hand on it. He muscles up and still holds on to the ball. Yeah, I think the first catch got it off of just a pure catch. But everything taken into account, you get leveled, you hold on, one hand full extension. This is in the clutch. I mean, that's kind of where I get it.
Yeah, that was a good ass game.
There was a lot of quarterbacks I was trying to pay attention to. Cam Ward from Miami did
looked
really
good.
well. And I think he has the talent to be a first-round pick. Last year at Washington State, he flashed. So I'm glad he went to a bigger program to showcase his talents. Shadur Sanders had a pretty good
looked
game
good.
too.
Very
Did you
good.
see that play when the pocket was coming at him and he just threw
Stay
a
strong.
slinger?
Yeah.
Shout out to my
Carson
goat.
Beck, he played
He
good.
he heated up in the second half. First half, I was
I
pretty
feel like that was a
underwhelmed.
game-managing game.
It was
It
a game
was.
managing game.
It was. His pro comparison is Jared Goff. To a lot of
not
people,
bad.
he's like the quarterback one of the class. I know like Nate Tice, he has Riley Leonard as quarterback one, the quarterback from Notre Dame, who I didn't really think he was
Shit,
particularly
Jared Goff
impressive
comp is
this weekend.
is lit in my eyes.
Leonard transferred from Duke to Notre Dame, correct?
Yes,
Yeah.
he did. And he's 6'4", he's somewhat athletic. Like I think he has a chance to be good, but I think the most intriguing position for this year's draft is wide receiver.
So many great ones.
There's a lot of good running
receiver-
backs in this draft too.
That's a lot.
The
There's a lot of good
receiver
running
from
backs.
Missouri?
Arizona,
Oh,
McMillan.
okay.
McMillan
who's
had four
6'5".
touchdowns, right?
Yeah, he's 6. He had 300 yards.
300.
Yeah,
Receiving.
he went crazy.
He's 6'5". He's agile. He's fast. People are saying that this wide receiver draft class will be better than this past year's that we just
I feel like
had.
it's
gonna
always
say,
gonna, it's
I don't
always
know.
gonna be
Luther
that.
Burden is going to be a problem. You know, I love myself some Luther Burden, praying that he's a Denver Bronco. Is Travis going in as a wide receiver or a corner?
He should go in as wide receiver.
He has the capability to do whatever he wants.
He should try to do both.
I tweeted this, and there's
should
part
try
of
it.
me that
In the
is
NFL
joking
in the
because I know
NFL,
it's
tough to do
unrealistic.
that.
If he could be the Shohei Ohtani of the NFL, play wide receiver and cornerback, it may be the only hope that a non-quarterback wins the MVP.
He could try.
just too
I don't.
physical.
It's probably not going to last forever. But your rookie year, go out and see what
I
happens.
think he only didn't play like one snap that
Yeah,
game.
but you got to think about it. In order for him to be like an MVP, he has to also be a top player at each of those
You see how
positions.
skinny he is? He got to gain a little muscle to come in.
I think
But I
Travis
think
Hunter
for his position, be fine.
can be a good receiver. I don't know if he could be like one of the elite
the
and
better
the
ones?
elites.
His
in the-
hands
in
are
the NFL.
amazing.
His hands are crazy.
His
Hand-eye
hands are
coordination's
amazing.
nuts. He could track the ball. Yeah, it's just
But like AJ Brown's at the top, you know, like
like
guys
I
like
think
that.
I think
mean?
he'll be a better corner than he will receiver.
He looks more like a corner.
But
shit, I
a
don't
receiver,
know.
I would just
That's
he
what I'm
doesn't have to
saying,
play every
receiver.
offensive snap. Maybe priority is cornerback, and then you get like 10, 15 plays a game on offense where you're at
Dion
receiver.
did it, right?
Dion did it, but you
in
know,
packages.
Pat
played
Pete was the
baseball.
last person.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Pat Pete was the last corner that I saw go on the offensive side and play receiver also.
Patrick Peterson.
Pat Pete, yeah, facts.
How
many
was it
snaps
just
did he have
It
receiver?
was
packages?
not. I don't. It was
So I don't
very,
remember a lot.
very few and far in between. Like very minimal.
Yeah.
But I remember at a time they did put him out at wide receiver.
I think it makes more sense for Travis financially to go in as a wide receiver. But I was seeing an interview from Champ Bailey, and Champ Bailey said that there's no value in playing both sides in the NFL.
Yeah.
Because, you know, when negotiations come up, just because you play receiver and corner doesn't mean we're going to give you $50 million. You know, you're going to get paid at one of those positions, probably the one that has the most value, but it's just too much injury risk if you're playing both sides. You're having to tackle and you're getting tackled. I feel like it's a lot. He looks more like a corner.
But if he could be a top 5 corner, he can make 30 plus easy. You know what I mean?
That's a fact.
Jair is a top paid corner. He makes 21 mil a year.
It's
21.
gonna
I
go
think
up by the
I was gonna
time.
say because I think Sauce can get 30 a year.
You think so?
I'm not gonna lie.
I wouldn't be
them
surprised.
I'm gonna
catches-
say Sauce and PS2 are set
And by
in
the
market.
time he's due for a contract in 4
Them
years,
catches
5
Trav
years,
was making at
he
that
could get
wide
that.
receiver spot was
Bro,
insane.
he's getting tackled, and somehow, some way, bro just brings that in.
His hands is insane.
Nah, they're special. His route running special too.
Shador almost
talent.
What
folded
Denzel
at the
get paid?
end.
Didn't he just
Who?
get a contract? Ward?
Shador.
Yeah.
What
The whole
happened?
team almost folded.
Shador almost sold.
Oh, facts though.
You get a ball back to the North Dakota State.
Facts.
North Dakota
Nope.
State's a good program though.
No, they're one of the best. I think it's FCS programs.
Yeah,
or-
that's where Trey Lance, Easton Stick, and Carson Wentz
The
came from.
defense
It's bad.
still bad.
And Christian Watson.
But I'll say this to give them some credit. They gave up 20 points in the first half, and they essentially shut shit down in the second.
I think they.
I
played
might
a
have
good
gassed it
team.
with 30 mil. Jair's highest paid at 21.
That's all I'm saying. Is it like 30 mil? I don't know.
He'll get to
I think they'll
26,
set the
27.
market,
I
but
think 25 mil is probably
What do you
where
think Sauce is going to
I think
sign?
Sauce will
25?
set it
25.
at 25.
25.
So when Travis gets in, he can probably get 28.
But he has to be top 3.
I mean, we're
probably, you know what I
assuming
mean? Like, yeah.
with the way he's playing. Shit.
I know we're talking about a prospect in college, fair, but at the same time, we're going.
You
off.
saw that Dion said that there's some schools that Shador and Travis Hunter won't go to.
Some teams.
Some teams.
Some teams,
Yeah.
so not schools. Some NFL teams.
All right, let's just pray that they want to stay home, go to Denver.
I think Denver's definitely on the list.
I'm saying not for Shador, obviously, but for Travis. That'd
what
be
team?
amazing.
What team would be a do not draft list for these players? Like who? What team
So if
out there
Shador
is-
is able to get drafted, you wouldn't part ways with Bo Nix?
I think New
Depends
York.
how Bo Nix looks this
think
year,
New York was
but
one
the
of them.
Giants or the
Yeah.
Jets?
No, the Giants.
and we
They would be the
2
only
years
ones
in a
being
row
able to
using
get
a
him.
first rounder on a quarterback.
So
That sucks.
let
God
me
willing.
ask y'all. Let me give y'all a scenario. I'm not saying this is gonna happen, but there's a possibility for everything. Let's say the Vikings get the first overall pick in the draft. Do they
Travis.
even think about quarterback?
Travis.
I don't think so.
I think you gave up a good amount to get JJ, if I'm not mistaken.
And Dallas Turner.
And JJ is young as fuck.
I think they
He's
only
young.
have like 3 or 4 picks in 2025.
JJ's
draft.
mad young. Now you take Trav, you don't think about it. You take Trav.
Yeah.
I don't know how many teams are taking Shador at one.
I don't think a lot of teams will. I think there's definitely edge rushers, corners, other positions on the board that's going to go above them.
Yeah, because if it's not
Who's the
Shador,
Michigan corner?
it's
Will,
Carson Beck.
Like
Will
I think
Johnson.
if
Will
it's Denver,
Johnson,
I think
yeah.
y'all go wide receiver.
I think we go wide receiver. I don't. I mean, listen.
I
I,
think
don't
New
know if
York-
we're going to be in competition for one. There's a chance because our team overall is still very young, and
I think New York might go quarterback.
overall talent.
the Giants.
That's fair.
100%.
There's one
They'll go
that they
back
could.
though. I think Raiders might go quarterback.
We got to see where these quarterbacks end up because right now, I mean, sure, they could go in the top 10. They could also fall and be in like the 20s and shit.
Yeah, I think
So,
with the
I don't
Vikings,
think anyone's
if they
set.
trade back, get multiple assets, it depends on how valuable that first overall pick is.
They should
'cause,
not go. They should not move away from JJ
No.
unless there's a Joe Burrow like leap from one of these
Yeah,
quarterbacks.
if there's no blue chip quarterback, then
Trust
they're
in
not
JJ.
gonna.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
say this though.
draft him.
Shador had some beautiful passes this past
Shador
week.
makes Shador definitely he does it. Even last year he did it. You just gotta avoid the sacks like he did last year. He put on weight. They said he put on like 15 pounds, like
Good.
215 now. So definitely a little more brolic.
had
But I just
something.
don't know if he's gonna be like top 5 consensus by any means.
The top 5 is so nasty in the NFL. I don't know who's gonna do. Like Caleb's probably the next best thing, but that top 5 is just Herbert, Allen, Lamar, Mahomes, and they're all like none of them are old. So like they're gonna be here for mad long.
On to AFC predictions. Which division do you guys want to start out with? We got the AFC North, South, West, East.
In my notes, I have the AFC West as the first.
I have the
division.
AFC East first.
Okay,
I
which
have-
makes sense.
There we go. The AFC North.
What do you have?
Just say South for the loss. Now let's just start with the East. You're wearing a Josh Allen jersey. I know you guys want to talk about your Jets.
Do it.
I'm 100% fine
Here
with
we
that.
go.
I can start us off. I've been very vocal this offseason on the New York Jets, and I believe that they are the second best team in the AFC. So I do have them finishing at the top spot. I look at this. I look at this team, and I understand on the defensive side, maybe the only question mark I may have are your safeties, but outside of that, DJ Reed, Sauce Gardner, arguably the best cornerback duo in the league. Hassan Reddick, God willing for
Tomorrow's
you guys
the big day.
that he does. Yeah.
Tomorrow,
Oh,
Jets,
tomorrow
this
they
is
decide if
first week. This is game week practice.
Yeah.
If he doesn't show up tomorrow,
No,
yeah, I don't know if he'll ever show
Well,
up.
he's not gonna play much on Monday anyways.
No, but at least be out there. It's
Yeah.
week 1.
With the leap you saw from Jermaine, you have Quinnen Williams, one of the better interior defensive linemen.
I'm sorry. Before you continue,
course.
do you guys even want him back with that bad
Yeah.
energy?
Oh, I think if he shows up, he's ready to go.
You think
He's
so?
been one of the top 10 productive edge rushers
Yeah.
in the
No,
league.
it's not,
Hassan's
it's
OD.
not even about production. I just know when people you've been out for a while, it probably looks bad on you. Like you're not being there for your teammates. He could bring in that
I
bad
think the
energy.
teammates understand like you're trying to get a contract. I
But
think
he-
everyone in that building understands.
But he
wants to get
lied
paid.
in the press
For sure.
Then he said he's gonna play and he's not
Nah,
playing.
I don't disagree, but I think most players like understand you're trying to get paid, you're trying to set yourself up. So like, do what you got to do.
So again, looking at this offense on paper, it's beautiful. It's just a matter of having to stay healthy. That goes for Aaron Rodgers. That goes for Breece Hall. That goes for Mike Will. The offensive line, Tyron Smith, obviously, he needs to stay healthy. Elijah Vera Tucker, he needs to stay healthy. Where we stand right now on paper, this is one of the most talented rosters in the league. I will be honest, though. I don't know if you guys are a 13-win team like we had in the record prediction. I
be 14.
see a realistic possibility where the three teams can be tied for the same record. I look at the Buffalo Bills. This would be a double-digit win team. I look at the Dolphins in that schedule, understanding that December is going to be brutal. That Week 18 game can be for the division in MetLife. So right now, where I do have it shaped up right now, I have the Jets at number 1 at an 11-6 record. I have the Dolphins. It can go either which way. I have them 10-7, 11-6. I have the Buffalo Bills 10-7, and of course in last place. It's so hard with New England because when you look at a bad team, you understand you're favoring all these squads, and so naturally you kind of go and say, all right, we have to find wins one way or another. So I have them going 3-14, a 4-12, but it would be pretty fucked up if New England was the Houston Texans of last season. I say that with the idea Gerard Mayo comes to town. Now they have a defensive mind, just a new type of culture being instilled in New England. You have Drake May. If Drake May is the CJ Stroud of this class where he goes and you take a miserable squad and now suddenly they're amazing. You have young receivers in Jalen Polk, in Javon Baker, although we know that they are not at the level of a Nico Collins or a Tank Dell. We didn't know Tank Dell was going to be that good. We didn't know that Nico Collins was going to take this insane leap where now he's in conversations with top 10. I don't know if Jalen Polk will be a breakout player like that, but I think Jalen Polk has a strong skill set to be a very firm wide receiver 1 for the New England Patriots. Look at Javon Baker. Maybe he has his ways to go, but he's been looking pretty good in camp. Understanding Ramondre Stevenson's not a bad running back. Maybe the offensive line's what concerns me the most.
Yeah, for sure.
But I don't know where we stand right now if I can go and make that type of statement. But understanding they have such young talent on this squad that maybe the Texans stick in people's mind because they did something that was so peculiar. But I don't know if I can fully anticipate that. But if there was one team that I would say can do it or is on my mind that has the possibility to do it, is New England because of that presence of Drake May.
Well, they're starting Brissett week 1.
I
and
know,
he's gonna
but
kick
I don't
off the
think that'll
season.
take that won't stick for too long personally.
Yeah, but just start off like 0-3. That's the upward battle is the only thing.
That's
But
fair.
I agree. I have New England's 4th place team to me. About 4 wins, probably 5 at best. I love Drake May. I'm excited to see him play. I think he's was the 2nd best prospect in this draft class. I like the receivers like you mentioned, but I do think obviously it's going to take a few weeks for him to get on the field, and I think the offensive line is the biggest reason why, right?
Fair.
I think the coaching staff realizes the weakness it is, and when you have a terrible offensive line, the stress that puts on your quarterback, now you have a rookie quarterback, you're dealing with his confidence, his mental state. So I think it's smart to start Brissett. Like, it's a lot easier to go to Brissett to Drake May than the other way around, right? You have to sit Drake May. Now it's a real issue within the building. But I think it's smart to start him, although it certainly limits your upside to see what Drake May is. 3-2-1. I think all 3 teams have a legit shot to win the division. I have the Jets as the division winner. I think they could win about 12 games looking at their schedule. They have one of the top 10 easiest schedules in the NFL. Of course, it's a very fragile situation with their top players. That's the biggest question. It's Rodgers coming off an injury, Tyron Smith consistently injured, Breece Hall thankfully healthy last year, of course, ACL. Like, a lot of dudes who they're counting on have been banged up over the past few seasons, or like Rodgers having a massive surgery. So it's, of course, scary situation when you have to rely on all of those guys, but you can make that argument for a lot of teams, So if everyone's going to be healthy, I think the Jets, like you mentioned, have one of the best rosters in the NFL. I have them with 12 wins, and then the Bills and Dolphins I both have with 10 wins. I do think Buffalo not comes down to earth, but doesn't look as strong as they've had in years past. I think losing Stephon Diggs, although the second half of the year, numbers-wise, they were great, there's going to be moments where you just miss a wide receiver 1 in this offense, right? Josh Allen is so spectacular. This offense is still going to be a top 5, top 10 unit at worst. But I think in those big moments when you're going up against the Jets, when you're going up against Kansas City, one of the top teams in the AFC this year, there's going to be moments in that game where you're like, damn, I really wish we had a guy that could just win one-on-one consistently that we could draw a play up to here Josh Allen, though, the floor is so safe that they'll still be a playoff team. Miami, too. The last 6 weeks are brutal, but to start off the year, they could be 8-2. You know what I mean? Like that first 2-3 months of the season, Miami, I think, is going to get such a head start because all of those difficult teams are really the last like 6 weeks of the season. So I'm excited. This is the first time in a while, I guess, that it really feels like a year the Jets have like a legit chance to win a Super Bowl. It's crazy to say, but I really do think they have the roster and the team to do it.
I think the Patriots are going to have a really good defense, and it's going to keep them in a lot of games. The Texans have kind of jaded our perspective on how bad teams should stay bad because they made this insane leap. I think Gerard Mayo is bringing a new energy into the building, but losing Bill Belichick, there has to be some type of loss in that. Even with how toxic things got down the stretch, just his defensive game plans and how he prepared each week, I think was very important to the Patriots, just always having and trotting out there an elite defense. And the last time a team did it before the Texans was the Bengals. I mean, nobody thought the Bengals would go to the Super Bowl, and they did it. You know, everybody thought they were going to finish last in their division. So I'm not saying it's not possible, but I think that this AFC East is so tough that I'd be surprised by it. My order for the AFC East, the New York Jets, number 1. I got them at 12-5. I got the Bills at number 2 at 11-6. I think Josh Allen is the closest thing to Mahomes when he's at his best than any other quarterback in the NFL.
I agree.
And we saw Mahomes lose an important offensive piece in Tyreek Hill and still net out there the number 1 offense in the NFL. He does have Andy Reid. He does have Travis Kelce. But for everybody out there that thinks that Josh Allen is as good as Mahomes, this is your time to prove it. This is your time without Stephon Diggs, a guy who just so happens to coincided with your leap in the NFL. How will you look without him? I think the Bills, because they have an elite quarterback and they continue to try out great defenses, they will finish second in division. And the Miami Dolphins, I got third at 10-7, and the Patriots at 4 at 5-12. I was able to sneak in some wins in there for them, and I think that's how the division is going to go. Miami has the most potential to live up to what they expect for themselves this upcoming season because their schedule towards the beginning of the year is pretty light. They do face some tough teams. I think Jacksonville week 1 is not a slouch. They also face Seattle within those first couple of weeks as well. I don't think they're a slouch either, but they probably will have an 8-3 record going into that second half stretch, and they're going to face some really great teams, and it's about if they can live up to the moment and they can beat them or they're going to crumble like they have done for the past 4 seasons now. So the Dolphins have potential to do that if everything goes right for them, and they'll be healthier for that stretch with their edge rushers coming back as well. But I think the Jets, they have the most talent in this division. I think it's quite clear, and Aaron Rodgers is really the biggest question mark for me. How is Aaron Rodgers going to come back from his Achilles injury? Quarterbacks that are post 40 typically drop off at any moments in time, but throughout this entire training camp, reporters have only praised Rodgers for how well he's played. The offense has won against an elite defense. So I think Rodgers can still be a great quarterback, but will he get injured at some point in the season? He's never played on turf for an extended period of time, and now you're playing on MetLife for your home games, and that always is going to creep into my mind. This entire season, whenever Aaron Rodgers falls or takes a sack, I'm holding my breath.
For sure.
It's a fact. That's how I felt about Porzingis basically this entire last year.
Also, I wouldn't be me if I didn't correct you by saying you said last 4 years because that's the amount of time Tua has been quarterback for them. Fair. Please do not forget when they went on that 7-game heater to end the year and just blew it to Tennessee. It's not like they completely fell off.
He blew it.
It was also raining. Can't forget that. Go ahead.
You had to know.
Raining, snow. He just
Cold.
can't. Yeah, if it's not nice,
You
and
can't
sunny,
forget that Bills game in the winter. Please don't do that.
You lost.
Tua left the field winning.
You know, that's a good ass point. I got New England at 4. I agree with what you guys said. Seeds 1, 2, and 3 in the AFC East is going to be really tough. I do agree with you. I do think Miami has the most potential to kind of like win the division in a sense because their schedule starts off smooth, and even teams that Seattle is going to be a good game, Jacksonville is going to get a good game. We know week 1 through 6, Miami is probably the best team in the world. So being as if they start off strong, they start off hot, you know, Tua's going to have the stats. Tyreek's going to have his 200-yard game here and there. The defense has improved. I think on paper from last year to a degree. So I think they'll come out, they'll play better. And plus, I think they're walking in this year a little bit more healthier than last year because, Ramsey did not play at the beginning of the year last year. So they're going to be just slightly more healthy in the secondary. They did pick up Poyer, so that's good. But I have Miami sitting at 3. I have the Jets at 2. I do think they're the most talented roster. I think they have the best defense in the league. I think offensively, they'll be fine with Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, Mike Will. It really just depends on which Aaron Rodgers you're going to get. Are you going to get the great MVP Aaron Rodgers the year before, or are you going to get that last Aaron Rodgers who really legitimately wasn't good? And now he's coming off an injury. So that's the one thing really holding them back. But they do have Breece Hall. They do have talent on the wide receiver spot. The offensive line has gotten slightly better. So I trust it a little bit, but for them, it's just about health. I got Buffalo at 1 because this is more of a see it to believe it type of thing. I know they did lose Stephon Diggs, but 2 of the last 3 seasons, they weren't number 1 in the division towards the middle ground of the year, and then they rack off about 6-7 wins to end the year and just win off the division. They just did it recently when they beat Miami. So this is a team that usually acts on resilience. They acts off their toughness. Sean McDermott gets the best out of these guys. And I think their defense, even though they did lose Matt Milano probably for an extended time, I think they got better. I think in the secondary, they got a little bit more younger. Tre'Davious White was a great corner, but he just never played. Now you have Rasul Douglas, Teron Johnson, Benford, and these boys. You don't have safety help. That's going to be a problem because Micah Hyde was the guy calling all the shots back there. Jordan Poyer, those are 2 vets. So that's going to be an issue. But I think Greg, Ed Oliver, Von Miller has apparently looked great at camp. So you have something on the defensive line. Then your offensive line was great last year. You're essentially bringing everybody back. It's just about those receiving guys. Can you get something out of Kincaid and Knox? Can you get something out of Shakir and Curtis Samuel and James Cook? Can he be more reliable with his hands and catching the ball, be more productive, less fumbles and stuff like that? So you could just get a sharing of the sugar thing. I do agree they're going to have moments where it could be quarters, it could be a couple games where it's like, God damn, we need a number 1 guy, we need a receiver that can take it over the top. But, you have Josh Allen, you have a sharing of the sugar vibe, you can use them in the run game too. I think they'll be good enough to where they can still be a good team. So I got Buffalo at 1, Jets 2, Miami 3, and the Patriots at 4.
Do we think Rodgers will be a top what quarterback next season?
I'm going to say top 13.
He's going to be a top 10 quarterback. I think Aaron Rodgers has a chance to win MVP this year.
If he's top 10, if he's top 10, you guys win MVP. He wins MVP.
No, if he wins MVP, the Jets are the best team in the AFC.
I don't think he puts up the numbers. He needs
they're
4,500 passing yards.
Why are you
plus
going
touchdowns.
crazy?
You don't think he could have 30-plus touchdowns?
With Garrett Wilson, God willing,
I don't
Mike
think
Will.
that'll be enough. 30 touchdowns. I don't think it'll be enough.
He just
If he throws 30
too.
touchdowns,
Lamar
we're
just
picking up
won
Tyler
MVP.
Conklin.
He should.
Tyler
With
Conklin's
20
going to be a
20
must
touchdowns.
have.
for sure.
Because
think Conklin could be the
Goff's going to
second
have like
receiver.
34, 35. Goff's team's going to be pretty good.
It's going to be
Your
tough
boy
for
Jordan
him.
Love, who's your actual MVP pick. He's probably
So
going to
what do you
have
think? Rodgers
35.
going to play at top what level next year? What'd you
Like 12.
That's what I've worked.
I think he's going to be a top 10 quarterback.
There's so many great quarterbacks.
Yeah,
it's
actually,
not,
I think
it's not,
12,
it's not
13,
a bad thing to
there's a
say.
shit
And it's
ton of
Aaron
quarterbacks.
Rodgers.
If Rodgers is
Aaron
the
Rodgers.
11th best quarterback for us all season long, Super Bowls.
And
in,
you know
in,
when
in
it
the world.
starts? It starts Monday Night Football when we beat the brakes off the
Damn.
Niners. We're going to cook the Niners bad.
That's
You
a
saw my
fact.
mom
I hope you know that.
tweeted
I
at
did.
you?
I did.
Santos, clip this.
She said,
Yo,
she said,
What's the final
I can,
got to be?
The final,
2014?
man, I'm thinking it's going to be 31-13.
Oh,
We're going to
wow.
smack them up.
She said, I can't wait to see you wrong, Joel. Yo,
Maybe 1-13.
I don't know if they'll put up 31 points on the Niners. I really do see like a 23-20-esque type of game. It could go either which way. If Trent Williams plays, I'm leaning that 23-20 the Niners. But
Trent doesn't play.
if he doesn't play,
Trent's about his business.
It's ugly.
You don't pay him. He's not going there.
31-13.
he's being irrational.
I'm not
beating
gonna
the
lie.
brakes
Trent
off
doesn't
him.
play. How worried are you about Brock Purdy?
But 13? Come on. It'll be
Like
like,
he'll easily throw multiple interceptions.
No, you're right. I was
be a
being
31-20
a little
game.
too disrespectful.
31-20?
Yeah.
31-17.
Who?
31-17. 31-17
if Trent
Jets.
doesn't play, I mean, like,
I'm going to tell you why. They're going to beat the brakes off the Niners. Our defense is elite. Sauce Gardner, DJ Reed, they're going to shut down.
shut down who? Say
Debo
the
Samuel
names.
will get shut down.
What about the other guy?
Hey, Ayuk is going to do his thing. You know Ayuk always does.
Kittle's gonna
his
do his
thing.
thing.
Let him keep
No,
cooking.
against Quincy Williams and CJ Mosley? Yeah, okay.
Nah, Kittle gonna get his.
Yeah, okay.
Kittle
They're
gonna
one of
get
the-
his.
They're the best coverage linebacker doing in the
George
NFL.
Kittle's George Kittle.
Kittle's one
What
of
are
the
we
best
talking
tight
about?
He was
ends in
one of the
league.
most efficient tight ends in a long time
And
last
Quincy
season.
would lock him.
Purdy
Stop
and
playing.
Kittle's
He
connection
led
is
all
CJ
tight
Mosley
ends
too.
in yards and
What are we
didn't have
talking
90
about?
targets.
Quincy could lock a lot of
no.
people. Maybe Kittle. Maybe Kittle.
Who's guarding Quincy Williams up front? Who's guarding him?
No, they're fucking.
Who's on him?
No,
Quinton's gonna
that's
have
a
a game.
fucking-
for
Big
sure.
Q?
Quinton's
Come
gonna have
on,
a game.
stop playing.
Quinton's gonna have
And
a
then we
game.
have Tyron Smith. Oh man, that's a wall. That's a wall. Nobody's
Morgan
gonna
Moses
pass
on the
him.
other side.
Who's guarding Garrett Wilson? I mean, come on.
Charvarius Ward.
The 49ers run defense is not that good. Brees Hall's going to run for a $150.
He might.
2
He
touchdowns.
He might.
Tom, too.
He
What are
might.
we talking about?
I
man?
agree with that.
The 49ers, they ain't a real threat this year. They ain't a threat to the Jets on Monday Night Football. They're
a
not.
fact.
They ain't a real threat this year. You heard it here,
They're not a
folks.
real threat.
Clip it.
All right, what division's next?
Okay, before we do that, John, what are your AFC East predictions?
That's real.
That's a great question. I've got the Jets also winning the division, like many of you guys.
13
I've got
wins?
them winning 12 games this year.
Calm.
But like everyone said, Aaron Rodgers staying healthy for 17 weeks is not something I'm super confident in. So they're the biggest boomer bust contender to me in the NFL. Number 2, I've got the Bills at 10-7. Number 3, I've got the Dolphins tied at 10-7, but I think the Bills win that divisional series matchup. And then I have the Patriots finishing last. I mean, without Christian Barmore and Matt Judon, I don't think that defense is going to be the same level it was. Not to mention, I mean, you move on from Bill Belichick, I think the Patriots have a good case of being the worst team in football.
Yo, John, you can hear us?
No, I don't think I can.
Great job, John. On to the AFC West.
Tough.
We can just run through this.
This,
Yeah,
Well, this has one of Joel's favorite teams.
So listen, I would love to, for all these division
Okay.
predictions, we all just give our record predictions and then just talk about the
Okay.
record predictions that we got.
Well, brother, I don't have record predictions, but I have the where they are.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
All right, for the AFC West, I
Let's
have
do the TikTok intro. You
Got
know
it.
what I'm saying? We got it.
good.
You want to do it? It's your division.
All right, we are going to predict the record and the placement of every team in the AFC West. Who do you guys have coming in first?
So I'll start it up. I got the Chiefs finishing at number 1. I got the Chargers coming in at a hot number 2. I got the Raiders sitting pretty at 3. And unfortunately, my brother in Christ, I have Denver coming in last.
100%, I understand that. I have the Chiefs coming in first with 12-5. I believe they got better somehow, some way from this offseason and from last season, of course. You added Hollywood Brown, although he's injured. You draft Xavier Worthy. This is going to be one of the better seasons we've seen from Patrick Mahomes. Second place, the Chargers. I'm not as high as everybody is on the addition of Jim Harbaugh this season. For seasons to follow, the Chargers are going to be one of the teams that we look out for and are real threats to be a strong playoff team. But for this upcoming season, I simply don't think that they have that talent to hang or be a playoff level team. I have them going 7-10 or an 8-9 record. In third place, I have the Las Vegas Raiders. This is one I really contemplated. I don't like the Raiders. Their defense was solid. Last season, they were top 9 in EPA per play on the defensive side of the ball. Their run defense was what really held them back. But at the same time, they go and they added Christian Wilkins this offseason, who is really good at getting to the quarterback, but really good at stopping the run. But what's holding me back is Gardner Minshew and or Aiden O'Connell. If you don't have a starting level quarterback in the National Football League, it can only take you so far. And I understand that they were flirting with the idea of being a playoff team last season when Antonio Pierce took over, but it's really hard to see going from Shane Steichen for Gardner Minshew to now a Luke Getsy offense. I love Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers, Brock Bowers, Michael Mayer. Zamir White will be a average to maybe slightly above average running back this season. Cole Miller is one of the better offensive linemen in the league. I just can't find myself going all in on Gardner Minshew offense. I do have them finishing in third with 6-11 record. And in last place, my Denver Broncos. I'm hovering around 5 wins. I think that's where we'll be at. But all I care about is seeing Bo Nix show me that he can be our quarterback for the future. If he has a season where he's 18-8, 19-8, around that range, if that's how he finishes, to me, I'll be happy with that. Limit turnovers. I know the completion percentage will be high. He really does do a good job of taking care of the ball, making smart decisions. But I want to see all I care about this season is how Bo Nix looks and if he can be our quarterback moving forward.
It's going to be a lot of editing to get that in the TikTok.
This was definitely the TikTok.
It's
That's why we're
definitely
fast.
TikTok one.
I don't care. Go ahead.
I got the Chiefs coming in first place. I think they'll win. I think they'll win about 13 games. I think this is going to be a dominating Chiefs regular season. You know what you got on offense. You know what you got on defense. You got arguably the best coach in the NFL. Second place, I got the Chargers. I do think they'll sneak around, flirt with the playoff spot. I got them going 9-8, which is going to be the first team out of the playoffs in the AFC. But I see the world where it happens, right? I think when you bring in Jim Harbaugh, he has shown that he's going to transform your team possibly in year one. So what he did with the Niners, now he gets Justin Herbert at quarterback. I think what we've seen in the preseason alone, how they just look like a different team. I feel like they've looked more aggressive, especially in the run game, bringing in Greg Roman. I think this is going to be the best Chargers team we have seen since the Phillip Rivers days, to say the absolute least. Third place, where I have the Vegas Raiders. I think they're going to be a scrappy team similar to the Broncos, who I have in fourth place. I got the Raiders with about 7 wins, 6-7 wins. The quarterback just caps you a lot. Having Aiden O'Connell, having Gardner Minshew, it's just going to cap you in majority of games. But the defense second half of last season, when Antonio Pierce came around, that was one of the better units in football. That's really what they're going to hang their hat on. It's just offensively, you downgrade from Josh Jacobs to Zamir White. The quarterback play in Gardner Minshew should be better, and you have weapons, but you're going to win most of your games like 17-14. I just don't know if you're going to win more than 6 or 7 games like that. Broncos coming in last place. I think 6-10, or 6-11 is about what you guys will finish with. I think it'll be scrappy, though. I think second half of last season, the defense turned it around, right? They went from a dreadful unit to, like, at borderline, at minimum, a respectable unit. You're getting a shit ton of turnovers for a while. Erratic. You had some voodoo going on when, the Bills kicker with the offsides or whatever the hell it was. But I think this defense is going to be a respectable unit, and Sean Payton having his pick of his guy, getting in Bo Nix, it's not going to be some high-flying top 12 offense in football, but I think it'll be an offense that can pick up first downs. I think Javonte's second year removed from his bad knee injury is going to look better than he did last season. But overall, I think this is going to be a scrappy division. 2 through 4. The Chiefs are number 1 to me, but all of those teams, I think week in and week out, it's not going to be like you have nothing to go up against, right? All of those teams have something that they could hang their hat on.
I got the Chiefs at 13-4. I think they're going to be the best team in the AFC. They're going to get that number 1 seed. They already proved they can win every game on the road and still win a Super Bowl. I'm excited to see vintage Mahomes back. I mean, these past couple of years, he's been playing like Tom Brady, just taking whatever the defense gives him. But I'm ready to see 2018, 2019 Mahomes again. I want to see him air the football down the field and get explosive plays. And Hollywood Brown, when he comes back with Xavier Worthy, they're going to be able to do that. Number 2, I got the Chargers at 9-8. I think the coaching makes a big difference. I think they win more one-score games. The Raiders are 7-10. I like Antonio Pierce, but you can only go so far with bad quarterbacks. And then I got the Broncos at 6-11. I think they're going to be a pretty scrappy team. There's going to be moments where they just don't win games because they're not talented enough. But I can also see them upsetting some teams where they play to their advantage. You're getting the ball out quick. And I do agree, this season is all about whether or not Bo Nix can be a starter for the foreseeable future. And I think that he'll show some promise.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the young guys on our defense too. Nick Bonito coming out, really trying to get some going for our line and getting a presence on getting to the quarterback. Baron Browning, if he can stay healthy, I believe that he's one of the more underrated linebackers in the game. He's like more of the outside linebacker, still plays on the line. And then Jonah Ellis, who lit it up in the preseason. Excited to see how he looks in his rookie campaign, because we do have a need for getting to the quarterback. And one of those 3 guys, if they can take that leap, I think that of the 3, I'm most trusting in Baron Browning. I mean, I've spoken about him for so long at this point. He's going to validate me this upcoming season. But what we've needed is really getting to the quarterback. I like how we're trending towards in that direction. Our defense is going to be sneaky. I feel like people that have talked about the Broncos are kind of leaving out that fact of we were horrendous to start, lost Randy Gregory, got rid of Randy Gregory, got rid of Frank Clark, and the vibes kind of changed in the building. We went from Moreau to transferring over to Jaquan McMillan. McMillan was leaps and bounds better than him. He went and balled the hell out. Obviously, we have PS2. We have a very respectable defense. Singleton is going to be one of those that I don't know, because last year he wasn't that great, but this offseason he's looked okay. In the preseason he's looked solid. I'm very excited to watch my Broncos this year. This is one of the first times where I'm not going in with huge expectations, but there's things that I can look and watch in the game and still feel excited about and look forward to.
It's fun having a rookie quarterback. Like, even when you're rebuilding, even if the team is not going to make the playoffs, when you have a rookie quarterback, you just have something to have hope for. Because I'm sure last year, you thought they could be a borderline playoff team, right? And I guess even towards the middle of the year when you went on that hot streak, we still thought it was a possibility. But having just a fresh start. I mean, shit, Jets go through a fresh start every fucking 2 years for most of my life. So, it doesn't always work out. But just, I think moving on from Russ, it's the $80 million dead cap. It's all of that. But just all the bullshit that came with the contract, came with the trade, that came with his relationship from Sean Payton. I think just as a whole, having a new quarterback in there that's Sean Payton's guy, you got to feel good.
I'm with you.
What's your 1 through 4?
I said it.
You have the Chargers at 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I can see them being 3.
Raiders?
Yeah.
Max Crosby about to carry them.
Listen, the Raiders, what they won 8 games last year?
7?
I thought
They
it was
beat the
8.
Chiefs last
Was
year.
it 8? They did beat the Chiefs.
They actually beat the shit out of the Chiefs.
That was an
Christmas.
ugly ass
They,
game.
I don't know. Did they beat the shit out
No,
of
they
them?
beat the
Christmas.
shit. But the
I
way
knew
it
they,
was,
was
no,
ugly
I
game.
knew they
No,
beat the
but-
shit out of the
Chargers.
Chargers.
but if you watch the Chiefs Raiders game, it
yeah,
felt
they
like
ran
the
them
Chargers
down.
couldn't move
Nah, they
Yeah.
ran them down.
Chiefs could not move the ball.
Zamir straight up destroyed them.
Oh yeah, they beat the shit out of the Chargers. So don't sleep on the Raiders, man.
That was also Easton Stick.
Brandon Staley's last game.
They just don't have a good, like, I don't know, like Gardner Minshew's like up and down. But he did win 9 games.
He's
with
better than
Indianapolis?
AOC.
He won 9 games with the Colts. If I'm not
But
mistaken.
Shane Steichen, Lou Getzey, it's so
Drop
different. It's so different.
They do have Tay.
Devontae Adams.
Tay, Jacoby, Brock,
Bowers,
that's
Michael
a movie.
Mayer,
Trey Tucker. He's been having a good camp.
They have a solid little, nice.
Nah,
little
they got very
offense.
good skill position
Offensive
players.
line, cool. So
Here's the thing about the AFC West. With the Chiefs, I think their defense is going to take a step back. You don't just lose the L'Jarius Sneed and you stay the same. Because now McDuffie, he's not able to blitz as often as they blitzed him last year because you don't have Sneed. He has to now take that assignment. And McDuffie last year was average in man coverage. So I think their defense can take a step back. But, this offense, last year was their worst offensive season in the Mahomes era. And you don't expect that to continue. And I think the left tackle they brought in from BYU, who slipped in the draft to them, he has the potential to be a long-term starter. I'm forgetting his name.
Kinsley Sumateo.
Yes. He's really good too. And I think that their offense is now going to get back to a really good offensive unit, better than last year's. Last year they were average. But this year I think they're going to be a top 5 offense in the league.
Yeah, they went from having no real wide receiver threat outside of Rashee Rice to whenever Hollywood Brown comes back, they can put those 3 guys any spots on the field. Xavier Worthy would be interesting to see where they decide to line them up on a consistent basis, or if they're just really going to be one of those motion-heavy offenses, really trying to get these guys the ball in space because they have the wheels, they have the ability to be exciting in space. Rashee Rice, excellent after the catch. Great separator, especially in that short and intermediate route. Travis Kelce's Travis Kelce. Even at the age of 34, you trust that he's still going to get the job done. But Hollywood and Xavier, those are the 2 X factors for what Joel believes can happen. And it's fair to assume that Patrick Mahomes has been waiting for this because he did it with MVS in a short span of time. He really does look for that deep ball, or he wants that deep ball, I should say, doesn't look for it. But he's smart and he's learned and he's become meticulous at understanding if the defense is taking it away from me, I'm going to play the underneath stuff. But if they start to play heavy underneath, then you have Hollywood and Xavier take the top off. It becomes almost impossible to guard them.
So we all have the Chargers too.
I do have the Chargers too.
And we all have the Raiders 3.
Yes.
Yep.
So we got the exact same predictions. What about you, John? What do you have?
I've also got the Chiefs at 1. I think they won 12 games this year, a little bit of a slight regression because, like you mentioned,
They won
losing
11
Jared-
last year, John.
Was it
Well,
11? I thought it was.
Generally, they've been
Facts.
like a team expected to win 13 games coming every single year, but
Yeah.
I think losing L'Jarius will have a big impact. I've got the Chargers coming at number 2. I've got them between 8 and 9 wins. I'm not entirely sure just yet, but I think they got a good case to be a sneaky wildcard team. At 3, I've got the Raiders with 7 wins, and that last I've got the Broncos, but I do think they win 4 or 5 games. So
Okay. On to the AFC North.
Here we
Okay.
go.
The division I'm dreading talking about is the AFC South. I'll just put that on right now. I don't want to talk about it because it's not going to be a fun conversation to have. Cool teams, but very interesting conversation. I look at the AFC North. To me, this one is a little easy. I look at this. I think Baltimore, so long as Lamar Jackson is healthy and is playing a near 16, 17 game season, this will be the top team in the division. Number 2. This where it becomes a bit more of a conversation because when Joe Burrow is healthy, of course, these are the 2 teams. Don't look at me that way.
This is not a conversation.
Their team
The
is
Bengals are
not
2.
that good. It's not that good. The defense really has to step up because right now where we stand, the run game is going to get gashed. And the secondary, I can see the vision. They're still a young group.
there's no elite defense in the AFC that has an elite run defense outside of the Jets
The Ravens?
and the Texans.
I was going to say Texans, Ravens.
the Ravens were
not
one of
bad.
the worst units in yards per carry against the run last year. They were not that good against the run. That was actually their vulnerability.
I was
The
Cleveland
Chiefs
last year.
were terrible against the
Probably on the
run.
road were pretty bad.
Chiefs were terrible against run. I know that.
The Bills were not good against the run either.
I think the rushing offense for the Bengals could be suspect too.
Listen, I know.
That's a
I mean,
fact.
their rushing offense has never been great for
Is
them.
Jamar Chase going to pull a Le'Veon?
He has not practiced.
If Jamar Chase doesn't
We're
play,
less than a week from away.
I'm
You
being
talking about-
dead
you talking
serious.
about- you
I
talking
don't
about
think
Trent
Burrow's
Williams
going to
not
play
being
like
there.
shit, but
Brother.
the offense is going to not be as
Jamar
great,
Chase
obviously.
is not there.
If Jamar Chase doesn't play a full season, the Bengals can come in last.
No, that's not.
Oh.
I really do believe that.
chance.
They
no
come in third. I don't think
chance.
they're coming in last.
No
They can go
chance.
The
8 and
Steelers
9
is-
and miss the playoffs.
The Steelers are
Joe
just so
Burrow,
funny.
even without Jamar Chase,
He's
will
a good
lead them to
quarterback.
a
Yes,
winning
he's a
record.
good
No, he's an
quarterback.
elite quarterback.
Of
Say, well, he's
course.
an elite. He's not just a good
All right.
quarterback. He's an elite quarterback.
Get it out of your mouth.
He's an elite quarterback.
He's amazing. Yes. He's amazing.
He's an
That's-
elite
that's
quarterback.
crazy.
That
He's not
being-
just a good quarterback. He's talking about like
obviously-
Gardner Minshew. He's
Stop.
not just a
The
good quarterback.
defense is sketch. It is really fucking sketchy.
Last year it was terrible. There's no doubt about it.
and
But
you
let me
lost
tell you
DJ
something.
Reader.
Let me
You
tell you
don't
something.
have a good
They had
run
some
game.
good stretches.
Let me ask you something. Did the
Cam
Bengals
Taylor Britt
defense
is a good player in the secondary. I have concerns about the rest of the units.
Did the
though.
Bengals defense look bad against the Niners last year? When
So they had
whipped them?
stretch-
They had a
stretches.
stretch.
Did
They
they
had a
look bad
stretch.
against the Buffalo Bills when they beat them in prime time?
No,
That was during the stretch.
Lou and Rumo can still
was
scheme
during
up
the
a game
stretch.
plan. Let me just tell you this. Last year, the Bengals had one of the toughest schedules since 2000. Since dating back to 1979, which is where DVOA started their database. The Bengals had one of the 10 toughest schedules since 1979. They faced 11 teams that were 500 or better out of their 17 games. And they won 9 games with a backup quarterback playing most of those games. Like, this team now has one
Wait,
of
they
the...
won 9 in that 11 tough schedule?
No, they actually
Oh, just
they
one.
went 2-5 against, or they had a negative record. If it was 11 games, I'm pretty sure they went like 4-7 in those games. Yeah. If I'll double check
I
that.
got
But
you.
they had a negative record against those winning teams. But Joe Burrow didn't play for some of them, especially later on in the season. They won 9 games while having one of the toughest schedules since 1979. And now they're getting Joe Burrow back healthy. Even if Jamar Chase doesn't play, this team will be a 500 team. This team, they're an 11-win team. I know the
7-9?
defense is, there's some things that you're worried about. Trey Hendrickson is a blue chip player. He's going to
amazing.
be elite
He's
for them
amazing.
when he plays.
Agreed.
Rumo, I think, is good enough to get this Bengals defense to be average.
But we
They're
can sit
not
here and
gonna be
understand the
average,
personnel.
but no Jamar Chase is crazy.
But the personnel is not ideal. We can level there. It's not ideal.
What
On the
position
defense.
groups? What position groups?
Honestly,
I
I
don't
don't-
love the line outside of Trade Henry.
I don't think
te-
it matters that
Joel,
much.
Joel, if you're telling me, like this is
Regular
obviously
season.
a hypothetical, Jamar Chase isn't playing. T. Higgins is your number one. The defense is going to be average. They're not winning 9 games.
T. Higgins,
they have
when
a
he
top
was
5 quarterback.
in
I get all that. That
2022,
sounds cool.
How many games do you have the Chargers when you're gonna come in second place? Who's gonna be better?
If I had to
Chargers
guess-
No,
or the
I
Bengals?
still take the Bengals, but that's not. I'm not trying to
They'll
really
probably win
knock
the
the
same amount of
Bengals
games.
that
But
much.
I don't think the Chargers are
But
good.
I know. I think they're both.
It's
the Bengals-
acknowledging the AFC North.
The Bengals
The
got a
Steelers
better
are,
chance.
whether we want to admit it or not, that is an 8-9 win team.
No, it's not. They fucking suck. They're gonna win 7
can beat
games.
the Bengals.
The Steelers are not good, bro. I'm tired of
They
hearing
are.
about the
I don't like
Steelers.
them either.
know
I
they
don't
won
like
10
them,
games
but
last
they'll
year.
figure it out.
They had the worst point
Joel,
differential of any 10-win team in the history of the
they
league. I'm
figure
not
it
respecting
out.
those bums.
They find
They're
a way.
bums.
They
You-
made the playoffs
Forget about
every
that.
year.
Respect Mike Tomlin.
what's
John, hold
going
on,
on
hold on,
here?
John. Let me hold
John,
that.
John,
John, I got you. John,
John,
I
why
got
is he
you. I
going
got you. Don't
crazy?
worry, don't worry.
He's
They have
going-
arguably the best defensive player in football still in TJ Watt. They have an amazing front seven. They have one of the young upcoming stars at corner in Joey Porter. Micah Fitzpatrick is one of the best
do you hate
safeties
the
in
Steelers so
football.
much?
Minka, excuse me.
They're not
The
good.
defense is amazing.
Defense is elite.
The defense is
They've
going to
won
be
the
one
best
of the
football
best.
in the NFL.
offense.
The offense is going to be
Oh
bad.
shit! It's gonna be
bad.
so bad.
I can't hear you.
Their offensive line's not even going to be good.
Hear me out though. Did Mason Rudolph last season not light shit up at the end of the season last year?
Unfortunately,
He had like a game here and there.
He was pretty fucking solid
For
last
being
season.
Mason Rudolph, absolutely.
The
I
Bengals,
think Mason Rudolph honestly would have been a better quarterback option for them this upcoming season than Russ and Justin Fields. I do believe that. Them letting him walk was a mistake. However, I agree with you. The
He's a backup now.
Tomato.
Now he's on backup for the Titans, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Yeah. But I say that with the idea that if there was a situation for him to go to and play, it would have been the Pittsburgh Steelers where he did have some level of success. I believe this offense will not be good because of Justin Fields and or Russell Wilson. But
Because they don't have receivers.
They got
George
one.
Pickens
They have one.
and Fry Murphy is not a bum.
Mason
Mason Rudolph
tight
is
end.
not better than Justin Fields.
What happened to you being a huge Jalen Warren guy? One of the best
Oh,
receiving backs in
he's hurt.
football.
I love
He's
Jalen
hurt.
Warren.
What happened
But
to
apparently
him?
he's going to play week one.
He's gonna play week one.
Jalen Warren
Don't give
and
him a
Najee
shout-out.
Harris.
Listen,
That
I
is
think-
going to be a solid run game.
I think their rushing offense will be good. I
Yes.
think so.
With Justin Fields.
It'd be even better with Justin Fields.
It
It'll
would
actually
be
be-
good with
it'll
Russ.
be
It'll be even
historic.
better with Justin Fields.
But the shit what happens when they sit in the pocket, it gets fugly.
We'll get to the Steelers when we get to them. The Bengals have a better chance at winning the AFC North than finishing 4th place in the AFC North.
With or without
If
Jamar
Lamar's
Chase.
healthy,
It don't matter.
Stop.
You need Jamar to win- to win the division,
You
you need
can't
Jamar.
say
To
that.
win the division,
You
you
need
need
Jamar Chase.
Without
To win the
Jamar
division.
Chase,
Without Jamar,
without
they're
Jamar
second
Chase,
too.
they have a better chance of finishing in first place than in last. Don't lie.
Yes.
Oh my
They're not gonna
fucking
be
God.
last place.
Their team
No, they're
already
not.
is sketchy. Jamar Chase is what makes this offense the kind of we gloss over the fact that their defense is average to maybe below average because the offense can be one of the best
The
in football.
Bengals had a bad defense for 1 year.
And it's gonna be again
the
this
Russ
year.
gonna get a lot better. Russ got worse.
They
It
got
got
Geno
worse.
Stone and Von Bell on his secondary. Von
lost
Bell
DJ
was
Reader.
on those great defenses. That's why they got Von Bell back. Geno Stone just
He's
was
a
one of the
solid
league
player.
leader in
He's a solid player.
interceptions.
He's a
They
solid
did lose
player.
And now
DJ
we
Reader.
can play him at the deep high safety
did
when
lose
they
DJ
play
Reader.
single high.
The rush
Reader
defense
was
is
a
gonna
loss.
be dog.
Oh, I
dude.
know.
Jamar Chase is
I'm
not
not saying
playing at the moment.
I'm not saying that the rush defense is going to be
But
great
like one
by
of the
any
worst.
means. I want to say this first. T. Higgins
Your
in
secondary's
2022, when Jamar Chase was out in 2022, T. Higgins was on a 1,500-yard pace with Joe
really
Burrow
like
T.
throwing him
Higgins
the
last
ball.
Nah,
he was that
hurt,
good last
though.
year.
I know. Last
T.
year he
Higgins is
wasn't
a
that
good football player.
But in
He's solid. As a
2022,
As a number one,
too.
I don't know.
in 2022, he wasn't number one, and the Bengals went 3-1, and he was on pace for 1,500 yards in those games that he
I can only
played.
go off what you
Four-game
just showed
sample
me.
size. I can't
know,
just
but
say
T. Higgins
he's gonna
was
get the 15.
spectacular.
I like
He
T.
was
Higgins
just
a lot.
objectively bad
But now
all
you
season
don't have
last year.
Tyler Boyd. Your number 2 now is a rookie,
Tyler
Jermaine
Boyd was
Burton.
one of the worst receivers
But,
in the league last year.
I think Jermaine
at
Burton could
getting
be an
open.
upgrade. Not gonna lie.
Was he?
And ESPN Open Score, he was one of the
Tyler
bottom
Boyd
receivers in the
definitely
league.
They were
He
ass
definitely
last
fell
year. They weren't good.
Listen, I had the same questions about the Bengals too, but as long as Joe Burrow is going to be there,
I
they're
do
not
have
coming
them
in last
finishing in
this
second
year.
right
But
I
this is
think
the thing.
without Jamar Chase, as long as Burrow's there, I still think they won't come in last
Their
place.
pass rush is going to still be great because of Trey Hendrickson
I
alone.
also don't think Jamar's going to sit
Like,
out
is
the whole
that a
season.
crazy take to say?
Because you
I don't
respect
think
the
it's.
Steelers more than them. That's
No,
what
no. I don't want to say that.
No, you do.
I
You do.
respect the Steelers, not
I just
more
said
than
that.
them.
No,
You said
do.
more than them.
Yeah, well, him, yes.
Oh, more than him.
Yeah,
them.
yes,
Does
Apologize. I
Joe
thought you meant
Burrow
the
not get you
Bengals.
like 9
Apologize.
wins
Yes.
kind of minimum?
Yeah, that's agreed. That's what I said.
I
though.
think the maximum for the Steelers is 9
No,
wins.
I-
I think that's best case
I
scenario.
don't. Did
Then
you guys not listen
Then
to
the
me when I said
tiebreaker
that?
would be
I
what
said
the
that?
Steelers could
No,
beat
I
the
think
Bengals.
the floor for the floor for the Bengals is 9 wins. If Burrow's
yes,
healthy.
it is.
I
It's
think
no
If
change.
That's
Burrow's
their
healthy,
floor.
I think
9
the
wins.
floor. I think
No
the
chase.
floor is
Yeah.
8.
It's like 9-10.
That's
I
why
just
I
don't
said
think they
8
get to
and
like
9.
12, 13
I said
without
8 and
him.
9.
But if your floor is 9-10, your ceiling has to be like 12.
I just don't think. I think the floor
It
is safe
is.
because you have
With
an
no
elite
Chase.
quarterback, but
I
the
don't know.
ceiling's
With
not
no
there because
Chase.
you
Are
have
you
Chase.
expecting Chase to not play? In this
He's
year?
gonna
really
play.
don't
He's
He's
gonna
gonna
know.
miss- he's gonna miss
Come
some
on.
games. He's gonna miss
He
some games.
got 2 years
I've
left on
gotten
his
to the point where
contract.
that's kind of
Brother, he
why
hasn't
I
shown
can
up to
see
practice.
it.
Okay, this is the thing. If I don't care about this Chase conversation because I'm under the belief
Yeah,
he's
he's
gonna
playing.
play.
Eventually, yeah.
If his contract gets done tomorrow,
But, bro,
are the Bengals
of course,
not a
second-
threat to win the
Absolutely.
AFC North?
But that was never what I said. That my
That is a good
whole
point.
conversation
I
was
still disagree with what you said. The Bengals will still be great with Joe Burrow and T. Higgins. They will still
but
be
the
great.
defense
They'll be
is
good.
not.
They'll be
That's the
good.
thing. Okay.
They'll be good. They'll be good.
What?
They'll definitely be good.
I understand
You
the
said
rush
they have a better
defense.
chance of winning the division without him.
That was crazy.
That
Than
is
finishing fourth,
nuts.
absolutely. If they got Joe
Without-
Burrow healthy the entire year,
I
are
agree.
we crazy?
I don't think they have any chance
think-
to win the division. But I don't think they have a chance to come in
I
last
think both
place.
of them are in the same boat. Because
Do you have the Bengals winning the North where we stand right now?
11-6 second place, Ravens 12-5 first place.
Okay, so you already
you lose
don't
Chase, you
think
dropped them like
that
2
they
wins.
are going to win the division with the idea that Chase plays.
They're 11-1
You're
team.
telling me that without him, you believe there's a chance that they can finish in first when you already think they aren't. That's kind of where the
receiver takes 2 to 3 wins off.
It
you.
is
Gave
one-
the Steelers. No,
Yeah,
stop.
no, they
you
don't.
know, stop.
Go crazy.
You
Go
gave
crazy.
the Steelers 3 wins
lived if
because
Ayuk
of
went
my-
there.
yeah, you
this
were
is
watching.
Jamar fucking Chase.
Yeah, it's
He's better than Ayuk.
Clearly.
Why
a difference. There's a difference.
And that's what Justin Fields.
There's a difference.
What are you doing?
The Steelers don't have that quarterback play. The Bengals got that quarterback play.
But now you fucked
Adding
up
a
giving the Steelers 3 wins without
Adding a
you, brother. That's where you
receiver,
fucked
adding a
up.
receiver to a squad that doesn't already have a lot of receivers.
Jamar
No,
Chase
you
is
don't have
a
three
top
wins,
3 at
bro.
worst, top 5 wide receiver in the
Yeah, I'm
national.
glad you changed that. That's not top
You
3. He's
gave
not
this-
top
no,
3.
Drew,
What?
Drew.
He's not top 3.
Why not? Let's
do
not
you
get
mean,
into this.
why
You're
not?
trying to change the
Drew,
conversation.
Drew, the
You don't
Steelers-
have
the
Jamar Chase.
Steelers-
Tyreek
You're
Hill,
not as
Justin Jefferson,
good.
CeeDee Lamb.
Okay,
That's the top 3.
Jamar Chase
The
is arguably
Steelers-
No,
better
he's
than
not.
CeeDee.
He's
Not
in the
right now. He got to
conversation.
prove it.
The Steelers have one of the
What
top.
is
He had
Yeah,
1,413 touchdowns his rookie season. You've
doing?
always slept on
CeeDee
Jamar.
Lamb
You're
just had
proving it now.
1,800.
No. You've never liked Jamar Chase, and it's showing.
Jamar Chase
No,
and
right. You
CeeDee
never
Lamb
liked it, and it's
too.
showing. No, it's showing. It's showing. You
CeeDee
never
Lamb,
liked Jamar
Justin
Chase, and
Jefferson,
it's showing.
Tyreek Hill. I think Jamar Chase is an elite
Man,
receiver.
whatever.
But ultimately,
Whatever.
just
You
think,
never liked him, and it's really showing. And you said that he does not impact win. A
Drew.
wide receiver is not going to impact wins. You're losing
they have
terribly.
Joe Burrow.
Okay,
He's an
And
elite quarterback.
Joe Burrow
It
is
changes
going to be
things.
great. I didn't
He's-
say
he's-
that they would be horrible.
Are the Bills
I said
second in
they're-
the AFC East to you?
No, I said they're
They're
3.
third.
I have them 3.
You got them second.
I
You
have
got them second. Why?
No, I have them one.
You have them one. They don't have an elite receiving option.
They have a better defense than the Bengals.
They do
They
have
do.
a lot
I'm
better.
not
They have
saying they
a
don't.
lot
They have
better
better quarterback.
defense.
I have
They have a better
them with-
quarterback also. They have the
They
second
do.
best quarterback in the world.
They have a better
They do.
run game.
Better, yeah.
They have a
But
better
Joe
run
Burrow
game.
and Josh Allen is a conversation. It's not just. It's
Ah,
not
nah,
just Josh Allen.
You said that he's the closest thing to Mahomes.
At his highest. At his
Oh my
highest.
God.
That's what I
Joe
said.
Burrow
I said
fucking
at his highest.
all
What do
over
you
the
mean?
place.
What do you mean? I said
Holy
at his
shit.
highest, Josh Allen is the closest thing to Mahomes. Because
Okay.
yes,
He's gonna-
he
he's
has
gonna hit his
all
highs.
the intangibles and the
He's
talent.
gonna hit his
Yes, he
highs this
does.
year. He's gonna be there. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I think Josh Allen is the second best quarterback in the
Yeah,
world.
he's better
But I
than
don't
him.
think, I don't think it's just a clearing, and we don't talk about Joe Burrow in the
Oh no, we
conversation.
won't. But we don't need to do that.
Joe
We-
Burrow's an elite quarterback.
Why are
I
you trying to
agree.
jump the
Listen,
conversation?
ultimately, Drew.
The Bills'
Stay
run
on
game. The Bills' run game is
conversation.
better. Their defense is better. They just have a better team.
Ultimately-
I think that let me finish because you got caught up in me saying the Bengals. The Bengals, with Jamar. This is a second place team. Without Jamar, could they still be second? Yeah. Do they have a better chance to finish first? Absolutely fucking not. Can they finish in last place without Jamar Chase? There's a chance because the AFC North is really talented.
Well, one thing, they're getting Jamar Chase back. That's number one.
I hope
Number-
so
number
because
two-
Jamar Chase is one of the best players to watch.
Number two, this defense, the linebacking core is still there. Jermaine Pratt and Logan Wilson are still there.
Solid, very
they
good.
were great in
Very good.
2022. In 2023, they weren't. Von Bell and Geno Stone are now playing safety. Last year, they had Dax Hill and Jordan Battle playing safety. Jordan Battle was really good. Dax Hill struggled as a single high safety. That's why they converted him to cornerback, because at Michigan, he was a Swiss Army knife and he played a lot of corner and he was great. Dax Hill has also looked phenomenal in preseason. They have DJ Turner, a second round pick. They have Mike Hilton still, who's a good nickel player. Their secondary is pretty
said
solid.
that. Secondary,
Their
I liked it.
linebacking
I liked
core
it.
is pretty solid. Trey Hendrickson is an elite edge rusher.
Linebacker for what you saw last season into this season, you're just going off of
2022.
2022.
No,
they were
Logan
really-
Wilson and Jermaine Pratt have been good since 2021.
But you just said last year
you
they
said
weren't
they
good.
weren't
I know 2 out of the 3 years they've been great.
You're just saying they're back this season.
last-
You're just stamping that they're back.
No, I don't think they're bad. I think last
No,
year,
back. They're back.
yes,
Okay.
because last year was a lot of scheme issues. They didn't have any safeties, and that led to explosive plays. This defense will be an average defense. They're not going to be one of the worst defenses in the league.
Okay.
Minimum pack.
And I don't know if y'all. And
They
yes,
will be one of the worst rush defense in the league.
Yes,
Yes.
that's fine. I mean, that's fine. As
Not
long as
fine.
In the
it's
AFC North?
fine because in this
In the North,
the
every
North, that is
every
not fine.
team is really good on the
it's a run
ground.
heavy
In
defense.
this-
They're basically all run first.
in this era,
Derrick Henry can go for 200 both
in,
games.
in this era, if you look at all the top elite defenses, the first thing they take away is the pass. That's why a
course.
lot of them are vulnerable against the run, because they play lighter boxes. If they face a team like the Steelers that they aren't fucking worried about them throwing the ball, they'll stack the box and they can be good against the run in those specific matchups. They can be good in those
still lose to
matchups.
the
The
Steelers.
If-
Steelers still gonna be able to run
times.
the ball.
George Pickens had 195 yards on the Bengals last time they played you well.
So we'll air that bitch out.
The
No matter who out
Bengals,
there.
the Bengals faced the Panthers this year. They faced the Commanders.
They won the
faced
easiest schedule.
Patriots
So I think
week
top
one.
10.
So I have them in second.
I think without T. Higgins, they've beat all
Without
those
Jamar
teams.
Chase.
Yeah, no, without Jamar Chase, you're right. Without Jamar Chase, I think they would still beat all of those teams. They faced the Titans as well this year. They faced the
It's not a
Colts.
You do know they don't
These
play
aren't
those
gimmies.
teams first.
They played the Patriots week one.
And then
Is
they
the
play
Colts
Chiefs
an
week two.
easy game?
I know.
The
Look
Colts
at the
isn't
first
an
5
easy
weeks. They're
game.
easy.
Not easy
No,
game.
nah.
But I think the Bengals should win that game.
They would be favored
They
for
face
sure.
the Chiefs and
They
Ravens.
have
and
3 easy games.
they face the
first-
Giants.
They could be 3-2. It's cute.
For the people that haven't looked at it, read the schedule.
So the first week 1 Patriots, week 2 Chiefs.
Talking to the mic.
I'm very loud. I don't really need to sometimes. Week 1 Patriots, week 2 Chiefs, week 3 Commanders, week 4 Panthers, week 5 Baltimore, week 6 the Giants, week 7 Browns, week 8 Philly, week 9 Raiders, week 10 the Ravens. So their first 10 games.
The end of the season's easy.
There's some good
'Cause
matchups.
They have one of the easier schedules.
Chargers, Steelers, Cowboys, Titans, Browns, Broncos, Steelers.
Okay, that second half the schedule's a lot easier for sure.
Yeah, you got a couple good
You're
ones.
not
in there.
really facing any top end quarterbacks.
You got Dallas in the dome. You got Pittsburgh on the road. Baltimore on the
Pittsburgh
road.
will always be tough. Bengals, Browns and Bengals will always
Titans
be tough.
on the road. You got a lot of
Titans,
Steelers on
again,
the road.
you favor the Bengals because they're the Bengals. It's not an easy game
Schedule's
for
not,
them.
It's not hard, but it got some.
For them with Joe Burrow, that should be.
They should
you
win.
10 games.
That's the
Agreed.
minimum.
With
should win 10
Jamar
games.
Chase.
Without Jamar, 9 games.
Without Jamar, it's tougher.
We're not too far apart other than
I
me
just don't
saying
think-
8 games.
I just
and
don't
they-
think last in the division's really in the cards if they have Joe Burrow.
at all. If he's healthy at all, it's not Tua.
Oh,
It's not Tua.
Like they
It
were
just
out there.
has to go
They
and
were
try
out there
something
and
else.
low-key
It's not Bo
dominated
Nix
the
and the
Bills.
Broncos.
They dominated the Niners
And now you're
back-to-back
out.
weeks.
All good.
They looked fucking good last year.
Yeah, I
You
don't-
had them finishing last.
Who, the Broncos?
Yes.
Of course I did.
Realistically,
but that
do you
has nothing to do with Bo
think,
Nix.
do you think
out?
Jamar's about to sit? Like, there's nowhere. He can't.
I
He was
don't.
going to sit for 2 years.
I'm like 75% he's playing.
I don't think he plays week 1.
There's not the idea that he can sit.
no,
There is
not,
that
not
idea.
the full season.
He has 2
maybe
years
a
left on
week,
his deal.
Maybe
They just watched T. Higgins not get a contract. And I think deservedly so. T. Higgins didn't really prove too much for you last year for you to extend him long term. Again, we had this conversation last time we spoke about the Bengals. What were we anticipating? Oh, they're waiting to give this bag to Jamar Chase. Give it to him
I'm
now.
not saying they should pay him, but I also don't think Jamar's about to sit out a full season
He's
when
not
you
sitting
have
out
2
16
years
games.
left.
His base salary this year is, I think, $4 million.
Like he should
That's
hold
why he
out. I
wants
get
it.
it.
Yeah,
Get
would
your
you-
bread.
would
if you're
He's gonna
Jamar Chase,
play.
would you play for that?
Yeah, but then you're gonna get fined, and you're gonna get $5 million.
Apparently,
in
you get it
fines.
back though on your new deal. You get a new contract, you get the fines back.
Yeah, if that happens.
Oh, he's getting paid no matter what.
They're gonna fucking
Not if he sits out this entire year, he makes
I
itself.
think he'll sit out
real
maybe 1 or
murky for
2.
him.
I don't.
like,
Yeah, he's not. I don't think he's going deep into the season with this, if at all.
I
still
I
he
think that
plays
shit
week
ends this
1.
week. He's getting signed
I think
this
yeah,
week.
Ayuk got his
love
money,
that.
CeeDee got his money. All these guys are getting paid. We're just waiting on Jamar.
Yeah.
I think it'll happen.
AFC North predictions. Number 1, I got the Ravens 12-5.
We didn't even get to
Number
talk
2,
about Baltimore, man.
the Bengals 11-6. We will talk about them. Number 3, I got the Browns at 8-9, and then I got the Steelers at 7-10.
I got the same. I got Ravens at 1, Bengals at 2, both playoff teams. I have the Browns at 3, sneaky playoff team, but one of the first teams out. In 4th place, I got the Steelers.
Yeah, for all the conversations that we did have, the 3 of us do share the exact same bracket.
Browns at 8 and 9.
They have a tough schedule this year.
I think the Browns will
They'll win
be
10
over a
games.
500
Last year,
team.
most of their wins were against backup quarterbacks or terrible quarterbacks.
They had backup quarterbacks.
I know,
right.
and that it's still they still
but
do.
now their quarterback is still bad.
I mean,
shit.
they
Yo,
beat the
Joel.
Bengals with a healthy
Deshaun
quarterback.
Watson's ass.
They beat the Bengals with a healthy quarterback.
Okay.
So what are you talking about?
What-
They beat
Joe Burrow
Baltimore with a
wasn't
healthy.
healthy
They beat
with-
Baltimore with a healthy
Joe
quarterback.
Burrow wasn't healthy
They beat
before.
Baltimore
Joe
with a healthy
Burrow wasn't
quarterback.
healthy and Deshaun Watson was ass. Kind of cancels out.
That's
but
fine.
Deshaun Watson
That's
is
fine
kind of
for
always
me.
ass.
Fuck.
Exactly, and they went 5-1 with
They're
him.
basically playing against him and the other team.
Yeah.
They went 5-1 with Deshaun Watson being a bottom 10 quarterback last year.
Yeah, and I think that the Browns' defense struggles against good play callers.
Cook.
Last year was evident
On the
on the
road,
road against the Rams. They were terrible
They were.
when they faced them. Even
The Rams'
the
offense,
Bears had a lead on them, and then they choked the
And
lead.
the Texans
the Bears
absolutely
really
bent
pretty
them
well
over,
against them.
spanked them a couple of times.
The Colts
CJ
dropped
Stroud
40
first
with Gardner
playoff game
Minshew.
of
Facts.
his
Or
10-year
was
vet.
no,
close
you're
to
right.
40.
The Colts, it was 39-38,
Yeah.
something like
Yeah.
They
that.
won that.
Then
I
they
know.
won. Miracle
But
of
they let
God.
up 38 to fucking Gardner Minshew.
I think the problem is why they let the Browns light up 38. That's
Well,
the
the Colts
real.
defense
Nick
is
Chubb
pretty
is not
special.
coming back until week 4.
Hopefully.
at the earliest.
Let me
yeah.
actually look at the. Let me double
But
check
Jerome
the schedule.
Ford was a decent running back last season.
He's average.
Yeah,
for sure.
So I said decent.
He's painfully average.
He's not
Average
Nick
that.
Chubb. So far
No, no,
away
no, no.
that you can't even have a real conversation. But
Like,
Jerome
it's-
can do a job.
It's kind of insane they even play the same position.
The Browns have a better chance to win games.
The
with
Browns and
Jameis
the
Winston.
Bengals have the same schedule. It's not that bad.
No, they
the
don't,
division.
because the Browns play the second place teams in divisions.
I'm saying
and
like
the
in
Bengals
terms
play
of difficult,
fourth.
in terms of like difficulty, I don't see it's like a big drop. Like back end is tough. But I got the Ravens at 1, if Lamar's healthy full season. I got the Browns at 2. I don't know what we're doing here. I got the Bengals at 3, and then I got Pittsburgh sitting at 4. I don't know why you think they're not going to win 8 games, bro. They're going to win more than 8 games.
The Browns are missing the playoffs.
The Browns have the
They're
third
an
hardest
obvious team to miss the
schedule in the NFL.
Who's missing the playoffs?
The Browns.
They possibly can.
The Bengals have the 6th easiest. Browns have the 3rd hardest.
Do you know the Bengals can miss the playoffs too?
They won't. If Joe Burrow's healthy, they won't.
The Bengals, I'll wait. I'll be quiet because we have
They
one
can
more
miss the
division to
playoffs.
talk about, and then we give our 1 through 7.
The Steelers, listen, I think that they won 10 games last year, and we always look at them through these optimistic lenses of how they'll continue to win these close games. I just think it's unsustainable. They're not a good football team. They're not a good football team.
You can't.
They're an
half
average football
of
team.
their football team is not good. The other half's unbelievably great.
They're an average football team.
Okay, thank you. That's better.
Yeah,
You said
and an
be-
average football team goes 7-10.
The Steelers are average?
Yeah.
They
Well,
are average.
Average is
Average
500, correct?
No, the Steelers' defense is really, really good, and their offense might have the worst position at quarterback in the NFL.
Which probably plans out to average.
Maybe.
And then
But Mike Tomlin, maybe just a little bit over the top.
That is
maybe
exactly
slightly
what
above
you
average.
always have to do.
Then
They're
they
on a
have-
slightly
they have
above
a- They have
average
an
team.
elite defender.
I know,
T.Y.
Dehls, you want to talk about the Ravens a little bit because we didn't get to talk about them.
Show them
Listen,
love, man.
I
promise we can talk about them later.
was
We can talk about them later.
thinking
That's facts.
about the Bengals and putting them number 1 in the division because I think their schedule is that light. Ultimately, I really do feel like the addition of Derrick Henry has gone under the radar this offseason. I don't think it's been talked about enough.
Really?
And I think Derrick Henry is going to be one of the best backs in the league still.
I agree.
And I feel like they are leaning into their run-first identity. And I mentioned to you guys about how almost every top elite defense in the AFC has a vulnerable run defense. And I think this time around, they should use that to their advantage because I feel like if they did that in the AFC Championship game, they
would.
could have been representing the AFC in the Super Bowl.
And it would have been a movie.
What could have been?
Go ahead.
I was going to say, we can talk about the Ravens later because I have them pretty high up there in the standings and the seating.
Rightfully so. All right,
Okay.
AFC
go to the-
South. This is
We got to get John's ones.
John. I'm so sorry, King.
First place, Pittsburgh
Nice show.
Steelers.
I think what Joel said before about the Steelers' wins being unsustainable will prove to be untrue. The Steelers are still going to win 9 games this year. They have 10 winning seasons in 2010.
Wow.
Jets have
So
1
safe.
since then. So I got the Steelers.
Shit!
Just letting you know. Just letting you know. Since they play in the AFC
Can't do that.
Championship game,
Oh,
the Jets have 1 winning season since 2010. Mike Tomlin
John
has
Moran.
10.
Word.
This
The
is what he
Steelers have
does.
match championships.
And the
though,
Steelers team is better than 50%. I mean, the only
shit.
thing they're
He did
missing is
cook
really
it.
a quarterback
Take
and
that out,
maybe a
please.
wide receiver
They
too.
get to the
Yo,
playoffs,
John,
do
let me ask you
nothing.
this:
They get there.
if you were to switch places with me right now and root for the Jets this year, you would.
In a heartbeat.
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
Oh my God, you're drunk.
Mid-ass
that's
team.
the
No,
easiest
I got the
decision
Ravens
ever.
going number 1 this division with 11 wins. I've got the Bengals number 2 at 10-7. I would worry about Chase not being in game shape, not practicing. But the Steelers are at 3 at 9 and 8, and then I've got the Browns finishing under
I'm
500.
not shocked he did it. He's a
Got the
Steelers
Browns
fan.
at 8 and 9 for 2024. Where
He's more respected to do that.
The Browns are more talented than the Steelers, top to bottom.
They are. Agree. Who has the better quarterback?
Oh my God.
Jameis
Come on, the
Winston.
Browns.
Jameis
The
Winston.
Browns. The Browns. The Browns.
Browns have
It's the Browns.
like after Deshaun, it's like some good ones. Yeah, some solid ones.
I don't care how bad Deshaun is. I'll never say Russell Wilson and Justin Fields are better than him.
He's just in that
AFC
tier.
South predictions.
I'm not excited.
I have the
easy for me.
Texans at 11-6. Very tough schedule this year.
It's
Very
fucking insane.
One of the toughest in the league. I have the Jaguars at 10-7. I have the Titans at 8-9, and I have the Colts at 7-10.
Can you let him cook?
I asked that. I actually that too. I was like, how crazy do you
Only
think the Colts
I'm gonna
can
say
last?
this because the Jaguars, Colts, and Titans schedule give me a stomach ache. It's genuinely difficult. Even the Texans, like you mentioned 11 wins. I was looking at that schedule repeatedly, trying to think, well, the Texans are going to be one of the best teams on paper, roster-wise. They should be, I should easily feel favored. I should favor them over these other teams. And you look at the fact they're playing the NFC North. Obviously, they have to play their teams in the division where last season they split a few of them, if I'm not mistaken. The Titans, I'm relatively high on considering what the expectation are for them this upcoming season. I just don't. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they're also playing the NFC West because they do play the Niners. They do play Seattle. It's not an easy schedule, all things considered. That's why when we talk about Indianapolis, who I'm excited to see what this offense is all about, Anthony Richardson with Shane Steichen, Jonathan Taylor, seeing those two together for a full 17 is something I'm genuinely looking forward to. I'm interested to see how Pittman is this season, where Last season, Gardner Minshew really favored him and threw him the ball consistently, led to being led to being his best statistical season. But with AR, I feel as if this offense will be very run heavy. But looking at this schedule, goodness God, I don't know how they get to 9 wins. I don't know if I see another playoff team in this division not named the Texans. Jaguars at 10 wins. That's difficult for me too, because the schedule's pretty similar as well. I don't know if I trust these teams that much that I can go and give them similar records, but I do have the exact same placing. I do have the Texans finishing first. I have the Jaguars in second. I have the Titans in third and the Colts in fourth. The schedules are brutal, and that's really what it comes down to for me.
My schedule or my predictions a little bit different. I feel like the Titans, we're just assuming, we're guessing a lot of this shit. Will Levis, we don't really know if he's a good quarterback. Got a first-time head coach.
The defense got a
Are
lot
you not
better.
guessing with AR too though?
You are doing
There's
some
more
guessing.
guesses with the Colts than the Titans.
I think it's
The
just
Titans have an all-around
it's
better.
there, but
in-
I trust Shane Steichen.
All right,
Like,
here
if
we
he's
go.
my play
You're right.
caller, I trust that way
If
more.
I'm guessing, and that's fair, I don't disagree
valid.
at all. Callahan is going to be a pretty solid offensive play
We
caller.
think so.
But you also get his father, Bill Callahan,
That's
who is
huge.
going to improve the offensive
Steichen
line,
is
which
a-
was one of the worst. Steichen's one of them ones. I'm not going to compare the two, but offensive minds, usually we do see it translate. You go and you had one of the worst offensive line. You bring in Lloyd Cushenberry. You draft J.C. Latham. You needed wide receivers. DeAndre, obviously not being present for a couple of games is definitely going to sting, but you bring in Calvin Ridley, Tyler Boyd, Treylon Burks. Don't love it, but Calvin Ridley should be
We were
pretty
just
good.
told Tyler Boyd can't get open anymore.
I think
true.
the receiver room is it's like average.
I don't disagree, but at the
It
same
is, man.
I think the Colts receiver room is better.
because of
Pittman,
Michael Pittman.
They're younger,
Downs,
they're
And
more
Josh Downs.
exciting.
So
and
Josh
Aiden
Downs-
Mitchell.
Downs also banged up too. We don't know if we're going to see him
Josh
early
Downs-
October.
I know, but he'll play, within the first, I think, month of the season.
But then if that's the case, and then whenever DeAndre Hopkins come back, D-Hop.
I still like the explosiveness you got in Indy.
An interesting
understand
fact about the Titans and Bill Callahan, the offensive line coach, is that Bill Callahan has taken over 6 offensive line jobs throughout his career. The year before and the year after, the turnaround that he has is only good for one spot. Like on average, before he got there was the 16th ranked offensive line, and after they became the 15th ranked offensive line in adjusted line yards. I think Bill Callahan's impact is more so felt on like a 3-year basis, more so than like year one. Because I think the Titans' offensive line will still be pretty bad.
J.C. Latham, again, it's a rookie, like first-round pick, top 10 guy. He should be good, but we're projecting. Will Levis just the hype around Will Levis is there. Like, he has the arm talent, he's athletic, but he was not good last season. Like, he was inaccurate. He was turning the ball over a shit ton, turnover-worthy plays constantly.
I'm worried about Will. I'm not gonna
like
lie.
he could. You see the world where it works out, and it's this flame-throwing type quarterback. But the other world is probably more likely where he's a bust and he's clearly the worst quarterback in this division.
I don't disagree.
I think he's still,
But
if he did hit that other word, he's still the worst
I
quarterback.
just
in the
look
division.
at the additions they made this offseason to their needs. You bring in L'Jarius.
What's your division prediction,
Awuzie,
Dehls?
yeah.
I have first place, I got the Texans. Second and third, I think it's a toss-up. I have the Colts coming in second place. I would have the Jags coming in third, and I have the Titans coming in last place.
Is there not more projection with the Colts being second than the Jaguars?
I think what we saw,
Cool.
the very small sample size we saw with Anthony Richardson.
It's better than Trevor Lawrence.
At his peak, no. At Trevor Lawrence's peak, no. I think Trevor Lawrence get back. Again, second place is up to grabs for me.
With this one then, buddy.
What?
He's
Colts
just
at
saying.
2.
I trust
know.
their
Let's
offense
see.
more. I trust Anthony Richardson and Shane Steichen more than I do Doug Peterson and Trevor Lawrence. I get like the peak of Trevor Lawrence, especially last season. Calvin Ridley wasn't 100% there. He was coming back from football, all of that. And on paper, right, you could say as a whole the receiver room got better. You bring in Brian Thomas, you bring in Gabe Davis, but still not really sure if there's a number one on the team. I think I like Michael Pittman more than any of those guys over there pretty comfortably.
You think in 2 years you'll say Pittman's better than Brian Thomas Jr.?
Maybe.
I'm glad you've seen the
I
video.
think
man.
Brian Thomas has the
turn
ceiling
me
too,
on.
but again, it's a rookie
Pittman is
receiver.
OD,
You're
though.
asking year one to be better than Michael
Pittman
Pittman.
is very
Brian
fucking
Thomas is way more explosive than him.
He is. Well, yeah, I mean,
Pittman
yeah,
is
he
25.
say-
Still like be really like he hasn't hit his peak yet, bro.
I
But no,
think
I don't think. I
it's
think Brian Thomas
explosiveness
will be
you're
more
kind of born
explosive.
with.
Yeah,
No, I'm saying that's fine, but I'm saying
he's a
like
better
Pittman
receiver.
is
Pittman's
like
a better
OD right
receiver
now.
right now.
Yeah.
No, dude, for sure. You got to project with Brian Thomas, but listen, Christian Kirk is one of the best
solid,
slots.
for sure.
Brian Thomas.
I mean, are you going to project with Josh Downs and AD Mitchell?
Josh Downs
yeah,
can be better
I
than
love Josh Downs.
Christian Kirk at the end of the
Josh
year.
Downs can
80
probably,
Mitchell? Nah, he won't be better than Christian Kirk.
No,
Josh
I'm talking
Downs?
about Josh Downs.
Oh, Josh Downs.
Yeah.
That's a conversation. I think Josh Downs is
Josh Downs is
Yeah,
really good.
No, I don't think I think yes.
And Jonathan Taylor too.
Nah,
Like we didn't
But the
bring Jason
Jaguars
into
have
this.
Christian Kirk, Evan Ingram,
Yes.
Brian Thomas, and Gabe Davis. Their receiving core this year makes sense.
Polar bear.
It makes sense. And Parker Washington has had some solid reps with them too. Like I think the Jaguars offense this year is going to be much
You
improved.
could
you got-
convince me Jags in second place. It's just the Titans. I don't see the world the Titans
You
are
got
not last
JT,
place
you
team.
got Pittman, you got AD Mitchell, you got Josh Downs, and you got Shane Steichen.
What's your order, 1 through 4?
Well, 1 is obvious. I don't have to talk about that too much. Texans. Number 2 for me, I think I had Jacksonville there because I do trust in Trevor Lawrence and what they built over there. I do think the defense is going to get slightly better or play better. Last year, they had a in the beginning of the year, they was getting a lot of turnovers and they was playing at a good rate. Injuries started to pile on them bad. Trevor Lawrence and Tyson Campbell on them boys, and then they just fell down to earth. I think last year they can just maybe not come out 8-3, but just keep spread that out moderately, then they'll be fine.
Not that I have anything against the Colts. They're going to be one of my most exciting teams to watch this upcoming season. Listen to this schedule
It's
and
brutal.
tell me
the Titans
what
schedule
games.
is just as tough though.
They all have a tough
But
schedule.
are they a playoff team to you?
No.
What's their record in your opinion? If you had to say wins 8-9?
I think around 9. I think 10 is probably their max.
So okay,
lot
hearing
of teams-
that, how many games would you favor the Indianapolis Colts this upcoming season? Week 1, Houston.
At Houston,
This is in Indianapolis. Would you favor
I think
Houston's
still be
probably
favored.
favored. Yeah,
at Green Bay
Green Bay,
versus Chicago?
probably the Colts.
Okay, I can hear that.
I think it's like
Yep,
plus
fair
like
enough.
-1. It's Colts.
Pittsburgh.
Where?
This is in Indianapolis.
I'll say Indy.
Okay, at Jacksonville.
Jacksonville.
At Tennessee.
Close, probably Tennessee.
Okay.
Close.
Versus Miami. I don't think that
Miami.
matters to me. At Houston.
Houston,
At Minnesota. I agree with you. Colts. Versus Buffalo.
Buffalo,
Jets.
Jets,
Detroit.
I heard like 3
Detroit.
Colts.
New England.
Colts.
Of course. At Denver.
The Patriots
Colts.
could beat them.
And the Broncos can beat the Colts too.
But you said favorites. You didn't say
Agreed. No,
You
agreed.
said favorites.
Agreed. No, agreed.
That's-
Wholeheartedly.
He said 5.
Agreed. The end of the schedule, they go New England, bye week, Denver versus Tennessee. So now they're in Indianapolis.
Colts.
Agreed. At New York.
Giants or
Giants.
Colts.
And then they end the season against Jacksonville. This is in
So like
Indianapolis.
7, 8, they'd be favored. But we could do the same thing with the Titans, and they might have 3 or 4.
This is the thing, and to me, this is the difference between the Titans and the Colts. The difference is that the Colts, I feel like a lot of their ceiling is on the shoulders of Anthony Richardson. Of
course.
And I'm not saying he can't get there. I think Anthony Richardson is going to be a star.
Just not this year.
I don't know if it's going to be this year, like Riv said, but also the Colts defense doesn't have the same margin for error as the Titans defense. The Colts don't have a good secondary at all. It's probably one of the worst secondaries in football. They lost Ebukam last year, who was an impactful player, rushing the passer, and they do get Leo Tulatu, but they had one of the worst pressure rates last year in the NFL as well. So for me, the Colts defense is very much an average unit or below average unit. The Titans, I think, have the defensive potential to get into slugfest where Will Levis doesn't need to do as much as Anthony Richardson to win close football games. Like L'Jarius Sneed, Awuzie, McCrary, they just traded for Ernest Jones. They have Jeffrey Simmons. They have Arden Key and Harold Landry. They brought in Quandre Diggs. They have Amani Hooker still. They brought in Jamal Adams. Like, I think they have a lot of good defensive pieces, and they aren't, to me, an 8-win team because of Will Levis. They are an 8-win team because I think they've built a defense good enough to hold opposing offenses.
I don't think their defense is going to be winning them games. And if you do even have those in the situation, I don't think Will Levis should be the quarterback that has to game manage his way through shit. I think that's not where he is molded to be, at least what we saw last season
I
from
want
him.
to also point out, bringing in Tony Pollard alleviates a lot of pressure on Will Levis. I know
Derrick Henry.
you lose Derrick Henry, and of course that is huge.
you're right.
You see so many stack boxes with Derrick. My point being is when Derrick was on the field, you saw those stack boxes because you knew what was coming. You knew they were going to run the football, which is why we've seen over these last couple of seasons Derrick be one of the more inefficient
Offensive
backs.
line was also terrible.
Multiple reasons, of course. Offensive line wasn't good, and on top of it, They really were selling out on Derrick Henry. When you have Tony Pollard and Tajay Spears, you don't know what they're going to do. At least there's a little bit of, I don't want to use, you can be a little bit more creative, and there's a little bit more surprise factor with that too, because Tony Pollard can be a solid runner, Tajay can be a solid runner. Both are capable receiving backs.
But so Will Levis struggled against stack boxes where there's more one-on-one coverage. Now that there's more people in coverage, he's going to be better against.
No, Will Levis was actually really good passing on first down. The Titans didn't do it enough. And I think Brian Callahan will lean into that. I think Will Levis is going to have a pretty damn good season. I don't think he's going to be bad.
Crying at the thumbs up.
What do you think, like, top 18?
I think that's definitely in the cards. I could see
He could be better than Geno?
I could see a 20 touchdown, 9 interception season.
He could be better than Geno?
No.
That
Geno
sounds like
Smith
Daniel
is,
Jones.
No.
20 touchdowns and 9 interceptions.
That's not a bad
He could be
year.
better
though.
than Baker?
Yes.
Yeah, 20 and 9's a solid season.
I feel like, isn't he like a gunslinger though?
Yes,
He
for
is.
sure.
And-
That's what's in his heart.
He was first in ADOT last year.
He was
Like
he was
29
taking
for a
shots for
gunslinger
sure.
sounds just pretty poor.
And that's going to lead to explosive plays.
It will.
And explosive plays leads to a higher win probability.
It will.
And
It's
but
also
Anthony
gonna.
Richardson will have explosive plays too.
Yeah, it's also gonna lead
I'm just
to
saying,
turnover
if you put Anthony Richardson on this Titans roster, there is no doubt about it that you think the Titans would be better than the Colts.
Nah,
the Titans have
it's-
a better all-around roster
It's
than the Colts.
honestly, I love Anthony Richardson to death. It's more so Shane Steichen I trust more than Bill Callahan.
Brian.
Brian.
Listen, I think that's fair. I think Shane Steichen is unbelievable.
Like I think Anthony Richardson, of course, he was one of my favorite quarterbacks coming out of Florida. All of that, I think he has superstar potential. But Shane Steichen has shown, whether it's with Jalen Hurts with Philly, whether it was fucking last year with Gardner Minshew, you're gonna have one of the better offenses in the league, and you have a healthy Jonathan Taylor now. This could be a top 3 to 5 rushing unit in the league. So you don't need to have your defense get stop after stop. You could kill the clock like that. You have explosive players on the outside, and Pittman and Downs and A.D. Mitchell that. He's going to be, all of those guys can create separation. If AR could hit him in stride where he could take a 10-yard in route and take that 30 yards, or is going to be behind him and he gets picked. That's his biggest issue. But this offense, if Steichen's there, AR is healthy,
I do trust
JT's
it
there,
too.
I feel really confident about this offense.
yeah, I think the offense will be great. My question marks are with the defense. That's my question marks with the Colts.
I have
That's my
questions,
biggest question
and
marks.
my question marks with the Titans is the
Well,
offense.
their line should be solid this upcoming season.
The Colts or the Titans?
The Colts.
It should be. They were actually a bad pass blocking unit last year, though.
I mean their defensive line.
Our defensive
Yeah,
line.
DeForest Buckner, Grover Stewart,
Grover Stewart is
Latu
not a pass
Latu.
rusher. Grover Stewart is a great run stopper, but he's not a
I'm talking just the line in general. The defensive line in general. It should be pretty sound.
Yeah, but the problem with their defensive line last year was that they couldn't rush the passer. That's what it was.
But now you bring in Liatu
But they
Latu. That should
lose
definitely
Ebukam.
help. Ebukam losing him definitely does sting, but they at least addressed that this offseason.
No, yeah, and I think if Leo Tulatu hits the ceiling like a
I don't feel passionately about it. Let me say that. I don't feel passionately about the Titans finishing over the Colts. I just believe the foundation that the Titans have put for themselves going into this season, they addressed every hole they had.
they did.
And they did it with
That's a fact.
high impact players too.
They did
My
everything
only
they
thing with
could.
the Colts is the secondary. Juju Brents is the starting outside corner. And everybody on the Colts secondary outside of Kenny Moore right now is an average player. Maybe Julian Blackmon is like above that and he's actually good because I like Julian Blackmon. Everybody else is painfully average.
Listen, I
and
don't think either of these
they
teams
could
are
be bad.
playoff teams.
There's only
I don't
one
think either
playoff
of
team
them
coming out of here.
I agree. Just Houston.
Wholeheartedly
No,
agree.
it'll be two. It'll be Jaguars.
So, listen.
All right, so let's do or John, do you want to give
Yes.
your 1 through 4?
Yes, sir.
You don't
right
actually
here.
believe that, right?
10 wins for the
what?
Jags is going to be
The
hard,
Jaguars
bro.
getting to the playoffs?
It's either gonna be them or the Chargers.
They'll
Are
have
they
to-
better last year than this year?
The what?
That's the two
The
teams you're
Chargers.
stamping.
To do what?
Make the playoffs.
John, what you got, man?
What you think the Browns gonna make it
Can
still?
we
Don't
let
you?
John
They've
get
done it
his
before.
1 through 4, man? Jeez.
The Chargers
So
have an elite
rude.
quarterback. They can't get there. I'm sorry.
They just got there.
That was 2 years ago.
John, cut these guys off.
Okay, my top 4 in the AFC South. I've got the Texans finishing first
his
with
forehead
12
so
wins.
shiny?
Second place, I've got the Colts coming at 9-8. I like their weapons a lot more, and I
classy.
think a healthy Jonathan Taylor this year is really going to alleviate the pressure on a de facto rookie and Anthony Richardson. So he doesn't have to be as good as a guy like Trevor Lawrence because the coaching, the weapons, and also the defense too. I think their front 4 is really damn good, and their secondary is the only issue. I think they're going to have a high enough floor to still win 9 games. But third
One
place,
over.
I have the Jaguars finishing under 500, 8-9. Then I've got the Titans finishing last at 6-11.
John, the Colts have a better front 4 than the Jaguars.
I wouldn't say so, but it's a good front four for sure. It's actually one of the best in football. I love Kwity Paye, and having Latu as a backup.
One of the
who's gonna be able to
best?
rotate.
Where?
It's really good. DeForest Buckner.
He can
as
hear
well.
you now.
What's
definitely
the number, John? One of the best?
It's just one of the best
Top
groups
10
altogether.
unit.
Top
I'd
10
say
unit.
so.
No, they
Defensive
aren't.
lines.
Top 10
Pretty good
unit.
group.
That's one of the best. God
I just
willing.
threw a number.
No, they
It's
aren't.
definitely one of the best.
I
It's
can
got
na-
really
I can name 10
Okay.
better defensive lines
Go
right
do it
now.
right now.
The Houston Texans. Are you
Just
saying
go. Just
yes?
go. Yes.
Yeah,
of
yeah,
course.
yeah,
Yes
yeah.
and yes.
The Houston Texans, the San Francisco 49ers,
Okay. Jets.
the New York Jets.
You want me to help you out too?
Yes, please.
Okay. Ravens.
The Ravens. I think it's a bit of a toss up.
Yeah.
I want to get like definite.
Okay. Steelers.
The Packers.
Cleveland.
The Steelers.
Packers is it definite?
Rashawn Gary.
Cleveland.
Kenny
That's-
Clark.
Cleveland.
Okay.
Oh
Cleveland
yeah, they're
agreed.
definite. I think
Cleveland.
they are.
Cleveland for sure.
Cleveland.
Pittsburgh for sure.
Yes.
The
Lions.
trending
for
that
sure?
way.
It's
Is that
Trending
for-
that way.
is that for
I think
sure?
that's a for sure with DJ Reader, Lee McNeil.
I forgot
and-
you were
and
in
Hayden
Hutchinson.
Hutchinson.
And now he's in.
Forgot about
And I
that.
love that.
No, he's a great edge rusher. He's not Miles
Giants.
Garrett, but he's great.
Stamp that. Giants.
Giants, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's also
Yes.
a better
Would you
one.
also say the Cowboys because of
DeMarcus Lawrence
DeMarcus and Micah?
Absolutely.
Yes.
That's
And
nice.
Osa?
yeah?
Decent.
Off the top of
Houston?
the domer, he said Houston
Houston.
already.
Chicago?
Nah.
No, not yet.
No.
The Chiefs.
Chris Jones.
George
Him and
Karlaftis.
Karloff, but Chris is carrying.
Chris is doing a lot of heavy duty. Yeah,
Fuck it, he's
lifting.
OD.
The Raiders.
Oh, Wenwu wasn't bad last season, though. I'll say that.
Max Crosby.
Raiders.
And now you bring
And
Christian
Colts.
Wilkins.
A healthy Dolphins.
Healthy Dolphins.
Jalen
You
Bradley,
lost
Chop has been
Wilkins.
cooking. Calais.
And we put the
39.
Jaguars in here, right? With
We said the
Josh,
Jags. Yeah.
Josh Hines Allen, Trayvon, and Eric Armstead.
Damn, John,
I saw
think
Hines
you're
Allen the other day. I
cooked
was
here.
so confused.
Come on, man.
Top
Top
15, though.
15.
Yeah,
John,
I heard top
15 for
15.
It's definitely a good unit. I don't know why we're underrated.
You said one of the best.
They got
You
the
did
best
that.
edge rush. They got one of the best edge rusher in this draft
John,
class.
come on, bro. You know
They did.
semantics really.
If
are the
Leon
heart and
Tolaci
soul of
breaks
It's
this
a
out,
side.
good unit easily.
Then
I
they
think
got
it's really
that.
good.
Nobody
to
said
great.
it's not good. You said one of the best.
We're a big semantics podcast.
Semantics
Come back in
podcast.
December. It'll be one of the best defense lines.
Oh
in
shit,
football.
love that.
He's
Okay,
stood on it. I love that energy, John.
All right, John.
Bills
Pull up
also
our
constantly.
AFC predictions, lower thirds. We're about to give our playoff seedings. This is how we think the AFC playoffs are going to shake out.
Yes.
Number 1 seed, I got the Chiefs winning the AFC West. I got the Jets winning the AFC East. 2nd seed, the Ravens at 3rd winning the AFC North. The Texans at 4th winning the AFC South. And then my wild card teams, the Bills, Dolphins, and Jaguars.
Okay, I love that. No Chargers.
Just missed the cut.
That's.
Wait, say your
unfortunate.
what was your playoff team?
My wild card
Your wild
teams
card.
are the Bills, Dolphins, and Jaguars.
Wait, no Bengals?
Fuck.
Oh, damn, no Bengals in the playoffs.
Joe Burrow
Jaguars
doesn't
out.
make the
Take the Jaguars
playoffs.
out, bro.
You're telling me Joe Burrow misses the playoffs?
My bad, I forgot about them. 5, I got the Bengals, Bills, and Dolphins. Because I had the Bengals at 11
the
and
Bengals
6.
are kind of forgettable, and that's okay.
They're not forgettable. They have
my
Joe
number
Burrow.
one seed in the AFC will be the Kansas City Chiefs. My number 2 team will be the New York Jets. Number 3, just falling short, would be the Baltimore Ravens. Number 4, the Houston Texans. Number 5, this is where I do have the Miami Dolphins. Number 6, the Buffalo Bills. And number 7, this is where I have Cincinnati.
So, number 1, I have the Chiefs. Number 2, the Texans. Number 3, the Ravens. Number 4, Buffalo as my division winners. My wild cards are Jets, Miami, and of course, the Cleveland Browns.
Damn, so we basically have the same exact playoffs, except you have the Browns and we all have the Bengals in it, I believe.
We have the top 4. I think all of ours are similar in the top 4. When it comes to wild card teams, the Dolphins and the Bills should be pretty universal.
3 teams in the same division. Tough.
I don't feel good about that. That's
happened
actually the
last
one
year.
I don't feel the best about.
It's tough. Because
Well,
we thought a couple years ago the AFC West lock. All
Last
of
year,
them could
the-
make
Well,
it.
it happened. The North and the East both have 3 teams
Well, listen,
representing.
this is the thing. With my record predictions, I had the Dolphins at 10-7. I have the Jaguars at 10-7. And I have
They
the
play week 1.
Chargers at 9-8.
Let me give mine real quick. So 1 seed I have the Chiefs, 2 seed I have the Ravens, 3 I have the Jets, 4 the Texans, 3 playoff teams, Bills, Bengals, Dolphins. I think they're all 10-7 teams though. I think the Jaguars and the Colts could sneak around that. But But I don't feel good about 3 teams from the same division. Like that would make me put one of these teams
but
over the Dolphins.
if one of
It
the teams
happening last
misses
year,
it-
does that kind of alleviate?
Could have been 4 if somebody stayed
Yeah,
healthy.
but I honestly think we need more teams who missed the playoffs last year making it. It's usually not just one. It's usually like 3 each conference.
I
or
wouldn't have been
changes.
4.
He's saying that 3 for the
AFC
East
North.
wouldn't have happened. That the North would have been possible.
No, he said with the four teams could have made it in the North.
Yeah, I got you.
You know, because the Steelers made it because they beat the Bengals.
No, but y'all would have won way more games before that if you were if Joe Burrow was healthy.
It
You
did
wouldn't have
take
been in
10
a hunt
wins.
at the end.
Yeah, but then the Steelers wouldn't have made it
Nah,
That's
the
what I'm
Bengals-
saying.
yeah,
they still could have. They still could have jumped in.
because the last week of the season,
They had to
the
beat you. All
Steelers
they
had
had to
to
do was
beat
beat y'all.
the Steelers had to beat the Bengals to get in.
No,
So
the
they-
Steelers had to
yeah.
beat Ravens.
Oh, but I know that they faced like week 17 or week 16.
Yeah, they faced in the
from
back end,
around
but they
there.
beat y'all.
Yes,
So
the
even if
Steelers
they-
won.
Yeah, if they win that game regardless, they still get in. It would have been possible. That's all I would say.
I really do believe that the
gonna be tough.
last 3 teams, though. I'm with you, Joel. I feel like it is going to be the Bills. It's going to be the Dolphins. It's going to be the Bengals of some variation.
don't
Joel,
think-
you had the exact same thing too. So
I don't think the Bills
really
and Miami are locks.
Well, listen, on average,
Who's not?
Hmm?
Who's not
I'm
locked?
saying both.
Oh, really?
I don't think-
Wait, you just had the Bills as a.
No, but I think the
division winner.
Jets are the only like lock to make the playoffs. I think the Bills' ceiling is they can win the division. I think Miami's ceiling is probably they can, but I think in terms of just floor, the Jets have the highest floor in the
I
division.
think
I think they got
Miami's
the lowest floor because we could get injured.
Yeah,
I'm not thinking injuries too much into it because with injuries you could do that with almost any team.
Burrow
you know?
gets hurt
This
again.
is
You're
the thing,
cooked.
wait,
Lamar
yeah.
gets hurt. You're
The
cooked.
the Dolphins are 10-7. They got the same record as the Jaguars. So that is going to come down to a tiebreaker.
Week 1,
The
literally.
Jaguars went because I did this on like a record simulator website that like I just did it all to trying to get it as accurate as possible. The Jaguars went 4-2 in their division. They had a better division record than the Dolphins, but the week 1 matchup is why the Dolphins ended up making the playoffs because I had them beating the Jaguars
Okay,
week 1.
I like that. Makes sense.
But for me, like we have to understand that on average, there's going to be 6 to 7 new playoff teams every single year.
Yeah.
In the AFC playoffs,
I only have 2.
I think the Chiefs and Ravens and Texans to me are locks to make the
The new
playoffs.
team would be
again
the
this year.
Jets.
the new
or a
team would
new
be the
team.
Jets. Would be the Bengals.
Bengals are back in.
And it could be the Chargers and the Jaguars are the other 2 teams not going to do it that I think can make the playoffs.
Please, for the love of God.
On who?
The Chargers are not making
We still got
the
that
playoffs.
Steelers bet. You want to make that bet?
No, I said I'll tell you before game day. I said that. Remember that.
You
Don't
made
forget
Getting
You
it.
awfully
made a decision?
close.
No, I didn't make a decision yet. Thursday night I will make my decision.
Thursday night's crazy.
Thursday night I make my decision. But
Right
the
before kickoff.
I promise to God the Chargers are
And
making
my
it.
sleeper team, so I had a sleeper team category. It was the Jaguars just missing it, the Chargers, and like if everything goes right, I could see the Titans.
It's a
Like,
miracle
that's all
of
I'm saying.
God if 2 teams out the AFC South get it out, bro. That schedule is so
It is
brutal.
really tough.
I just have a hard time believing that 3 teams from the AFC East will make the playoffs.
It's
I
a
also
tough,
think
it's a
one team
tough
will fall
challenge.
out.
but I can't. I could
it
see the
can happen.
Dolphins missing the playoffs, but that's because I can't see Josh Allen missing the playoffs. But it can happen. I'm not saying it can't happen. It
It's
can
definitely
happen.
a low chance, but it
so
can.
6 teams, AFC and NFC,
Combined.
are new.
Combined.
Okay, I still feel good.
Yeah.
I still feel good
'Cause
because
I think if we're
NFC.
getting Bengals and we're getting the Jets,
Yeah.
So those are 2 new teams. If I were to throw another new team in there in replacement of one, it would be the Jaguars over the Dolphins. That's what I would do to replace them.
the Dolphins are going to win too many games early on, and even still in that hard span that they do have,
They just need to win 2.
they can win a couple of them for sure.
They just went 2 out of 6. They should be in the
brother,
playoffs.
I think they only won 1 last year.
They went 1-6
And their
against 500.
schedule was
Just get-
it was
just get
worse.
one more.
The schedule was worse this year than last.
Get one more.
They gotta lock in.
I wouldn't say that they didn't go 1-6
they-
to end the season.
they won 1-5 to end
Against
the year.
500 teams. Yeah.
1-5 to end
Or
the
no,
year.
playoff
no.
teams. Yeah, right.
I think it was. You didn't win many games. You lost the Titans game. You lost. No, you beat the Cowboys.
Beat the
you
Jets
lost the
late in the
Bills.
year.
Yeah, did.
You lost the
Beat the
Baltimore.
Bills twice because that was on Black Friday and
Jets are saying.
yeah.
So it might have been. I think the first one was early. In the
I
year.
just know that the Dolphins lost a
think
good amount
they
of their
would,
games to the great teams.
On to the NFC predictions. We can start off with the first team being the easiest division, the NFC South. In the NFC South, I have the Falcons finishing 10-7. I have the Saints at 8-9. I have the Buccaneers at 7-10, and I have the Panthers at 4-13.
Oh wow.
I'll be honest. I
didn't see that
contemplated the Saints in last place.
I do have the Saints in last place. I have the Falcons in first. I have the Bucks in second. Panthers in third. I think this is the year shit just falls apart for the Saints. I think Dennis Allen gets fired. Derek Carr gets benched. The whole ship goes down.
I also had so for NFC South for me, I have the Falcons at 1, I have the Bucks at 2, I have Carolina at 3, and I have the Saints sitting at 4. I'm on the same vibe. I just think everything has to come to an end, and the Saints, it's their time to just collapse and come to an end. I think Tampa, maybe they can win the division.
The Saints defense, they've held their hat on a top 10 defense for what feels like the last
their
decade.
offense is going to be so bad.
So I look at the Buccaneers and understand they did lose Dave Canales, and that definitely should be a blow to their offense. However, the personnel is still solid. They had an issue on the interior offensive line last year, and they drafted Graham Barton. That was an amazing selection for them. You clean up the interior, especially after the hole that was left after. I'm blanking on who he was. Was it Jensen?
Yeah,
That
Jensen.
retired. When Brady
Ryan
was,
Jensen.
yes, Ryan Jensen retired. Yeah, I thought that was his name. When Jensen retired, they really had a hole there. They solidified that by drafting Graham Barton in this offseason. I look at their defense. It still should be a relatively sound unit. The secondary may be a little bit of a question for me. They lost Carlton Davis, Jamal Dean. You have Antoine Winfield. But I don't know where it would be where I'm looking at the Bucs and they are now significantly worse than what they were last season. And I don't think that's what you have laid out in your record prediction. I'm just speaking generically. I look at the Saints and there's nothing that gets me going unless your name is Chris Olave. I really don't love this offense whatsoever. A lot of the idea because Derek Carr is simply not good anymore. This offensive line is not good. Their second wide receiver, Rashid Shaheed, good talent. He's a good talent. Shout out to John. Definitely is a good wide receiver. However, I just can't find anything to really sell myself on the idea that Derek Carr is going to be competent and going to be good enough for this team to be a second place team.
But Bryce Young will be?
I don't think that.
I'll be honest, I got more faith in Bryce Young and their offense.
I think Bryce Young will be better than Derek Carr
Both
this
of them
season.
teams could win 5 games.
But regardless, that doesn't change my landscape on the Panthers as a whole. I still don't know what their defense is going to look like. Wide receiver wise, of course, you have Leggett, you have Deontay, Adam Thielen as your wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3. This offensive line still has its ways to go. I just think that they will look a lot better than what they did last year because they will be at least a consistent scheme and consistent wide receiver that can win. I just don't know what the Saints are going to do on offense that is going to be conducive to winning football games. Their defense, it should be good because obviously, shout out to Dennis Allen. That's the one thing that he does excel in. You do have DeMario Davis. You have Marshawn Lattimore, Paulson Adebo. Heads are getting old. But, you still have to respect the guys that they do have on that opposite side. But I can't respect Carr anymore.
Now, the thing is with the Saints is that I think they're a middling team. I think they should have rebuilt a long time ago. But it doesn't take away from the fact that they still have a lot of talent on this team. On the defensive side of the ball, I think the defense is going to be great.
I agree.
Carl Granderson really broke out last year. I think he's going to be a good player. Cam Jordan is still solid. And
quick question, Joel.
Granderson's fire.
Yeah, he's good.
Very curious about this. What's the difference between the Steelers and the Saints?
Steelers are better.
Their defense is better. Their offense, although not by a lot.
I like Derek
The
Carr.
Steelers got better coaching. Mike Tomlin is their coach.
So would you say they're in the same tier of teams?
And the Saints, by far, in a way, have a better quarterback.
So
I think Derek Carr is average, but he's still better than
So you
Russell.
think they're in the same tier of teams?
Yeah, they're mid. But the Saints have an easy schedule. So does every team in the NFC South. Brian Breesy, their rookie last year that they drafted, I really think is going to be a stud. I think he's going to be a star. And Chase Young is not an elite player, but he's a good player.
Solid.
And people blamed a lot of the 49ers' woes on his inability to generate a pass rush. But I think that he was actually more solid than what people remember. And the Niners' real liability was their linebackers, especially when they were unhealthy. But Chase Young adds another edge presence to that team. And their secondary is still one of the best in the league. Tyrann Mathieu is still one of the better safeties. Marshawn Lattimore is still one of the better
Niners'
corners.
issue were linebackers, you're saying?
when they were unhealthy. Because when Dre Greenlaw went out in the Super Bowl, Oren Burks came in and he got torched.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, I'm sorry. I thought you meant just like in the grand scheme.
No,
I was
no,
like,
the
Dre and
linebackers
Fred,
got one
they're
of the-
pretty amazing.
Yeah, but when Dre
I'm
went out
with
in
you.
Super Bowl,
OD,
yeah.
OD, you're right.
Their depth is bad.
But so yeah, the Saints, their secondary with Paulson Adebo, Marshawn Lattimore, Alante Taylor. They drafted Kool-Aid McKinstry.
They should blow it up.
Their linebackers, Demario Davis and Pete Werner. They still have a top 10 defense, and their offense. The reason why I feel differently about them this year than last year is because last year Pete Carmichael was the offense coordinator, and Carmichael was very static in his formations. He didn't use any motion at all. Towards the back half of the season, they started using more 12 personnel. They understood Derek Carr struggled in the red zone, so they started having more packages with Taysom Hill out there. And that's when the red zone offense actually became good. And I think understanding that coming into this year, we got to use Taysom Hill in these packages because Derek Carr is a liability in the red zone, and also the use of motion. 66% of the plays in the preseason when Derek Carr was on the field, they used motion 66% of the time. And why that matters is because against disguise coverages, Derek Carr has a 30% pressure to sack rate. Against static defenses, it's below 10%. So he takes sacks when defenses are disguising. You can't disguise as much if you're motioning constantly. So I think Clint Kubiak, who's the son of Gary Kubiak, is now their OC. And last time he was an OC for the Vikings, Kirk Cousins had 33 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. Kirk is better. Yeah, Kirk is better than Derek Carr, but Derek Carr is not a terrible quarterback.
No, he hates
like Derek Carr.
ass,
Derek Carr last year had a pretty good season, all things considered, especially with that offensive line. The tackles being turnstiles.
It's still going to be bad.
I know the tackles will still be bad, and I think Alvin Kamara is washed. I think that with the easiness of their schedule,
Washed.
I think Kamara is washed.
I think he's washed too.
Receiving wise, I
Painfully.
wouldn't call him
He's a good
washed.
receiving back, but he's not
talking about
explosive. He's not
explosiveness.
making guys
Yeah.
miss.
Yeah, I think the longest run he had last year was maybe
8 yards?
17 yards.
Oh, I thought it was less than that.
It might have been less. I mean, I know he didn't have any explosive runs
Pains
at
to
all.
see my
He
brother.
did have 75 catches last year.
He's
No, I
gonna
know.
get peppered.
Yeah.
He had
Yeah.
a game with 14 catches, 33
Yeah.
yards.
That's what Derek Carr
Facts.
does. That's what Derek Carr does.
nuts.
But the Saints last year went 9-8. I don't think people would realize that.
I'll be honest. The Saints
Let me
are
separate
in last
fantasy.
place
It's on me.
for one reason only. I don't like them. I'm bored of them. I think the team is awful. It's like bar for bar, player for player wise, the talent's there. Like I understand it's probably going to be
I love that.
a top 10 unit. Like I get it.
That was
like, I
honest.
understand it. But I don't want to see it. I don't want to see the Saints trot out this fucking Derek Carr-led offense again. Dennis Allen, that head coach again. Like they're just not going to do nothing. They're more talented probably than the Bucks. They're definitely more talented than the Panthers. This is me just being sick of them. Put them in last place.
Are they more
Did
talented
you-
than the Bucks?
Did
know
you
about
guys
that.
know that the Saints last year, they did finish 9-8. They also were a top 10 offense and defense in terms of points scored and points allowed last year. They were 9th
Should have.
in
Thank God
offense,
we only
and they
don't
were
look at
like
those numbers.
8th, 9th in defense.
In offense, they were 9th.
Yeah, and points scored. Yeah.
So they start.
What'd you say, John? They
Their
were?
schedule looks low.
What the fuck? That offense was not good.
They can start the season 1-5.
The Saints.
Yes.
Who do they play?
Carolina, Dallas, Philly, Atlanta, Chiefs, Bucks.
God damn.
Or 3-3.
The Saints
Stop.
do have the 5th easiest schedule.
Who was
according to Warren
the
Sharp.
3 wins, buddy?
The Panthers,
Panthers,
the
the
Falcons, they
Bucks.
can beat the Falcons.
Uh,
The
In
Falcons
Atlanta?
aren't just like gonna run
In
through.
Atlanta? They'll probably lose that.
I'm
first
not gonna
one.
lie. I think
And
Atlanta.
the Bucks and the Falcons. They can win
Falcons
their
are gonna
Atlanta's
division.
gonna be nice.
good.
Atlanta's gonna be
You
nice.
think the Saints can win the division?
I think it's a possibility.
I think there's no world.
I
The
think it's
Falcons have an awesome offensive line. Now they have Kirk. They have an amazing rush offense. They have a really good set of weapons when it comes to Drake London and Kyle Pitts. That wide receiver 2, we'll see. Darnell Mooney obviously is on the squad for the first year. We'll see about that wide receiver 2
It's the
position.
defense. The defense is not that good.
It's the line, I guess. AJ Terrell solid.
I'll be
Jesse
honest.
Bates, one of the best safeties
don't
in
have
football.
another corner
Brought in
opposite.
Judon.
If you
AJ.
get Kirk Cousins and the Saints win the division, you're looking at your team in real disappointment.
I think the Falcons win that division easy. I'm not gonna lie.
I think they win the division too. I think
So
the Saints will be
easy.
in the running.
Won't even be no. It won't even be a
They shouldn't be.
contest.
The Falcons should be walking away.
So what do
with
you
that
have?
division.
You have the Falcons winning 11 games then. I'm
Yeah.
assuming.
I think the Falcons. I'll talk about it later
By later.
when we talk about seeding.
Ah,
Yeah.
ah, you're getting nasty.
What are our expectations for the Panthers?
6 wins.
Growth from Bryce Young. I think
it.
have Bryce Young not look like what he looked like last year. Have some receivers that can create some separation. Mingo was having a strong camp. You bring in Xavier Legette.
Deontay Johnson's there for
Deontay Johnson is one of the best
mentorship?
players at creating separation in the league.
Why does Deontay Johnson have such a bad rap?
It's his hands.
All he does
just
is
drops.
get open.
other people.
People
told
just
you-
hate the drops, which I get. He has because when he has drops, he has bad drops.
What are you saying over there?
nothing.
I'm excited to see Jonathan Brooks
Nothing
the
at
second
all.
half of the year too when he's back from injury.
That'll
I'm
be
excited to see
interesting.
him because Chuba Hubbard, he's decent, but I'm excited. Jonathan Brooks obviously was the first running back taken off the board.
Damn,
He's an
how
explosive
DJ
guy.
has fallen, man.
Who?
Deontay Johnson. How the mighty have fallen.
He's still one of the best at creating separation in the league.
I was told-
ESPN
I
thinks
was
he's better than
told-
DJ Moore.
Other people
ESPN says he's better separator than DJ Moore.
Other people do
Not
here
me.
too.
Reception per reception also says that. Shout out to Matt Harmon.
You see how they still keep going? after
Deontay is
He's solid.
unbelievable at getting open. His routes are really fucking
I think
good.
he'd be a really good like wide receiver too.
I remember those DJ Moore Deontay conversations,
Yeah.
man. Look how we're here now.
Shout out to DJ Moore. He's a stud.
You guys are
He's had-
idiots, man.
He's had one. I mean, nah, I like DJ Moore.
He has multiple. Respect him.
Since that conversation, he is one season better than Deontay.
Probably 2.
One.
No.
He didn't have 1,000.
Yes, he
2
did.
years
He's had-
ago.
Well, he had 1,000 like 3 times before that.
Correct.
He did.
What are you
And
talking
then he just put up
about?
1,300.
He had
Before
one
we
bad
move
game.
on to the next
Respect
division,
him, please.
No, he's amazing.
John, what are your NFC South predictions?
My South predictions had the Falcons at 10-7. They're going to be a fun team to watch this year. I can't wait. Number 2, I've got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers finishing a little bit below last year at 8-9, one less win.
fair.
Third place, I'm going to have the Saints. At first, I had them at 7 wins on Joel's show last week. Think I had me on, but I'm going to drop them to 6 now. I'm going to be honest with you, Dehls. I hate watching this team too. And I
annoying,
think
bro.
it is a miracle last
just
year.
turn it off.
They were top 10 in points allowed and points scored. I don't know how. And then dead last, I
gonna have
do
to go
have
back and
the
watch
And they got
Panthers
better.
at
Now I'm gonna
5.
have to go and watch that. How the fuck is that true?
I don't know.
Towards the end of the season, Derek Carr played phenomenally. He played amazing.
The Saints are like
Der- I
bottom 3
think
team I want to
Derek
watch.
Carr's last game of the season, he threw 4 touchdowns against the Falcons.
If the Saints are the team that I'm sleeping on this season, they go out there and are actually good, I may never watch football again. They're so fucking lame. They're
their
lame.
defense is I like the defense. I like Brian Breesy.
You know
is
me.
Really,
I don't care
really
about
goddamn
defense
good.
the
You're
way
a
I
real
care
football
about
head, bro.
offense.
Now Brian
'Cause
Breesy is good.
on my life, the Saints have never jumped on my TV like, yeah,
Nah.
let's go ahead and
Now,
watch Derek Carr.
Kool-Aid McKinstry. They got some young pieces on that defense that I like.
This is
watching.
just another one of your teams?
No, they're not. my
Just for the
team.
year. Just for the
No,
year.
no,
No.
Sounds like you're forcing yourself into it.
no. They're just they are a good team.
Good.
They're mid, but they
I don't
are
know if
still.
they're better than the Bucks.
Mid good, crazy.
I think they will be. I think the Buccaneers last year were a bad offense. And I think there's more potential for them to be a better offense this year than they were last year, even
run
without
less.
Dave Canales. Yeah, if they run less, they pass more. Liam Cohen's come from the Rams.
Yeah, I need them to run
Graham
as
Barton,
much as
honestly, I
possible.
really believe that that's going to be their best addition this
but their
offseason.
defense is not good. Like Levante David and Antoine Winfield are the stars, but Evita Vea. But their defensive line, they lost Shaq Barrett, who led them in pressures off the edge
Elijah
last
Cansey,
year.
you're not a fan?
I like Khalid Cansey. The interior defensive line is good for them, but their edge rushers, Joe Tyron, has not lived up to expectations. The other edge rushers, Yaya Diaby, their corners. I mean, Jamel Dean's still there, and then you have like this other dude McCullum who's like playing corner.
trading Carlton probably because they just didn't want to pay him is fair, but you know,
I need them to run the ball as much as possible.
They don't have a
Rashad
good
White.
defense.
Rashad White.
I would have drafted him.
I respect that.
He's going to get you that nasty 3.8 a carry.
Hey,
He'll
brother,
get you
listen.
7 catches.
That matters. I just need all the I need
full
all the
PPR
yards in the
league,
world.
too.
Yeah.
On to the NFC North.
This is easy.
It's
Everyone
easy
should
for
have
me
the
too.
exact same.
I think
It should
three
be the
of-
Lions, Packers, Bears,
Vikings.
Minnesota. That should be as easy
I got
as
the
it is.
Packers one, and then the Lions
Not
two.
shocked, but I'm
Oh
fine.
And
with
then
it.
the Bears
God.
3, and then
Not surprised.
All off season, Lions can be the number 1 seed. They're going to be the number 1 seed. They're right now.
Who
They're my
thinks the
favorite
Packers
team.
can win the Super Bowl, bro?
That's it. Where does it come from?
You know the
I
Lions
like
have
no.
one
Not where.
outside game.
I didn't mean
Where it
all
comes
that.
from?
I think no. Let me.
Remake
Them being the
them.
1 seed. Them being the 1 seed. But being a Super Bowl team. I'm here with you.
Super Bowl team, you could be
I
the one
literally
seed.
just said
I'd hope so.
like
Yeah,
2
I'm praying
episodes
for that.
ago, the NFC is going to be the Lions or the Packers representing. I think this division could go either way. I think the Lions could be number 1. I think the Packers could be number 1. The Lions have
Chicago got a shot.
no, they don't.
Outside shot. They have a better chance than the Saints do.
Punch the check.
Oh my God, easy. I guess.
The Lions have
nuts.
there's more stability with understanding what they're gonna
Work.
do, and the additions are very easy to project. Like DJ Reader's a very great player. Carlton Davis, I think, is good. I think he's dropped off a couple, but he's still a good player. And maybe one of these corners plays well. You know, Taron Arnold and Ennis Rakestraw had some of the highest press rates in college. And this is how the Lions want to play. They want to play physical, but that also leads to getting burnt. And if they aren't ready to play physical from day one and they get beat off the release, it's a big play waiting to happen. I do think that their pass rush should be better. Last year, they were 31st in pressure rate as a team, and they had to blitz a ton to generate pressure. If that's better, then this defense could make a sizable leap. My enthusiasm with the Packers is that I think the offense is going to be an elite unit this year once again.
Agreed.
And the defense, there is more projecting that goes that goes to the Packers and projecting them to be number one in the NFC North. But ultimately, the scheme change going from a 3-4 to now 4-2-5 and having more secondary players out there. These defensive linemen not having to account for a gap and a half. They're just shooting gaps and penetrating the backfield. I think the scheme change is going to help them, and we're going to see it instantly. I mean, they faced the Eagles the first game of the season.
Big game.
We'll see how their defense looks against them. Bro. Yeah, okay. The Packers are going to win that game.
I say offensively, it's a coin flip.
And I can't wait
think
to call
whichever
you,
one
too.
you want to
Matter of
take,
fact-
because you look at EPA play, success rate, whether it's running the football or passing, they are right next to each other in every single advanced statistic. So I can understand that being a toss-up. I do look at the run game for Detroit. I think I would favor Detroit's where we stand right now because of Josh Jacobs. Sure. He was so inefficient last season. Jameer Gibbs, Dave Montgomery. I mean, that is a home run.
p.m., brother, Friday night.
Huh?
8:15 p.m.
I'm going to call you at 11 o'clock.
Defensively, I really do like the Packers. I'm just going to side with the Lions right now.
The Packers have better talent on defense than the Lions.
It's close.
It is.
I think that's close. I think that's not
Xavier
guaranteed.
McKinney, Jair Alexander on the back
Rashawn
end.
Gary.
Brian
Getting
Branch.
Xavier McKinney is unbelievably huge.
Rashawn Gary and Aiden, to me, cancel out.
How much is Rashawn going to play this season?
He'll play
Snaps-wise.
They rotate their pass rushers because they have a lot of good ones.
But if he's the best, you got to be on the field.
You keep them fresh. I mean, we do the same thing with Quinnen. The Jets do.
Quinnen Williams?
Yeah.
He really
he
doesn't play
all the snaps.
Nah,
No,
they
he
rotate
doesn't.
a lot.
Yeah.
At D tackle?
Yeah.
Who
Yeah.
else plays D tackle
Solomon
for y'all?
Thomas. He's a good run stopper.
Facts.
Yeah, so, I mean, the Packers, their defensive line, how they built their scheme, it's going to be very reminiscent of the 49ers, the Jets, just rushing for, handing the dirt, just go. And they're going to rotate their pass rushers. I mean, the Packers have Devontae Wyatt, who this is a scheme that now fits him perfectly. Kingsley and Igbari off the edge, who was really good for them last year. Carl Brooks was good for them. They have a lot of good rotational pieces, and that's why they're able to keep Gary fresh. I think Gary didn't play as much last year, though, because he was coming off a major injury. So I think his snaps will be increased, but I don't see him playing like 90% of snaps. I think it'll be like 70% of snaps that Rashawn Gary will play. And Kenny Clark, it fits the scheme better, too. So I think the Packers' talent on defense is better, but the Lions just have more continuity, so I can see it. But I don't know why you say this is out of nowhere. I had Jordan Love winning MVP.
But number one seed, but we've all season, even in your power rankings, you had the Lions over them.
Yeah,
The
but
Lions have been ahead everywhere except when it actually matters.
But the power rankings I told you is not indicative of my schedule predictions at all. Like, I think the Packers ceiling, I think, is higher than the Lions.
They both have the same ceiling.
Jordan Love is the reason why the ceiling is a little bit higher for me.
Both the ceiling Super
They're
Bowl.
both are going to have top 5 level
Kind of how I see
offenses.
it.
Because
Their
if-
ceilings are the same.
Because if Jordan Love truly breaks out into that elite tier quarterback, which is something, with all due respect to Jared Goff, who I really respect, Jared Goff just cannot get to there, then there's a different ceiling for the Packers because they have that type of guy.
I don't disagree, but I just think the system that Detroit has had is just, it's like San Francisco, where it's like, yeah, Brock Purdy, Jordan Love is just better than them. He has levels that Brock Purdy can't reach. But Kyle Shanahan with Ben Johnson, Jared Goff doesn't have to reach those levels because he's just going to scheme so much shit open. Matt LaFleur is one of the best play callers too, one of the better offensive minds. So it's not like he can't. But any given play, week in and week out, the Detroit Lions are going to have one of the most efficient offenses in the league.
No lie.
It just depends on just what defenses are facing, because Jared Goff, he's one of the best pocket passers in the league, but against pressure, he still struggles. He ranked 26.
They have a top O-line in the league.
Yeah,
Not everyone can be good against the blitz.
He ranked, no, I'm talking about just with pressure, not against the blitz, which is it's a different thing. But Jared Goff ranked 26 out of 31 quarterbacks with pressure. So he's still not good with pressure. That's still a liability for him. But like you said, they have such a great offensive line that doesn't show as often. But there are moments where it does show, and those are the moments where I think Jared Goff just adds a different layer to the Packers because he is great
Jordan
under
Love,
pressure.
yeah.
He is great with the blitz. So that's why I feel like the ceiling with the Packers is higher, and I think they can reach their ceiling because they figured out what they're going to do offensively. It's all about their defense. If their defense performs to the talent level that I think they have on the field,
Same for the
then
Lions, though.
This is going to be the best
If the
team in
Lions could
NFC.
be a top 10 unit, like if they could
Yes.
take some steps, then they're the same. Both of these teams, we think really highly of the offenses. Defenses both have talent. If whichever defense comes out and actually steps up in the top 10 level defense, that's who's going to win the division. That's who's going to be favored for the Super Bowl most likely.
I agree, and that's why these two teams are the best two teams in the NFC to me. These two teams.
Agreed.
Two of the top,
One of
two
these
of the
two
three.
teams.
two
One
of
of
the
these
top
two
three,
teams.
Two of the four.
two of the four,
One of these two teams will represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. I
Maybe.
think this year.
Maybe not.
two of the three.
Possible.
Two of the four.
They both choked.
Falcons,
Eagles.
They
Eagles
did
for
choke.
sure.
They both choked.
They did choke.
So they had that in common.
No. Gagged. The
You know,
both of them absolutely fucking gagged.
Yeah, I heard what you said earlier about at 11 o'clock you're going to be calling me. I wish you did the same thing when the Buccaneers spanked the Eagles in the playoffs
Oh,
because I didn't hear from you.
shit.
That
that
had
night.
nothing to do with
He
you.
did.
Now,
duck
do you
that
remember
live
when
show.
Riv really went on a nice streak of I ain't showing up?
What was score, John, of that game?
That was an
Bucks
ugly
and
game,
Eagles
man.
playoff game.
That shit felt like a 3-touchdown
I
game.
believe
don't
it was
know what
20.
It had nothing to do with you.
Yeah, it
You
was
really
ugly.
built allegations in a matter of 2 weeks.
You just didn't show up. We were like, should we wait for Riv? Chat was like, nah, he's not coming.
25 to 11.
25 what?
2 11.
Okay.
fuck they scored?
How much did
11,
Dallas lose
ugly.
by?
Oh shit!
A million.
Just figure that
Dallas
score
was
out.
like fucking 40.
Hey, once you figure that part out, then you let me know.
We on to the Packers, baby. don't talk to me about that.
You really pulled the KD.
Are we gonna
Pull the
talk
KD.
about?
Dallas got spanked. He ran over to Green Bay. I get it.
Are we talking about the Bears at all or the Vikings?
You know what? I don't want to talk about the Vikings.
I feel like we've talked enough about Chicago.
We've talked about the Bears a lot, and deservedly so. My brother in Christ is going to ball the fuck out. He's going to be historic this season. However, I believe 3 teams can make the playoffs, and I believe that 3 teams will make the playoffs in
have
this
Chicago
division.
in.
It will be close between this team and another team that we have not spoken about yet, but 3 teams can make the playoffs in
3
this
teams
division.
will.
I believe.
On to John, give your NFC North predictions real quick.
I've got the Detroit Lions winning 12 games. They're the best team in the NFC to me. And then number 2, I've got the Packers right behind on 11 and 6. I've got the
Chicago Bears.
Chicago Bears at 8 and 9, and then last I do have the Minnesota Vikings.
Did you have like a brain fart
7.
just now? Or
No,
you-
I was praying that it wasn't him thinking about Minnesota.
Minnesota
No, I
is
just
easy.
forgot
I don't
the
think
third
Minnesota has any chance to be above 4th place.
No, they're easy last.
Yeah.
They're easy
Unfortunately,
last.
yes. But they'll be fun.
But I am excited to see what,
Do we
what-
want to do
what
a
Sam
Bears
Darnold
schedule
can do
prediction
with,
for a vibe?
I think we already did that.
Oh, did we?
We
Yeah,
did.
we
Oh,
definitely
fuck.
did. Yeah. NFC East predictions.
Apparently,
Riv,
Nick Wright has the Eagles at 3rd.
This is also
This one's
easy.
easy.
Eagles, Cowboys.
There's no repeat.
Giants.
There's no repeat
Commanders.
champions in the NFC East. There's no
I agree.
repeat champions.
it's not as easy as you think. The Cowboys are going to win this division.
Here he goes.
The
Every
Eagles are gonna
time.
finish
They're going to be the first team to go back-to-back division champs in the last
you,
like
you
15
look at the
years.
Cowboys for all the
This team
playoff
sucks.
failures they have.
Whoa,
the Cowboys
whoa,
don't
you're
suck.
wilding.
For all the playoff failures that the Cowboys have in the regular season, they're a great team. The only team that has more wins than them in the last 3 years in the regular season are the Kansas City Chiefs. The Cowboys have won 12, 12, and 12 the past 3 seasons. I think
Your math is off,
And
brother.
gag in the first or second
What?
round.
What do you
'Cause I
mean?
think the Eagles went 13, 13, 11.
Yeah, and the Cowboys won 12 games.
Well,
They've-
13, 13,
11.
that's 26, and 11, that's 37.
In 2021, the Eagles were a wild card playoff team. 2022, they
yes,
won the
you're right,
division.
you're right,
And this
right,
past year,
right.
the Cowboys won the division.
Yeah, I was going to say,
So-
they didn't have two
It was
13
10
wins.
wins, right? Or what,
Whenever they
9?
played against the Bucks,
Yeah, how many wins?
yeah, I don't know. I
Was
don't.
that 10
They
or
were a
9?
9
That was
and 8.
9 and 8.
Nine,
Yeah, I was going to
okay.
say.
Yeah.
I thought it
Because
was
Jalen
11.
Hurts didn't know how to pass then.
Listen, I think the Cowboys, they lost a lot this offseason. There's no doubt about it. And usually when teams lose a lot of players in the offseason, they drop off by about 2 wins. That's kind of the norm, especially when you lose key players. They lost Tyron Smith. They lost Tyler Biadish. They lost Stephon Gilmore. You lose Tony Pollard. The receivers are still thin. CeeDee Lamb's an elite player. I think Jake Ferguson broke out into a serviceable option. And then the running back room is probably the worst in the league. I don't know if they're going to start Zeke, Rico, or Dalvin. I think
Please
Rico.
respect Zeke.
Rico is the best running back in the room right there.
Not saying much.
I mean, the longest run that Zeke has had in the past 3 years has been like.
He's a good receiving back. Let him cook.
I don't.
You know,
he's all
apparently
right.
they're remaking the Randy Moss KG picture.
I know. I
I did
did
see
that.
that. I did see that.
We're here. Let's lock in for this one.
This is the difference with the Cowboys, I think, that people are kind of overlooking them on, is that they played dime 80% of the time under Dan Quinn. It's the biggest reason why they were a terrible run defense. Mike Zimmer got a head coaching job because of his defensive prowess. He is a great defensive coach.
Ironic.
The Cowboys still have a lot of talent on defense.
You know, DeRon Bland's out for like 6 weeks.
I know, but you got Trayvon Diggs back, who I think Trayvon Diggs is better than DeRon.
I don't think
Bland.
Gilmore came back either.
No, he didn't. He's on the Vikings. You still have Micah Parsons.
Yep.
You still have DeMarcus Lawrence. You still have Osa. Eric Kendricks is at least a good tackler
the top
still.
end talent for
He's
sure.
not he's not totally washed. He's kind of on the brink
They
now.
needed a backer. That was firm.
Your safety play is still good. Jordan Lewis and the nickel still good. Trayvon Diggs is still good. When DeRon Bland comes back, this is now one of the better secondaries in the league. The Cowboys offense, to me, even with the losses of Tyron Smith and Tyler Biadasz, the Cowboys, to me, their offense will still be a great offense. And I think their defense will still be a great defense. This is very much a team, to me, that despite losing some things, they are a top 10 offense and a top 10 defense going into the season. Dak Prescott has been a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts for his career. He just had a better season than him. He was an MVP
Hurts'
candidate.
peak is better for sure. His 1 year peak.
Yeah, yeah. His 1 year, he was better. Jalen Hurts still struggles against the blitz. I don't know if we're going to get answers to that this year.
He struggled like shit last year.
Even Jalen Hurts' breakout year, he was 23rd in passer rating against the blitz when he was with Shane Steichen. It's something that he struggled with, and the tell that defenses found later in the season is that, hey, if you stack the box against the Eagles, Jalen Hurts is going to throw a whole shot to A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith. So a lot of defenses would disguise that. Then they would play deep zone, and Jalen Hurts would take those shots, and then they would get intercepted at times, like against the Seahawks when they got intercepted. Kellen Moore, I think, is good. You know, I think he's not a terrible OC, but I also have to acknowledge that he left Dallas, and Dak had his best season of his career
They were also
with
putting
Mike
up
McCarthy
top
calling
5
plays.
offenses with Kellen Moore.
I know. I'm not saying Kellen Moore's bad, but Mike
know what
McCarthy's
you're
a
saying.
better play caller than Kellen Moore. And I think Kellen Moore is very vanilla. I do. Watching him with Dallas and his play calls, he's a very vanilla play caller.
But he's going to bring motion to this Eagles offense that desperately needs it.
Vic Fangio went to the Dolphins and didn't have success. And if you look at Vic Fangio's...
They got injured. Didn't have success is strong.
They did.
There was a moment where they were
fired
good.
after 1 year.
There was a moment where they were good.
He got fired.
No, I understand. There was a moment where they were good.
If you get fired, is that successful?
Well, not necessarily.
Probably not.
You got fired.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And you look at Vic Fangio, everywhere he's went to, it's been the second year of the defense when they've made a leap.
You've told
with
me
the
multiple
Broncos,
times
with the Bears.
the defense didn't play bad against the Bills, didn't play bad against the Chiefs. The game that they played objectively bad against was the Titans, and they got banged up really badly.
Vic Fangio, he got fired, and players celebrated when he got fired on the Dolphins.
Did they?
Yes, they did. They openly tweeted that they were happy. Like, some players actually were happy that he was gone.
We're
So-
happy to have him.
Listen,
Say,
and I
if I'm
think-
the Eagles,
Say
I'm
your source.
and listen, I
For
think,
real. I think the only thing I remember was Javon Holland being happy. I
the
think
star
that,
safety.
for sure.
We don't have that.
So listen,
Look,
I think
I'm agreeing with what you're saying. I understand Javon Holland. If he's saying something, then maybe you're right.
this is the thing with the Eagles. I think their offense is going to be great. I think they're a very talented team.
Top 3 offense in the league.
This team, to me, I look at what happened last year and I can't ignore it.
I know.
They got to win me over.
I get
and
it.
as
But
you-
Dallas doesn't.
in the playoffs, they choked. I'm not saying they didn't.
Regular season.
You down the stretch lost to the Seahawks.
So?
What do you mean? Drew Lock Seahawks, not Geno Smith Seahawks.
So let
You
me get, wait, hold
imploded.
on. So let me get this straight. It's just you've talked for an hour on this show about how teams who were bad last year but were great the year before, years before, they'll bounce back. But the Eagles are the one team where it's like, based off last year, they got to show me we can't just look at the year
Who
before.
are the teams that I mentioned?
Well, you did that with the Bengals multiple times. with
Why?
certain
Their quarterback
players.
was injured. That's
No,
why.
you did it with players on the defense. 2021, 2022, 2023, they were great or
Definitely
some shit
did
like that. And last year they weren't good, but
Definitely
just because
yapping about
they
those
were the
Bengals
years before
linebackers.
that.
Who am I
you
saying
did.
is not going to be good with the Eagles?
No, you're talking about the team in totality.
you are concerned about Jalen Hurts against the blitz still, which is
That's
fair.
still a flaw.
Agreed.
That's still a flaw.
Is that
And I-
going to
and I've
cause
been
them to
telling y'all
win
that
9
since
games
last
instead
year.
of 12?
I've been
Brother,
telling
we struggled in 111.
I've been telling y'all about Jalen Hurts and his
The
struggles
defense
for
should
like
be a
2
lot
years.
better
How many
than
games
last
did
year.
Dallas win last year?
I think
12.
12.
So we imploded like shit and won one less game than Dallas' probably best performance.
Yes, but here's the thing, and I think
And Dallas
we
did
have
get
to,
better.
We have to take into account the implosion that happened. The implosion was your defense was one of the worst defenses in the
And our
NFL.
offense
But it got
was
better
very-
this offseason.
Our offense was very
They
stable
got
at that
better.
time.
I agree. I think they will be better.
Yeah.
How much better?
Who
Is it-
won?
He had
is it
11
average
wins.
units?
I'm
Who
going to be
won more?
transparent.
I'm talking about the
It's-
defense.
No, the defense should be drastically better.
Who
Who
won
won more,
the worst
Dallas
in
or
the
Philly?
By
Who upgraded
far and
more?
away. By
The
far and
Eagles.
away. Yes.
The Eagles they added more into their offseason. There's no doubt.
You could
about
argue
it.
that Dallas got worse this,
But I
this
also
season.
they did, but still they have the top end talent that has made up the sum of their parts.
Philly
So,
still
All right,
has
the
that.
point I think the point that they're trying to make, and I agree with it.
you think the
wholeheartedly,
Eagles
is-
defense is gonna be better than the
So
Cowboys
again,
defense?
I'll
I think the
finish-
Eagles' offense will be very much better
I'll
than
finish
Dallas'
the statement.
offense.
What they're trying to get at is the Eagles imploded last season. They won one less game than Dallas. Dallas got worse. They got better. Their defense was horrible last season. They added Quinyon Mitchell. They added Isaiah Rodgers, who was on the team, was
Cooper.
just suspended. Cooper DeJean
And
now
there is
gets
no
added to the
repeats
secondary.
in the
They
NFC.
get back CJ Garner-Johnson.
They also have a way easier
The
schedule than Dallas.
linebackers are a concern.
Better.
Devin
White and
Devin
Zach
White
Bond.
is correct. Devin White is still someone that I can't trust. He has not been good in coverage, but you bring in Bryce Huff. Jalen Carter now gets more snaps, hopefully, with Fletcher Cox being gone. Losing Fletcher hurts. As a
course.
leader in the locker room, as a player on the field,
got
that
Brandon,
definitely
though.
hurts. And Brandon, of course, who's still
Big
getting up
leader.
there.
Big
The
leader.
defense should be better comparatively to what it was last season. That's just being. I'm trying
They
to be
got
objective.
the talent. Like we're talking about, for example, the Bengals defense saying it could get bad. We're talking about the Packers defense improving with the scheme change. The Eagles have talent. They have holes on defense, but they have talent really at every position outside of
you
linebacker.
just
They
told
have
me-
a dude.
It's back.
I don't understand that.
You
because,
just told
look,
me about the Lions and how their secondary, it's young, but it can improve and it can be better. So
No,
why
I
can't
said
Phillies?
I talked about their press rates and how it fits their identity.
No, but
I-
you also talk about Terry and Arnold and
I
Carlin.
never said they're going to be exceptional. I don't know. They're unknowns.
I'm not.
Rookies are unknowns.
I didn't say you said they was going to be exceptional.
But
you said they would
rookies
improve.
are unknown, and that's fair.
They'll
but
be
we've
better
seen
than what they had
a
last year.
lot
And they were
come
terrible
in and
last
be
year. They were
good.
awful
Will
last year.
Quinyon be better than James Bradbury last year?
Yeah,
Easy.
James Bradbury was one of the worst corners in the league.
Exactly.
But this is the thing.
Jeez.
The secondary
Jesus, he's
wasn't
bad.
the only terrible part of the Eagles. Of
course.
Their run defense
so
was
bad.
the most terrible part of the Eagles.
Yes.
You did nothing to improve the run defense at all. Bryce Huff is a liability on run downs.
No, I agree.
Vic Fangio was asked if Bryce Huff will be an every down player, and Vic Fangio himself said, we still got a lot of work to do. He's not there right now. He might just be a pass rush specialist, which is fine. You'll rotate guys, but you still don't have an edge run stopping presence.
Yeah.
Your linebacker, Zach Bond, played with the Saints. Did you know he was an outside linebacker? He converted into an inside linebacker for the Eagles. This is the first time he's playing this position. Devin White has not been good. Even the All-Pro year, he really was not that good. It was more of name value. And Devin White has had multiple back-to-back terrible seasons. He just got benched last year. Their linebacking core and their defensive line still is not a good run defensive unit. I think the secondary, that's the part of the team to be most optimistic about.
Facts.
It's one of
But
the worst
if-
it's
but-
been in a while.
Yeah, but if teams are just gashing you via the
So
run,
it
I mean,
seems
but
then-
Dallas has no run game.
But
They
again-
don't have a wide receiver number 2 or 3. Their defense, they don't have a
Can we
cornerback
not
2
just talk
right
about
now.
how the
Bengals,
Bengals
thank you,
the
thank
Bengals
you.
the
The
run
Bengals
defense
yes,
is
that
terrible,
is
but the
it. That's the
secondary-
argument.
Like the same thing for
That's
the
the
Eagles.
argument.
If there's just no
secondary should be
optimism-
better.
yeah, I
I-
don't have the Bengals winning their division though.
But you do because of optimism. And
Well,
that's,
the
that's
Ravens
the
are a lot
issue
better
here.
than the Cowboys.
yeah, I think
The
the
Cowboys
Cowboys
are
are
even the
also
best
Who has a
still
better
really good.
chance to win the division, the Bengals or the Eagles?
The Bengals. The Bengals. Wait, let me ask you, Rick. Hold
Disagree.
on.
The Cowboys ain't no fucking Ravens.
Let me ask you. I
It's
know,
just too
but
much.
the
There's
Eagles
just-
ain't no
this-
Bengals. I just
What
want to
does
ask
that
you
even
something.
mean? What
Who's
does that
winning
mean?
more
Rick,
regular
I just want to ask you something.
Oh, what does that mean, though?
The Eagles have won more than the Bengals
By
over the last
far.
2 years.
Right, like, what are we
Rick,
doing?
last year the Cowboys didn't have a second option at receiver. They didn't have a running game either, and they were an elite offense.
Yes, correct.
So what's the difference this year?
Our offense is going to be better.
I know, but their defense is gonna be better.
I mean, yeah,
The
sure.
Cowboys. The
Yeah.
Cowboys defense will be
But
better.
I think our defense is going to be better.
I agree with that.
yeah, but
and
not
that's-
better than
that's-
theirs.
No, I don't think our defense is ever going to be at this moment ever going to be better than theirs. But I
And-
think our offense is going to be significantly better than their offense.
And this is another thing. Nick Sirianni is widely reported that he doesn't get along with Jalen Hurts. That
I hate that fucking
they
report.
don't even speak to each other. It's from sources. ESPN wrote an entire article about it.
They've been
You,
saying that
you
for like
guys should
3
check it
years,
out.
bro.
They haven't been saying that for that long. Things imploded, and this is the reason why. Nick Sirianni wanted more control of the offense, and a lot of what Brian Johnson wanted, Nick Sirianni was trying to control. So Brian Johnson never really was able to implement what he wanted to do on the offensive side of the ball. This year, I think what's different, it's a hopeful thing for Eagles fans, is that Nick Sirianni has said he's going to be hands-off with Kellen Moore. So Kellen Moore is going to be free to do what he wants to do. Jalen Hurts now gets more control at the line of scrimmage and just adjusting plays, which he did last year, and he did it wrongfully because he settled for too many hole shots. But I think that's something to be optimistic about. But I look at the Eagles, the coach and the quarterback don't have a great relationship. Nick Sirianni is on a hot seat. On the Cowboys, they on a hot seat too. Dak Prescott has to have a great season to get paid as one of the top end flight quarterbacks. Mike McCarthy, if he doesn't perform this year, he is going to get fired. And I trust the Cowboys with their backs against the wall to perform in the regular season.
Respect that.
No, more so Dak, because Dak is on a contract here.
Sure.
And I think Dak is going to perform at a very high level this year.
Jalen Hurts is also on I was an MVP candidate 2 years ago. I was bad
We
last
can come
year.
up with narratives for everything. We
trust
can come
Dallas.
up with narratives for every
No,
fucking player.
my problem with
But
this
the Dak one's good,
conversation is his constant abuse
No,
of
no, he's
optimism
straight
with
up-
every
yeah.
other team
Nah,
but
I
Philly.
ain't-
It's like Philly,
It is
you
fake
get
It is
Philly
fake crazy.
when it comes in his mind, Philly gets zero optimism.
The way that
everything that will go bad is gonna go bad, but when it comes to everybody else, no, I can
The
see this
fact
happen.
that the
I can
Bengals
see
have
this happen.
similar holes or similar issues as the Eagles,
brought-
you're
no,
very kind
He
to the
brought up one
Bengals.
positive thing,
Yeah.
and that was about Nick Sirianni having hands off. Then he said after that, but still, I'm very reluctant. Like, come on, like,
And
it's
also,
no
I don't know why
optimism
we
here.
talk about the loss of Jason Kelce like it doesn't matter. I
It
think
matters for sure.
It does.
No,
Nothing matters.
talk about stuff that actually matters. That's one of the things that matters. You didn't say it once.
Wait, I talked about what mattered. The defensive line still is not a good run stop.
No, I'm saying no. I'm talking about all that other shit with Dak backs against the wall. Our backs against the wall. It's
Every
the same
year.
vibe. Yeah,
Every
it's
year, Philly's expected to
Super
go to
Bowl
the
or
Super
bust.
I look at the Eagles and how
Dallas
they
just
started
got
the
their
season.
ass whipped at home in a playoff game.
Yes.
That backs against
We
the
not
wall
talking
shit is
about
out the
playoffs, talking
window,
about the
bro.
regular
Nobody
season.
cares.
In the regular season, the
To be
Cowboys
honest,
never
no
been
one
a
cares
12
about the
team
regular
the
season
last
when
3
it comes to
years.
the Cowboys. But this
This-
conversation is
It's about the regular season. It's not about the playoffs.
They won one more game than them last year.
That's my point. They won
It's
one more
awesome.
game.
But no, he
And
said, listen, to be fair, his credit, he said either team can win this division. He just has Dallas
didn't
coming
hear
in
that part.
first.
I didn't hear that.
I didn't hear
either.
that either.
No, did you not say in the beginning that either team can win this division? Did I make that up?
You might have made that.
Oh,
up.
so-
I was gonna say.
Even he could have.
He had
right
it
there.
every
He had it
time.
out right
Hold up,
there.
hold up.
He
It's
was
not an
not
outcome.
doing
The
it.
Cowboys are winning this division.
There's no way that Philly can win this division.
There is a way they can win it.
What's
This
the
is not your
percent?
brain.
I
What's
don't
the
think they'll
percent?
win it.
Yeah.
What's the
okay.
percent?
I think between the Cowboys and Eagles this year,
It should be
It's
60-40. Eagles.
I got the Cowboys winning this division.
Okay, if it's 60-40,
That's
both teams
easy.
have a
Yeah,
real
yeah.
chance to win it
Joel,
then.
you got to learn to
I
level.
never said.
What are the Jets and Bills?
Hold up. I want to stay on this point. I never said that the Eagles didn't have a chance. I just said that
Well,
didn't
you said
say
the
it.
Cowboys will win the division.
Yes,
Like,
they are.
just
You
like
said
that
in
with
my
the
mind,
fingers
I
and
don't
all
see
that.
the Eagles
That
winning
makes me
it.
think it's like 75-25, 80-20.
Why
No,
are you assuming?
Dallas got this a
If
lot.
you tell me in my mind this team, I don't see it a way this team wins it, then that means you don't.
Like I
think it's a
said,
chance.
I think the
I
Colts
never
come in
said I
second
don't
place,
think there's
but
a way this team wins it.
Jags
You
should
just
be in
said
this
that.
No, I
conversation.
didn't.
Oh,
I never said that. Dehls earlier said, "Didn't you say this? Didn't you say that either team could win the
I
division?"
thought you said
said
either
no
team
because
could
that's
win.
not
Yeah.
what I said. Why am I going to lie? This is not what I
didn't.
said.
Agreed. I
And then
respect
Riv
it.
just
You
said,
should've lied. Would've
"You
helped you.
just said the Eagles." You just said
You
there's
said
no
you
way they
think
win, it,
Dallas.
and I didn't say that.
You
either.
said you think Dallas can win it. He said you think Eagles have a chance. You said in my mind, no.
You did
But-
say that.
But there's a world where they can. But in your mind, you don't believe
in my
that.
mind, I don't have them win the division. I
Well,
have the Cowboys
so,
winning.
so that means you
Yes.
don't believe it can happen.
No, I think the
Want
Eagles.
to put a bet?
I just
Eagles,
didn't
Cowboys?
I just tell you I
shit.
60-40? I
Eagles,
just told you I
Eagles,
60-40.
Eagles, Cowboys.
Eagles Cowboys winning the division.
Yeah.
Oh, how much you want to bet on it?
100?
I thought we,
Shit.
150?
He's
I
throwing
thought, I
big
thought
boy
we
money.
gave up on Dallas, man. Why we keep
I
doing
know.
this every
Just
year?
when I think I'm out, they pull me right back
I feel like
in.
at the beginning of the year, you were so out on Dallas this
It's not
offseason.
that
This was literally
Because-
2 weeks on a porch. Maybe 3 weeks ago we were talking about it. He told us, "I'm done with Dallas." That's what he said. John, look, we got a knock. Adam,
John,
come
can
here,
you hear
John,
us?
please.
It was 1 week ago.
One
week ago. Oh my
1 week we sitting up there,
God.
we chilling like bros. He said, "I'm done with
That
Dallas.
doesn't
I'm
add
out."
context to the conversation because being done with them versus picking them to win the division is different things. I don't believe in the Cowboys once the playoffs roll around. And I started this division prediction by saying that. We ain't talking about the playoffs.
I ain't hear you
but
say
this
that.
team in the regular season, last 3 years, have won 12 games in each of those seasons. And all the criticisms about the Cowboys still stand. They're awfully ran. Jerry Jones is a joke of an owner. They don't bring in any free agents to help out their team. They have drafted well, and that's helped them. And I think 2 draft picks they made, Talagai and Cooper Beebe, who are going to be their starting left tackle and center. I think they're going to be really good.
Banger
but
picks.
I didn't project them to be this exceptional offensive line unit because I still got to wait and see. Even though I'm high on them, ultimately, the Cowboys are still going to be a great regular season team. But
So
in
is
the
Philly.
playoffs, I don't
The last
trust
2
them.
years, 2 years ago, Philly was one of the most dominant,
Lost
if not
2
the
games.
most dominant team in the NFL that year. And then this past year, they had one of the biggest collapses we have seen from a dominant team, and they still won 11 games.
The Eagles faced the number 1 easiest schedule in 2022. That's why
They
were so
faced
dominant.
like the 6th easiest or 9th easiest this year.
this upcoming season.
Yes.
Yes, I know that. But that year, 2022 specifically, was one of the easiest schedules.
And last
I've
year's
ever seen.
schedule was not a walk in the park, and they started off undefeated.
11, yeah.
I mean, a lot. Listen, they deserve credit for how they started, but
They
also,
have the 9th easiest schedule. The Cowboys have the 9th hardest schedule.
you look at the Eagles and their 10-1 start to the season,
Cowboys schedule last year was cake too.
and you understood there was something that was missing with the Eagles. They were winning a ton of close games. The Bills, the Chiefs. The Chiefs, a drop pass by MVS is the reason the Chiefs lost that game. The Eagles won a bunch of one-score games. They even just beat the Patriots by 1 score, 25-20
Opening
in
week.
week 1.
Come on.
I know, but that's still the Patriots ended up being the
one.
worst team in the NFL. One of the
week
3 worst.
one.
I mean, of course, it's week 1, but still, all of the Eagles' wins were one-score victories, and they did not look as dominant as the year before because they
I don't
started
disagree.
10-1. A lot of people overlooked that, and then the second half of the season, when they faced the Niners, they got blown out. When they faced the Cowboys, they lost that game too, and the Cowboys beat them the second time around.
They
pretty
lost down the
convincingly.
stretch. They lost fucking everything.
Then they lost to the Seahawks
We don't gotta
against
go
Drew
over
Lock.
it.
Then they
Yeah.
lost
We
to
know.
Cardinals. And then they lost to the Buccaneers in the playoffs. So what I'm saying is that I don't think the Eagles are this terrible trash team we saw down the stretch in the second half. I also don't feel like they're this dominant 10-1 team that we saw to begin the season. They are somewhere in the middle.
Cowboys also lost to Miami and to Buffalo down the stretch. They beat Detroit in a very Mickey Mouse way. That whatever the call was in the end zone 2-point conversion was very
You
weird.
said bent over by San Francisco
Yeah.
already? Okay.
San Francisco too, didn't mention that. Like they don't get me wrong, they had some good wins, right? They had a couple here and there, but a lot of their wins were against Washington, against the Panthers. They weren't out here just dominating everyone. They beat the Rams. That was early Rams, like week 5, where they hadn't really caught their footing. They beat the
And the
early
Niners
Chargers.
butt-fucked them too.
Giants,
by,
didn't know they absolutely
yeah,
violated
like
them.
the Cowboys last season, even winning 11 games, like the best they had looked.
No, they were the
at their
NFC
peak,
Dolphins.
They were still, they were beating up on a lot of bad opponents.
They were the NFC Dolphins.
And then
At
they
least
got
when we
lucky.
was going on that street, we was beating good ass teams.
were.
I just
We
think
beat
the
the
Eagles.
Chiefs, we beat the Bills, we beat
Dolphins.
the Cowboys, we beat the Dolphins. Like even if you want to say the way we were winning was unsustainable, that's fine. You can say that. There were close games. I mean, when you have talent on your
You're playing
side
against dogs.
and you're playing
like,
against top teams, I
good
don't understand
teams
how
are gonna
that's
be
not
close
sustainable.
games. That's
we're,
fair.
We're just offensively, we're like that. But whatever. Okay, it's
The
not
Commanders
sustainable.
was a close game.
Yo,
Commanders and
Commanders-
have always been, and that's a that's a
Commanders give them
division
a hard
game.
time.
That's been that. It's just they just
The year that they
fucking
lost 2
nerves.
games, one of their losses was to
We were undefeated
the
before that,
Commanders.
and we lost that
Correct.
game. But
But I'm
you
just
know,
saying,
I
a
don't
lot
know.
of to begin the season, almost every game they won was a close score victory, and that regresses from year to year. And all I'm saying is that the Eagles are somewhere in the middle of what we saw in both those halves, and I think they're a 10-7 team. I don't think they are a 13-win team this year. I don't think they're a 12-win
So
team
there's
this
no way
year.
we could be like. So there's a way. So
I think the
last year-
Cowboys are 11-6 this year.
No, so wait, last year, which is fine. Last year, we started off 10-1, 11-1, and what it was. We were winning a lot of close games. You think it's in between that and when we folded at the end of the year?
Yes.
But there's no world where it can be. We're in between that and what we were the year before, where we won 14 games.
No, because your
Because we've
holes are
shown
too
you
massive.
last 2 years, we've shown you we're more great than bad.
But in 2022, you lost a lot of players in 2022.
I mean, we lost players. We're going to lose players every year.
I
but
mean,
I'm saying,
Jason Kelsey, Fletcher Cox, those are huge
yeah, but what I'm
losses.
saying, what we've shown you over the last 2 years is we're more great than bad.
Tyron Smith, Stephon Gilmore. Wait, did Gilmore come back?
No, he
Stephon
didn't.
Gilmore's on the Vikings, and
Okay, I thought so.
he's good. I mean, he's not a great corner no more. He's
Shit,
good.
he
though.
had a great game against us the second time we played him.
He did, and then he wasn't good against the Packers at all. I mean, nobody was. But no, I think the Eagles in 2022, they had the easiest schedule in the NFL, and They were a dominant team. I mean, that was the best team in the league that year from a roster perspective. They were absolutely stacked from top to bottom. They lost about 8 to 10 starters going into this past year, and the 2 coordinator changes happened. I mean, we're talking about the Eagles. They have 4 new coordinators in the last 2 years.
I think the coordinator change was more important than losing the players.
Jalen Hurts has not had the same coordinator since like high school. Every
how
year
many
changes.
games you have the Eagles winning?
I got them at 10-7.
So you have us winning 10 games.
And I got the Cowboys at 11-6.
Do you want to bet on 10?
I tried to bet on division winner.
We could bet on 10 is hilarious.
I would take the over on 10 too. I'll get in on that.
Because a man who says,
hilarious
I believe the Cowboys are going to win the division, what's $100?
We could do 50. We could do
I mean, you keep picking on them to win something. You're due for one, right?
Oh, shit.
Why not be this?
I mean, the Eagles imploded when you jumped on the train.
Oh, shit.
I was on the train all year.
No,
Stop.
you weren't.
Stop.
No, you weren't.
One
That's a
thing you
lie.
can't do up here
That's a lie.
is question my Philly
That's a
fan.
lie. You were a 49ers fan in the first half of the season.
One thing
all
you
year
can't
long.
do
That's
up.
the only thing you talked about.
No, I was a 49ers fan when it came to them versus Dallas.
No, honestly, it's
they-
once he started being on Jalen Hurts.
Nah, OD, that's really
That's
what it was.
But
That's
I've
what
been
it was.
Philly. You can't
Say
never
screw
question
Jalen
that.
Hurts right now.
Can never question that. I only became a Niners fan because you thought Dallas go to the Super Bowl. And what did the Niners do? Put honey on it, smack it. Week 4.
They did that to the Eagles, too.
No, of course.
Yeah. They
of
actually
course.
smacked y'all worse.
They both were ass
Did
whipping.
they?
So I
They did.
like
They did.
sure. Like okay.
Jalen Hurts looked like a lost puppy.
What did Dak look like?
He looked better.
You know,
he looked like a lost
We about
cat.
to have an
Nah,
ass
I'm
off.
gonna
It don't
be
even-
honest.
Like
I don't know if they
Yeah,
smacked him
like,
hurt.
Look at the score, John. Look at the score right now.
it don't even matter. We both got smacked. That's the point of it all.
Listen, the thing is, I don't really care about who's going to win this division or not. I have the Cowboys winning it, but ultimately,
Now this.
no, y'all so high on the Eagles. You think they're making the NFC Championship this year?
The fuck that got to do with the first you said it was
I
about
wanna-
the
I
regular
wanna-
season?
Nah,
Because
oh,
ultimately,
gee.
because
Oh,
ultimately, I don't think the Eagles are contenders, and I've been said that all year, all
That's
offseason.
fine.
And I'll continue to stand on that. You want to bet on that? You can bet on that.
But you started with we talking about regular season.
You're trying to change the odds.
Yeah, now you're trying to change the odds. You're trying to up the scales.
It's better odds to beat on the division or 10 wins than NFC
I
Championship.
mean, if you think team is an 11-win
John,
team or
don't worry.
more team, you think they're contenders?
I'll
I
tell
think
you
they're
what.
over 10 wins.
I'll
You
tell
think
you
they're a
what.
contender?
I think they're a contender. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll tell you
So
what.
why
When we
can't
get
you bet
when we
on
get
that?
Because
week
I'd
one
rather bet on
playoffs, I'll let
division
you
winner
know.
because we're talking about division winners.
All
We're
right.
not talking about NFC Championship.
Last year, Eagles versus Niners, 42-19. Last year, Niners versus Cowboys, 42-10.
Now they both were ass whippers.
They
though.
both
Like,
got
they
bent
destroyed
over.
both of us. But when we get to the playoffs, we can make a bet. You know how easy bet on Philly. I don't mind that. But you went from we talk about the regular season now.
nah,
to
so
the
it's
NFC
either
Championship.
it's Philly makes the NFC Championship game anything less you win. Come on, what the fuck? Like nothing about Dallas in there?
What you mean is
We can do who goes
You
further.
talking about the 10 wins?
Oh, you
the
can do
10
that.
wins or
Do
We can
whatever.
do who goes further.
Who goes
do
further
that.
between
Dallas and
Dallas
Philly. They
I'll
both
be-
got
I'll be-
smoked in the
Oh,
first round.
no.
Yeah. You don't
I
want
don't
to do
trust the
that.
Cowboys in the playoffs.
You should-
I just
yeah,
think in a
good.
regular season they'll be better than the Eagles.
It's all right, bro. Around week 9, you'll start to get that feeling in your stomach again. And
Yeah,
Dallas.
they'll beat the Panthers like 40-10 and be
my
like, oh
God.
man, it's this
He's
the
talking.
year.
What did he do
Crazy.
before that Niners
And
game
I look
last year?
forward to after week 10 you propping up Hurts as MVP and then falling the fuck off.
Won't
Get
happen.
out of here.
Won't happen.
No, Jalen Hurts is going to win MVP this year.
He was bad aggressive with it.
Fuck out of here.
Now listen, we could make a group bet. I mean, you and Riv could do something. We could do I'll do the line 10.5. We could do that.
I'll take over.
If they win 11 games, that's
And,
your bet.
I hate that I have to do this because CeeDee Lamb is my brother and he's on Dallas.
You can root
Which-
for CD and root for them to
It
lose.
just
That's
makes it
easy.
hard because now I want to see their downfall. I do badly, even though I want to do
CeeDee's
every.
gonna
CD can go for 1,800.
He
He
will.
will.
Still
He
there.
go
He might go for
2,000.
2,000. Oh,
Yeah.
see, we're here. We're on the same page. So the
can
line is
still
10.5.
Yes.
I'll take the over.
You're taking
So
the
I'm,
under.
I'm taking 10 wins. You're taking 11 wins.
You're just being a
We're
bad
put- we're
bettor
putting on
right
it.
now. Why are you taking the under?
I'll do 25 each, and then so 50. If I lose, then I'll give y'all 25 each.
25
It's just
each,
10.5 is so
25.
easy to take the over. You're choosing to be stubborn.
No, I think the Eagles. I don't think they're as good as you think they are.
I think they're good enough to win 12 in the regular season for sure.
No, I don't
when we get to the playoffs, we'll talk.
don't
I'll tell you
think
what's going to happen. Eagles are going to win 12 games. Then when we get to the playoffs, there's a new narrative he has to cook up. It's
gonna be double or nothing.
Double or nothing. Yeah. Get to the NFC Championship game. You believe in them. You believe in
You
them.
already know.
Watch. I can't wait
The
for
Eagles
it.
got a better chance of missing the playoffs than winning 12 games.
I'm not even entertaining that. Next topic.
It's the NFC West. This is another conversation that it can end up being long as
Because
fuck
I know
too.
where he's going.
But
He-
I'm gonna try and be level-headed here. Here we go. Number 1,
the Niners.
the Niners. Number 2, It's between two teams, the Seahawks or the Rams. I can
Rams.
hear an argument for either. Last place is the Cardinals. Their defense is simply too bad.
I agree.
But the Seattle Seahawks, Joel, you've been talking very highly on them all offseason.
I know where he has them.
Understandably so. The offensive line is still a concern for me.
I got Connor Williams.
He needs to show me that he's ready to go. You slept on Connor Williams too. I had to let you know, but he's like that.
He's good.
He's like that. Especially when you got nothing. Connor Williams comes in. Now you're excited about it. I don't know how I feel about the offensive line. However, I'm very optimistic about the offense. Getting a new play caller. Obviously, Geno Smith another year with DK Metcalf and JSN. Tyler Lockett, I think we'll start to see this first year where he is now the wide receiver 3. Ken Walker, don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of his, but I do think that he's a good running back. He was.
Nice.
Shocked me. Because I'm not a huge Kenny Walker guy. I believe that he's a good football player. I don't know if I'll go over anything more than that. But this Seahawks team can be good. The defensive side of the ball obviously can be very good, especially with McDonald taking over. He can be in the conversation for Coach of the Year when it's all said and done, especially if we're talking about a playoff team with the Seattle Seahawks. With the Rams, you lose Aaron Donald. This defensive line definitely has its question marks. The secondary has its question marks. I believe in this offense. I don't care that Puka Nacua had an injury coming in. I don't care that Kyron Williams is returning punts. Cooper Kupp is going to be back this season. Puka Nacua will be amazing this season. Kyron Williams will be amazing this season. And that all goes because Sean McVay and, of course, Matthew Stafford. This offense will be great. I don't have any doubts. The defense, though, is where the Seattle Seahawks can definitely make it a conversation.
Jamar did not show up to practice again.
I was waiting until we went into this week in the NFL. Yes.
I was thinking about the division a lot, and I think, the Seahawks bringing in the coach that made Brock Purdy throw 4 interceptions in the game, I think it definitely, now those matches become more intriguing because now that defense could win some games for the Seahawks. And I thought that the 49ers offense, they've always had their way against the Seahawks defense in the last couple of years for the most part, as Pete Carroll and his philosophy got
You're sick right
too
now?
outdated. I was thinking a lot about this, and
Like,
you know
why did he
what?
start with that?
You know what? Number one in this division,
Seattle,
I'm going with
the Niners.
the San Francisco
Yes.
49ers at 11-6
dumb.
Yeah, I
because
know.
Brandon Ayuk
11
is back. If Brandon Ayuk got traded, I was picking the
You were
Seahawks in
preying
this
on that,
division.
yeah.
I was picking the Seahawks when it's, especially with Trent Williams in question. Who knows when he'll be back? I think the Seahawks could have snuck into number one. Mike McDonald, we got to understand that with the Ravens.
Seattle at 1 so bad.
But God damn it, the fucking Brock Purdy hate's insane.
With no Brandon Ayuk, that's a huge loss for them.
That would be a massive loss.
That's a massive loss.
And fucking Ricky Pearsall, God bless him. He's
Yo,
gonna
he's on
miss
the
the
pup,
he's gonna miss the
facts.
first 4 games.
Yeah, that shit is
Yeah, no.
insane.
If Brandon Ayuk left, I think this division is a toss-up between the Seahawks and the 49ers. Mike McDonald, when he went to the Ravens, their defense didn't change instantly. It wasn't until Roquan Smith got there to when their defense was actually
Leveled.
good. I mean, you go back to the Week 2 game when Tua had a historic game. I mean, that's all you need to know about the defense not clicking. It was multiple blown coverage
Yeah, what
at
happened to
once,
the Jets?
all around.
All right, be quiet.
So I think the Seahawks will receive a massive boost. I have them at 10-7. My hot take in this division is I got the Rams at 7-10. I don't think the Rams are going to be that good. I think they're going to be a mediocre team because this is a great offense, but the defense is going to be bad. I mean,
bad that the offense can't make up for it.
I mean, last year they were below average with Aaron Donald.
But last year in the playoffs, they held their own against one of the best offenses in football.
Last year when it was Stafford, Puka, Cooper, and Kyron Williams, it was the best offense in football.
I have no questions about their offense. It's the defense. You lose Aaron Donald and Ernest Jones. Those are 2 of your best defenders last year. And yes, you can sell me on, you bring in Tre'Davious White, who only played 4 games last year, by the way. Darius Williams for the Jaguars. I thought he was a good pickup. Cameron Curl was good with the Commanders at one point in time. Last year he wasn't, but I think he is a good player. And I think they let go of Ernest Jones because they want to play more big nickel and they want to cover more. Ernest Jones is not a cover linebacker. He's a blitzing linebacker, but it's still a huge loss because he was one of the main reasons they were able to get the pressure when they blitz was because he's a missile when he blitz. I am high on the Rams' young defensive pieces, but you don't just lose Aaron Donald and not get worse, even when you have an elite offense.
I disagree.
This is like the Cowboys losing Mike. It is like the Browns losing Myles Garrett.
But worse.
And I think it's going to be felt. I mean, the Rams were a below average defense last year. Now you don't have 2 of your best defenders. This is very similar to
They were
Arizona.
average.
Like Arizona is in a similar boat to where I think they're going to be a good to great offense, and they're just going to have a terrible defense. So I have the Rams at 7-10, and I have the Cardinals at 6-11, but I flirted with 5-12 as well because we don't know what version of Kyler Murray we're going to get. They have one of the toughest schedules in football. In the second half, it gets lighter, but the issue with that is that in the second half of the season, that's where Kyler usually gets hurt. I mean, he's just gotten hurt every year of his career to this point. And so in that lighter stretch, you might have a backup quarterback playing. So I don't know if I can trust the health of Kyler for an entire season. And it's been a while since we saw him at his absolute best.
This season.
There's some
This would be a career
Here's-
year for
yeah.
Kyler Murray. I firmly believe that we're going to see the best version of him.
I hope we do.
And if we do, I think them and the Rams,
I think this is the
it's
best.
more of a competition between
This is
them.
the best supporting cast that I think he's had in his career. You have Maserati, you have Trey McBride, you have James Conner. This is going to be a nasty trio of weapons. James Conner was one of the most efficient running backs in football last
Greg
year.
Dortch killing it at camp.
I've heard some great things about
I
Dortch.
saw him on Sleeper. I need somebody to pick up.
I really am excited to watch this offense. The defense is going to be bad. It's going to be bad. The hope is that Gannon can figure it out because that is what his specialty is. But the
don't have
personnel
talent.
is so bad.
They don't have talent.
I can't trust it. But I think that this is a process that they're going through right now where they wanted to resolve the offense because it's a matter of making your offense great with K1 and then defensive pieces with how good Gannon is, that naturally will start to build itself as the years go on. But getting Trey and finally using him, period. Now that Ertz is gone and now that he had number one option type of opportunity last season, we saw him really break out into the scene. When Kyler Murray has had a number one option, we've seen Kyler Murray be a high-level passer. Maserati comes to town now. This is going to be the best offense Kyler's been a part of.
I have the Rams. I don't think they're going to be last place level bad. The
no,
offense to me is way too good. If you want to make the argument, you have a lot of question marks because Matthew Stafford's been banged up. Cooper Kupp has been healthy all offseason, but he has an injury history. Puka's entering the year a little banged up. Kyron's had an injury history. That I could get behind. But if you're telling me these dudes are healthy, this is going to be one of the best offenses in football. And the defense, I get it. It's not going to be one of the top 10 or even 15 defenses in the league. Last season, second half of the year, it was about a top 15 defense. Are they going to be the worst defense in the league to the point where the offense has to put up 30-plus every week? I don't know if it's going to get that level.
It could be like 25.
It could be 25, but if they're
Damn near worse in the
25,
league.
I think that's good enough where you could have an offense be one of the best in football and carry you to wins.
It's not like they have no one on this.
But you
defense.
got to think
don't have
Dehls, they dropped to 25, and then you just mentioned their offense is always banged up.
Yeah, listen, they have Kobe Turner. They have
Yes.
Jared Verse. Those are good players. They have also Braden Fisk and Byron Young. I think they have a young defensive line.
The start of their schedule is brutal.
But Aaron Donald not eating up double teams and not going to Kobe Turner now.
If they
I mean,
could
that's-
survive the
that's a
first
lot.
5 weeks of the season, because the first 5 weeks of the season
Would survive 2 and 3.
is Detroit, Arizona, San Francisco, Chicago, Green Bay. If you could survive, if you go 3-2, beat Arizona, beat Chicago, then Detroit, San Francisco, Green Bay, find one of those, you're setting yourself up nice for the rest. Because you have one other tough stretch towards the end of the season where you have Philly, the Saints, Buffalo,
Well, the Eagles are not a
San
tough game,
Francisco,
so-
and the Jets. So they're not even a tough game.
Stop moving like this, Joel. Stop.
You know,
But in between, you got Vegas, you got Minnesota, you got New England, Saints are in there, Arizona later in the
Do
year.
you know how many yards rushing Kyron would have against the Eagles defense? What do you think,
307.
Wow.
what about the Bengals defense?
That's a lot.
He would break AP's record.
285?
No, 308.
You know, Dehls, I hate that you're a Jets fan with him. Because then I be trying to not to throw
We
the
beat y'all.
jokes.
You can't talk.
You know,
my
we won a
God.
Super Bowl
We
in
beat
our
y'all.
life.
We beat
Time.
y'all
I'm
last
sorry.
year.
Joel, just
I'm
stay
sorry.
out of
No,
conversation.
you could.
I'm sorry.
That's the Jets. Throw your shots. It's the fucking Jets.
You haven't made the playoffs in 10 years. It's
Okay,
been
we
10.
got a better
It's been a
quarterback
decade.
than your quarterback.
I had a son before
no,
you
no.
made
Our
a
quarterback
playoff
is
game.
better than
I've
yours.
had a son.
Right now?
Yes, he is.
Stop.
It's Aaron Rodgers. How about
Drew,
you respect Aaron
I graduated
Rodgers?
high school. I've had a kid. They have yet to still
started
make
a
the
podcast.
playoffs. I started a podcast. I've got 5 years in this podcast, and yet and still, you have not made the playoffs. John has graduated. He has a girlfriend.
He was
You still have
19
yet
for
to do
8
it.
years, and
John
they
might
still
not have been
haven't
born
won
the
a
last
playoff.
time he made the
look,
playoffs.
stop.
No, but yeah,
I was 7
Dehls,
last
you're
time.
right. You know, the second half lines up with the Eagles and the Patriots.
They do play San
play the
Francisco,
Saints.
Buffalo, and
Saints is a
they have one of the top. San Francisco, Buffalo,
Saints
and who?
suck.
49ers? No.
this guy here.
Man, you better hope Dennis Allen doesn't
Buffalo,
embarrass that
San Francisco,
offense.
Jets, 3 straight
You
weeks
better
of
hope
stuff.
the Jets win the Super Bowl with this roster.
Oh, they
Because
got
if you don't, I'm gonna
they got
laugh
potential.
like all the time.
Well,
John, what do you got in this top 4, man?
I love this division. Hot take. I think 3 playoff teams can come out of this division.
Great.
I've got the Niners at 11-6. I do worry about Trent Williams not reporting, not being ready to be out there maybe week 1 because of his contract negotiations. But I do think the Seahawks are a sneaky good team at 10-7 at number 2. And then I like the Rams still at 9-8. They're going to be in 3rd place. And then the Cardinals, I think, could be one of the better offenses in the league easily. And they've got a ton of explosiveness in that team. I've got them coming in last at 7-10.
Nice job,
I'm
John.
gonna be
Let's
joking
do
into
our
that
seeding.
Cardinals
Yes.
offense.
NFC playoff predictions. First seed, I have the Packers. Second, 49ers. Third, Cowboys. Fourth, the Falcons. And my wild card teams, I have the Seahawks, Eagles, and the Bears.
For my prediction, I have number 1, the Detroit Lions. Number 2, San Francisco 49ers. Number 3, this is where I do have the Eagles. 4th, I have the Falcons. 5, I have the Packers. 6, Cowboys. 7, man, I don't know. I got a 3-way tie between the Bears, Bears, Seahawks, and Rams. But if I had to choose one right now, I'm leaning with the Bears.
So I got my division winners are the Eagles, the Niners, the Lions, and the Falcons. And my wild card teams are Packers, Chicago, and I got Dallas getting in.
The 1 seed, I have the Lions. 2 seed, Eagles. 3 seeds, the Falcons.
I respect that.
4 seed, Trent Williams, I really think is going to miss games.
Oh my God.
I think
4
there's a
seed?
real chance Trent Williams misses games, and if he misses games,
You got him at
the
11
Niners are
wins, though,
screwed.
right?
I got them at 10 wins. I think that division really could be up for grabs. If Trent Williams is there week 1 and he's healthy, okay.
I mean, if he's there
12
week
wins
4,
maybe.
you still don't think
It's
Niners
going to be
start.
close.
Okay.
It's going to every game matters. Week 1 against the Jets, going to matter. The 3 playoff teams, I have the Packers, Bears, and Rams.
Packers, Bears. Okay.
What are
I'm worried
yours,
about Trent,
John?
man.
I was muted. You asked me, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
your job.
All right. I didn't hear the name that he said.
He
My
did.
NFC,
Wait, can you hear him?
My NFC playoff predictions. Number 1 seed, I've got the Lions at 11-6. But I think they
We
got
all
upside
got the
to win.
Lions at number 1 seed. Oh, you have Packers. This fucking guy.
Little voice crack
That
action.
means
for
I
me
know
there.
I'm going to be right if y'all all got the same shit. I'm so predictable. Come on.
Really? Because you thought Dallas would win the Super Bowl.
Oh my.
I had the Chiefs winning.
Twice.
Did you think the
no,
Chiefs
no,
were
no,
going
no,
to
no,
win?
no, 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 no,
You
no.
thought the Chiefs were gonna win?
I pulled up the vid last porch vibes. It was twice.
Who'd you pick against the Chiefs and Eagles? You picked the
The team
Eagles,
that
right?
made it, not the
You
team
picked
that got
Eagles?
bounced in the
Oh,
first.
okay.
The team that made the Super
Didn't you
Bowl.
pick the Bills to beat the Chiefs?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah. Don't talk to me.
Bills are a good team.
My guys won 2
You were-
years
you
in
were-
a row.
you were a little
Don't talk to
nervous
me.
that game.
Don't talk to me.
But your guys
This
what?
go talk. This go talk.
Your guys
Don't talk
what?
to me. The Mahomes. He's go talk, man. Don't talk
Remember
to
when
me.
you
Burrow
thought
behind
that
you, buddy.
Josh Allen could be better than Mahomes? Remember that? Good times.
After the 2021 playoffs? Yeah, Josh Allen is that great.
What do you
I
mean
mean,
this is
so-
GOAT talk?
But Joe Burrow's in that conversation.
All
with him.
right.
He's the elite quarterback.
What do you mean it's GOAT talk?
He's elite. He's just not in the
What
conversation.
is GOAT talk?
Patrick Mahomes
You're
is
a
GOAT
Jets
talk.
fan.
He's my GOAT. I'm a Chiefs fan too. What are you talking about?
Oh my
What are you talking
fucking
about?
You're a
God.
Mahomes
What are you
fan. You're
talking
not a
about?
Chiefs fan.
What are you talking? They accept me, man. They use my audio on Mahomes accolades, man.
They sure did.
I'm in the community.
You have
man.
that. You have that sanction for you. I'm not
If
gonna lie.
if the Chiefs knew that he was talking about Josh Allen as highly as he was back in the day, they would have reconsidered. But
But he's got that pin
he's got
tweet.
it. He's got it.
Nah, they came around because all year long on the podcast, y'all said they wasn't gonna do nothing.
No cap. No
and
doubt.
they ended up winning the Super Bowl.
They cooked.
So, yeah.
Mid.
John, did you give your playoff predictions?
He did.
No, I did not.
Oh no, John.
1 seed was the Lions. 2 seed the Eagles. 3 seed I've got the I'm looking at the wrong slide. 3 seed I got the 49ers at 10-7. The 4 seed I've got the Falcons also at 10-7. And my 3 wild card teams: Packers, I think they're a lock. Seahawks, and last but not least, the Rams.
This week in the NFL, Drew, you want to start it off?
I do. So first off, I had that Brandon Ayuk obviously signed his extension. We hadn't recorded an episode when that news broke.
Oh,
we
shut
spoke
up.
about it a little bit for. You talking about me?
To Ayuk.
Oh yeah.
I said shout out.
Oh, I thought you said, "Oh, shut up."
Oh, no.
He gets 4 years, 120 million, 30 million annually. It was the first offer that was offered to him, and he waited, and then decided to take the deal now. That was a pretty interesting report, but obviously we just spoke about it. Trent Williams hasn't reported, said he won't, so that'll be interesting to look at. Now, next, quick little trivia, maybe not so quick. Who knows? You guys really like to surprise me. I've been staying on theme with the rookies. Can you guys name me the rookies? Running back, wide receiver, that have scored at least 10 double-digit touchdowns in their rookie season since 2000. Riv, we'll start with you. 3 strikes. There we go.
Jamar Chase.
Jamar Chase, yes, he had
How many
13.
do we have? Like guesses? Not guesses. I'm talking about like players
People,
that we
yeah,
have to
player, yeah.
guess.
Okay, there's a good amount of them. So give me 1 second. I will pull them up. But I know the players. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there are 7 receiving options. And for running backs, there's a good amount. That's why I combined the 2 of them.
Saquon Barkley.
Saquon Barkley, I believe, did have double-digit touchdowns. Give me 1 sec, though, because I need to pull up the running backs also. I have to dual threat this.
Would have been nice if you wrote it all down.
God forbid.
Saquon Barkley did have 11 touchdowns.
Odell.
Odell Beckham, of course, did have double digits. He had 12. It would be nice if you knew an answer.
I got time.
Touchdowns are tough.
Touchdowns, double-digit touchdowns.
Touchdowns are tough because big yardage could happen. Touchdowns gotta get a little lucky.
And this is ever.
Since 2000s. Rookies.
Randy Moss.
Randy Moss is not since 2000.
Yeah.
He
Apologize.
was in the 90s.
He's up there though, isn't he?
He's
Definitely.
number 1.
Fucking idiot.
I'm gonna go with Anquan Bolden.
Anquan Bolden, I don't believe did have double-digit touchdowns. He had an insane amount of receiving yards.
Was that wrong? You're checking.
That was wrong, but
Okay.
I will also check.
Got one name top of my head. I'm trying to think of any easy ones.
His rookie season, he had 8 touchdowns.
Zeke.
Ezekiel Elliott, yes, he did. Ezekiel Elliott had 15 touchdowns. That's the most since 2000. It's a godly rookie season.
Yeah,
It's
he was
arguably the best.
15?
He was
Huh?
OD.
15?
15 and 1,600 rushing. It's the best rookie rushing season since fucking Eric Dickerson.
Yeah.
Barry Sanders, one of the 2.
Philip Lindsay.
No, he didn't have double-digit touchdowns.
That's kind of for being like round 3. It's kind of crazy guess.
I don't know.
Philip Lindsay had 9.
Oh shit. Okay.
I felt like he had a lot of TDs.
Nah, he had a lot of yards. He had over 1,000.
He had an unbelievable rookie year.
Todd Gurley.
10. You remember that? Yo, you had so many names.
I tried to pull a fast one.
It's still early on for you to pull the fast one. You got 2 strikes
Hey,
now.
you get him out now. You get him out. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Go
Kareem
ahead.
Hunt.
Kareem Hunt, I believe, does have weight. No, he does not.
Fuck.
Probably had like 8.
It's just like Kansas City's offense. Even before Mahomes, it was moving.
10 touchdowns is tough, bro.
He had 8.
Mm.
Combined, there's a chance he might have had it. I'm not counting.
Or is the combined doesn't count? If you're
No.
looking for rushing or receiving,
You know what? I'm gonna.
it's bullshit, man.
I respect it.
Here's the thing: if I give it to you, I might have to give him Philip Lindsay. I'm pretty sure he had a receiver.
Oh, yeah.
So let me get back in this.
If we do it this way, it's gonna take forever.
It's gonna take me
Yeah,
a
Oh,
lifetime.
we
do it,
don't
don't do it.
have to.
All
We
right,
don't
all
have to.
right, all right. So you're at strike 1. You're at strike 1. You're at 2
cooked.
strikes.
Oh, I thought you
Yes,
said
2.
2.
Yeah, look at you.
My fault, gang.
Hating ass. I was about to call you.
All right, I'm giving hints. A couple happened this season.
Rookies.
And if you say he's gonna guess this name, and I'm gonna be mad. Go ahead.
Rasheed Rice.
No, not the Roses.
10 TDs, man. Listen, man.
We're not locked.
I ain't been locked in a minute. That's on me. Look, they're thinking.
You're out.
Oh, I'm out?
Man, is it Devon Achane?
No.
Puka.
No.
None of us are locked in,
Puka
apparently.
didn't get 10 TDs.
No.
What?
You back up, Joel.
Jaden Reed?
No.
No. Oh,
he's
Jesus
out.
Christ. Jaden
What do you
Reed's
mean,
fake
Jesus
crazy.
Christ?
AJ Green.
It's a good cast. I don't think it's.
I thought Puka was a lock. I'm not gonna lie.
AJ Green's not here. Jaden Reed had 8 though. Not a bad
And
guess.
probably had 2 more rushing.
We're all out. I just want to
We
point that out.
definitely have that all 3
Yeah, we're
strikes.
all out.
No, well, you're out.
We're-
It's
now
them
we're
two.
back to
No,
back.
he's
it's them
out.
two. No, they had one
You got
strike.
3 strikes.
He
Yeah.
just
We had
did 2 in a row.
No, brother, we all have 3
Yes.
strikes. You were the first to
Yeah,
get
you were
3
the first
strikes.
to
So
get
now
3
it's
That
fatal.
shit don't work like that. How?
That's how-
No.
that's
No,
we've
you
done,
had
bro.
3 strikes. They had 1. Then he got his second. He got his second.
then they just went around
You were
again.
out exactly.
And they're out.
And then
But we have to do a tiebreaker.
Correct. That's the tiebreaker.
There's no such
This is
thing,
how
bro.
it's been, bro.
I don't believe that. That didn't even get enough right to even
Please,
have a tiebreaker.
2 happened this season, huh? I know.
That's what I'm saying. They ain't even have enough to
I
really
said,
get a tiebreaker. For
all right,
real.
this is where shit gets a spoiler, and because you're the first guest, I don't feel bad. I said receiving option.
Can I just guess?
No.
They didn't even guess that many. This game is for
Receiving option makes you think it's a running back.
It is running back and wide receivers on the list.
But let me think about
Good.
rookies.
Good think. Good.
JSN, I don't think did it. Zay Flowers is a potential. There's some chance that he did do it.
Yeah.
10.
You need to lock it in. Mr. Flowers.
He was gonna keep yapping over there. He was gonna say nothing about the cloud.
4.
He's crazy.
2.
Let me go with Zay Flowers.
Yeah, wrong.
Jameer.
Jameer Gibbs did have
He had
double
10
digit. He had
rushing
10
touchdowns?
Is
rushing.
Alvin Kamara on the list? Since he won already?
I don't believe he is. All right. Names that were this year. Jordan Addison. Sam Laporta.
You didn't say tight
You
ends.
didn't say tight ends.
I said receiving
No,
options.
you said
I thought
only
you
running
said
back
running
and
back
wide
and said tight ends,
receivers.
too.
No,
I
you should've-
said
you should've.
receiving
I was
options.
just thinking about
Bro, you
wide
only said
receivers.
running
I
back
thought
and
you
wide
said
receivers.
running back and receivers.
On the list.
Right before I started, I said receiving options.
We'll look at the tape.
And then I
Run
also
back to
just
film.
said to you guys, receiving
Yeah,
options.
but if you only tell us in the beginning running back and wide receiver.
I was
John-
just thinking about
John,
running wide
I'm
receivers.
bugging for that.
John wasn't listening. He was not doing his job.
All right, so you guys didn't get
Texting
Mike
girls
Evans.
over there.
Calvin Ridley also had 10 touchdowns. Clinton Portis, Mike Anderson, Cam Newton, Alfred,
Cam Newton.
I was gonna ask are quarterbacks in here, but then I was like, I don't want to give it away to one of y'all.
I wasn't
Alfred
getting that.
Morris, Maurice Jones-Drew, Willie
wasn't
McGahee,
getting half
Adrian
these names, I'll be
Peterson.
honest.
Half these names, they're dogs.
Willis McGee. I
Definitely
wasn't
guessed
getting him,
AP.
I'll be honest. I wasn't going to guess Alfred
Antonio
Morris.
Gibson,
Antonio Gibson, got
Jonathan
10 touchdowns.
Taylor,
I
Eddie
didn't know JC
Lacy,
had 10.
Doug Martin, Trent Richardson. I
Trent's
wouldn't have
a
expected
name.
that. That is a name.
Trent is a fucking name.
Tim Hightower, I'm pretty sure that's his name. Yep. Jonathan Stewart, LT.
So do you guys want to do any of my short form?
Yeah, I'm with it.
So tell me what you want to do. I already told you guys 5 times, but building the perfect AFC team, building the perfect NFC team, week 1 bold predictions, or building the perfect team around Paulo using 1 All-NBA player and 1 All-Star.
We can
Build
let's
AFC.
build the AFC and NFC. Good shit.
Okay. Let me just get this
How many
down.
positions are we doing?
So we'll do quarterback, running back, 3 receivers,
Cool.
tight end, offensive line, defensive line, or offensive line and whole defense.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Can we say build the best team in the AFC without taking the best player at each position?
We could do that too.
All right.
Are we going like
Well, it's not
pick,
really the
pick,
best
and we
team, then.
can't like talk
know?
about it?
But this is a little bit more
I think that would be
exotic,
more
man.
interesting. Yeah.
Yes.
Instead of all chatting about it like you guys.
Just pick off the grace.
Yeah.
I think it'd be funny as hell.
Okay. Building the perfect AFC team without using the best player at each position. Riv gets the first pick. We got quarterback, running back, 3 receivers, a tight end, offensive line, and defense.
What division are we in?
AFC, the whole AFC.
Oh, so you can't. Okay, so you can't use the best player at each position. So Mahomes is
I did
off
that
the
on
table.
purpose. No Mahomes. I'm a genius.
Running back in the AFC. Okay.
So quarterback can't use Mahomes.
So Tyreek Hill is the best in the AFC.
Yes.
So I'm gonna go with my first pick. I'm gonna go Jamar Chase.
Okay. Love
So
that.
we're building just one team here. just
One
so
team,
everyone
yeah.
Yeah,
sees.
that's facts.
No communication. Speak.
Okay, my next pick is going to be Josh Allen, a quarterback.
That's easy. At running back, I believe the best running back in the AFC is Brees Hall. I do believe that. In the AFC?
I agree.
I'm not. I can't speak. I can't
but-
speak.
Nick Chubb, Jonathan Taylor.
Oh, I said what I said.
Can't speak.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
doesn't
Yeah.
listen.
Gentlemen.
I didn't speak.
But I agree. I can speak because I'm not part
But
of
the
this.
draft pick is obviously going to be Jonathan Taylor.
Okay. Got Josh Allen, JT, and Jamar
All right,
Chase.
now that you can speak, what the fuck are you making that face for?
You can't speak.
Correct.
So shh.
That's why I asked you the question now while it's still
I
mine.
don't want to talk about. I'm
So you
trying to
don't
lock
have an
in.
answer objectively.
Well, no, it was like it's what he said. Essentially, those 2 guys are up there also.
Now Brees Hall's better.
Sure, maybe it's possible. So what we got? Josh Allen,
JT, Jamar Chase.
JT, Jamar Chase. Give me Kansas City's defense.
Okay. Think the Jets are the best defense, I'm assuming?
Oh shit! Yeah, yes,
Okay.
correct. So we can't go for best. Yes, so give me Kansas City's defense.
My next pick is going to be Devontae Adams at wide receiver.
Okay. Respect. I'm surprised you went that way.
Oh, I could have went Nico.
You like the
Collins,
young
too.
guys.
I could have went Nico.
This guy can't stop. Once you make your pick, stop talking.
Are you taking Nico?
I definitely was going to take Nico
No.
Khan, so I will not take Nico anymore.
Got some dudes up
I
here.
have tight end,
O-line, wide receiver.
O-line. I believe the best O-line in the AFC is probably Kansas City. That being said, on paper, that's tough. I'm going to wait on O-line. I'm going to say tight end. All the good tight ends, a lot of them are
Yep.
in the NFC, but I will take Mark Andrews at tight end.
Okay. 1 wide receiver and O-line left.
got Jamar Chase. Who's our other?
Got
receiver?
Chase and Tay.
And you cannot take Nico Collins. I'm going to shut up.
Name our team again, please. To name
We
our team
got
again.
Josh Allen, Jonathan Taylor, Jamar Chase, Devontae Adams, Mark Andrews, and Kansas City's defense.
And I believe so Kansas City has the best offensive line in the AFC. I'm thinking of teams.
Got a wide receiver spot out there.
No, I know. I'm just trying to think of teams. I'm gonna go. Who we got? We got Chase. We got who's our second
Tay.
receiver? Give me speed. I'm gonna go Jalen Waddle.
Love that.
I'm gonna go Jalen Waddle.
Folded.
He did?
Yeah.
Low key.
Did I?
Jalen Waddle's not bad.
And for the offensive line, I'm between a couple teams. I'm between the Colts. I'm between the Browns. The Chiefs are the best unit, so I'm guessing we're not going to go with the Chiefs. The Jets' offensive line isn't bad if
I
they're
thought about
healthy
it.
either.
I'm sorry.
I'm going to go with the Cleveland Browns' offensive line.
Good selection. Garrett Wilson.
Garrett Wilson's right there.
Oh,
It's right
I
there.
was fucking blanking on his name.
all right.
I'm sorry.
All right, so
Jalen Waddle's not bad.
the team you've built, Josh Allen, the quarterback, Jonathan Taylor at running back, Jamar Chase, Devontae Adams, and Jalen Waddle at wide receiver, Mark Andrews at tight end, Browns O-line, KC's defense.
Nice.
Decent team.
We cooked.
All right, do you want to do a different stipulation for the NFC?
We should do best player. We can't pick the best player on each team.
On each team.
I guess it doesn't really work for O-line and defense, but
I like this current stipulation.
I do like it too. We
Okay.
keep the same.
same thing.
All right. Go
Let
ahead.
me introduce it. Building the perfect NFC team without using the best player at each position. Drew gets the first pick.
In the NFC, the best quarterback, it's controversial. I mean,
It is controversial.
is it Dak? Is it
I
Jalen?
mean, of course not. So.
Yeah, that's what's tough.
I think definitely Dak.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I agree.
You can't talk.
I believe the best quarterback in the NFC is still Jalen Hurts. So I will not be selecting Jalen Hurts.
What if we? Never mind. I'll ask when I go.
I will go off of the fact that the quarterback has a little vagueness, so I will go to a different position. I'm going to go wide receiver. I'm going to go A.J. Brown.
All right. So I'm gonna just assume that we all believe CeeDee Lamb is the best wide receiver in the NFC. So AJ Brown.
Justin
is-
Jefferson.
Jettis.
Fuck.
So he's
So then,
valid.
so then why you folded? So
Why?
then I'm gonna pick
You're
CeeDee
welcome.
Lamb.
You got to
CeeDee
take your
Lamb.
guy.
Yeah, we should have just picked him.
Because there's so much ambiguity with the quarterbacks in this conference, there's really no set who's the best one, even though I think there is a clear best one. It's Matthew Stafford. I think he's the best quarterback in this conference.
He cooked.
I'm shocked you gave him that respect.
I thought he
I've
would say
always
somebody else.
respected Matthew
He
Stafford.
cooked. He cooked. He
So
cooked. He cooked.
between Jordan Love, Jalen Hurts, and Dak
think he only did
Prescott,
it because he
I'm
wants
going
to-
with Jordan Love.
I
He's
knew
our quarterback.
that was a game plan.
I'm going to be honest with you. He's so right.
That was 100%.
Matthew
a game
Stafford
plan.
is 100% the best quarterback.
He
in the
is,
NFC.
but I don't think he believes that.
He said that so he could
think-
put
yeah,
Jordan
I think
Love
that
in
was
this
the
team.
game plan from the jump, and I respect it.
No, Matthew Stafford is the best quarterback in the NFC.
At the wide
After the
rece-
season, will it be Jordan Love? Yes.
At wide receiver, Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Could have found better options.
Name one.
Brandon Ayuk.
But you need a slot receiver. Amon-Ra fits in the slot here.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
that's
guess.
sure.
I mean, CeeDee Lamb can do everything.
There.
we
You want
want
to
him
live in
do.
12 personnel.
Okay.
We don't
okay.
need him.
Ew.
All right, you need a running back,
We
tight
need
end,
somebody with
O-line,
some
and
speed.
defense.
We fake.
Let's get two tight ends.
All right, here we go. Here we go. NFC.
Good job.
We got offensive line. Give me Detroit.
I think we say Detroit's the best offensive line already.
I do.
I was
believe
going
that.
to say Philly, but you know what? It doesn't
say
even matter.
take
So we
Philly.
can just
I think
flip
Detroit's
it
better.
the
and give me
glazing's
Philly.
insane, bro.
Is it not a fact?
Losing
Without Kelsey, they're not
yeah,
number
yeah,
one.
Yeah. Detroit goes over them for me.
That's fine. Either way, we get an elite offensive
agreed.
line. We still have Lane Johnson.
Cook
Alright.
and Landon.
Need a running back, tight end, defense.
We have Mekhi back then.
God bless you.
At tight end, I'm going to go with Sam Laporta.
Easy. At running back, the best running back is CMC by far. I am taking. It's either Saquon or Jahmyr Gibbs, and I think
Wow.
right now.
No other guy, huh?
It's like the point of not talking.
no other guy's crazy.
Now he's got me thinking. Okay, facts. And for that, I'm not taking Bijan Robinson. I will take Saquon Barkley.
Okay. Got a defense left. Who's it going to be, Riv?
So the best defense in the NFC. I would say is probably the Niners. Give myself a window. Joel was hyping up the Saints defense, but I think we want some swag, some aura on our team.
You take Saints defense, I stop talking to you for life.
If you didn't just hear what I said, I think we want some swag, some aura, so we're not going to take the Saints defense. Let's go Green Bay's defense.
Okay.
Green Bay.
Let's
All
go
right.
Green Bay's defense.
So your team is Jordan Love at quarterback, Saquon at running back, AJ Brown, CD, and Amner at wide receiver.
Amazing.
That's insane. Laporta at tight ends, Philly's O-line, Green Bay's defense. So which team wins out of these? The AFC versus NFC?
Let me ask you a question. What
The
did
team
you
with
think?
Josh Allen.
What did you think? Who's the best tight end in the NFC?
Kittle.
Kittle.
Okay, cool with that.
Did
What
you
running
think
back
anybody
were you
else?
guys deciding?
I know.
What were you thinking of?
In the NFC,
Yeah.
running back, if it wasn't CMC, I think it's Saquon.
When you
I
said,
just-
when you said the
It's
other
just
guy,
he mentioned Gibbs.
No, he
And
said Saquon, too.
I
No,
said
he said-
Gibbs and Saquon.
I know he said Saquon and Gibbs, but since you mentioned Gibbs, I was like, oh wow, no Bijan. If you mentioned Gibbs, I feel like you got to mention Bijan.
I think Gibbs was better last year.
I know. I think
okay.
I agree with you.
I'll be
But
honest,
I know
the
how high you're on
NFC's
those
receiving
Bijan.
core AJ, CD, and Amon
that's-
Ra
that's
compared to
nuts.
Chase, Tay, and Waddle.
No, I think the
Watch
AFC
this.
would win. I think the AFC would win.
AFC has Josh Allen though. NFC
Yes.
has Jordan Love. It's like, you know what I mean?
Actually, we'll see. I talk soon.
Okay, talk soon.
Oh,
talk
my
soon.
God.
So this week in the NFL, I wanted to talk about the Lions because
They're gonna come in last place,
We
right?
just had a whole conversation about them.
yeah, but I just want to make a simple statement. I feel like we don't appreciate just how much Jared Goff turned around his career. His final season with the Rams, 20 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. Sean McVay trades him, and once Sean McVay trades him, we think he's damaged goods. Because if a genius offensive coordinator is moving on from you, we think there's nowhere you can succeed. He goes to a Lions team that wasn't successful with Matthew Stafford. We thought that he would just, it'd be the end of him there, but Dan Campbell comes in, Brad Holmes comes in. They make a ton of great decisions. Jared Goff, his first year in Detroit, he wasn't that good. But back-to-back seasons, they have restored his confidence. Ben Johnson and him, they work in great as a pair. And now Jared Goff in back-to-back seasons has damn near thrown 30 touchdowns, less than 10 interceptions, and one of the best passer ratings in the NFL. It's not often that we see a first overall pick completely flame out in his rookie year in the NFL because he was horrible in his rookie year. His second year, he bounces back. But then over time, he gets a big contract and he fails with the Rams, with McVay. He gets traded to Detroit. That was a lowly organization. And then he restores his career and he's one of the better quarterbacks in the league. I think that he doesn't get enough credit. I think it's an awesome redemption story. I do believe the Lions have a Super Bowl ceiling. And if Jared Goff is able to get to Super Bowl this year and he's able to win because he wasn't able to win his first time around with the Rams, I think it would be an amazing full circle moment for him and how far he's come in his career. And I feel like we don't see stories like that too often. And we're seeing it right now with Jared Goff.
So you would say Detroit has a Super Bowl ceiling.
Yes.
Do you think they have a division winning ceiling?
Yes.
Oh, okay, just make sure.
Yes. Two best teams, man. The Packers and Lions, man. It's two best teams.
Two of the best three.
Two of the best four.
Two of the best four.
Shout out to San Fran.
Shout out to Philly.
Just
and
after we
San Fran.
smoked them week one, I feel like the stock's gonna be down. So I'm already building.
we're
that
gonna
in.
smoke-
Fourth in the division, Joel, is insane.
No, fourth in the conference.
Listen,
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Dehls,
That's maybe the hottest
you
take
handle
you've ever
business. We
had.
handle business on Friday. Call it that.
Say it again.
You handle business on Monday. We'll handle business on Friday, and you'll be a happy man for the weekend.
I will be.
Legitimately a happy ass
I will
man.
be. I will be.
So I just can't
Are we
wait.
doing
to-
hires or lowers? 3:15 right now.
You could do like maybe 3 or 4 if you want to.
love that
You don't
shit.
have to do all of them.
Put NBA in the title type shit.
I love that. I love that. I love that. I love that. There we go.
Introduce the topic, would you, Riff?
I was just getting it up.
Thanks.
That-
He had no faith in you right there.
No, I wasn't gonna do it. I wasn't.
He was just going to get into it. He wasn't
I
gonna
really was because I
intro it.
thought you were gonna. Because you usually introduce the topic and then I get into
This
it.
is
after.
No, I was
Ribs,
thinking.
higher,
I was
lower.
thinking hires and lowers, man. I feel like you could do that weekly with the NBA if you want to.
Sure, that'd be cool. Like just come in here higher and lower on whatever. How should I introduce this stuff? Like help me out there.
You could say these are rivs, higher, lowers. I mean, we're starting off like higher and lower is like a brand new concept we
We say
brought to the
hires,
show.
lowers, NBA edition.
So yes,
Okay, so this is hires and lowers.
Just higher or lower.
This is higher or lower NBA edition. I have 3 to 4 questions that I want to ask you guys. I want you to tell me if you are a higher or lower on this question.
Okay.
So, first one up, this is a 2-part question. Are you higher or lower on DeJounte Murray benefiting the Pelicans' ceiling? Part 2 of the question, are you higher or lower on BI finishing the year a Pelican?
Okay.
I'm higher on DeJounte helping out their situation because they need a point guard. When DeJounte had the ball in his hands, he was pretty good in Atlanta. Not as good as Trae Young, obviously, but it's better than what the Pelicans have had at point while Zion's been there and once Zoe left. I'm lower on the idea that BI won't be on the team. I think he will be on the team the whole season.
So you think he stays?
I do.
I'm lower on DeJounte allowing the Pelicans to reach their ceiling. I think DeJounte is an upgrade, but I don't think all of a sudden they're winning a playoff
Upgrade
series.
from who? CJ?
Yeah, or just and whatever else they had.
was
Jose
pretty
Alvarado.
fucking good last year.
We're assuming CJ moves to the bench. Six-man?
6-man would get me
That'd be a nice move. But I don't
That means
think.
Herb moves to the bench?
Oh
No.
no. I can't do that.
I said CJ 6-man.
CJ probably moves.
Oh, I
six-man.
was thinking if CJ starts.
I don't want to see that.
I just don't think DeJounte's a needle mover enough that because they're probably at best 5-6 seed. So you got to go up against one of those top
I'm
dogs
asking
in the
you.
West. At least I think they're like best case scenario about a 5 seed. You still have to go up against those top dogs in the West. But I do think BI will remain a Pelican, so I'm higher on that.
I'm lower on DeJounte and his fit with the Pelicans. I think he brings perimeter defense. He was a sneakily good spot-up shooter with Atlanta this past year, but he couldn't mess with Trae Young. And while there isn't a guy on the Pelicans that's as ball dominant as Trae, Brandon Ingram is best with the ball in his hands. CJ's best with the ball in his hands. Zion is best with the ball in his hands. So DeJounte running this offense and how it's going to look, I have question marks about that. And his shooting is spotty. You know, sometimes he's consistent, sometimes he's not.
And
so
he's
because
consistent.
of that, it is, you know, but I don't know if it helps in this scenario.
Shrinks the court for sure.
So for me, I'm lower on it. I think
Kinda long
DeJounte's
too,
a good player, but I don't think he was the point guard that the Pelicans should have went out and got, even though they didn't really trade much for him. And for BI, I'm higher on him not being with the Pelicans. It's just going to take
So lower.
a team. What was the exact question?
Higher or lower on BI finishing the season as a Pelican?
Oh, yeah, you're right. So I'm lower on BI too. I think the problem with that, though, is I don't know if there's a team out there that wants to trade for Brandon Ingram.
They give him the money.
And that's the only reason why I could see him on the Pelicans. But if any team was willing to budge, then he would have been gone, I
And
believe.
it doesn't make much sense for the Pelicans to just give him up for like nothing at the deadline. Like you might as well try to make a run, see what you can do.
His contract isn't nothing crazy,
No,
too.
no.
So, all right, next question. Please listen and pick. I'm being very specific. So, Jabal, listen. Are you higher or lower on Damian Lillard returning as a top 5 point guard in the league?
I'm higher. I think that's going to happen. I think this is the year that the Bucks stay healthy. I think a full offseason under Doc Rivers.
Who does he take over?
And I think,
He's gonna be better than Tyrese Halliburton.
He's done in the top 5.
Luka, SGA, Jalen Brunson,
him?
Oh, you're right.
Curry.
Reese.
You're right. I mean, yeah, Dame is taking one of those guys' spots. I think Dame is going to
That
have a
top 4 is
fantastic
gonna be
season.
real tough
He
to
has
come
no
over.
shot of taking the top 3.
I'm lower on this. I say this with respect to Damian Lillard. I think that he's an excellent player all time. I think at this point, though, I'm higher on John Morant being better than him. I'm higher on Trae Young having a better season than him next season. I think that Damian can play very well next season, but that doesn't mean that he can be better than the following guys I mentioned. It's that 5th spot that is up for grabs, and I think the one who has the best chance to take it, again, is John Morant.
Didn't you just think Dame was better than all those guys coming into this year?
I did not say that. The
No.
question I posed to you...
Not this year. I'm talking about last year.
I understand.
No,
The
last year
question-
for sure.
The question I posed to you guys was, is there a route that Damian Lillard can become the best player in the league? I asked the
point guard.
question.
Point
Correct.
guard, yeah.
Correct. I asked the question.
That's a long way in saying that Trey's just going to be better than him and Ja's going to be better than him.
No. Again, I asked a question. That didn't mean if I believed it.
So
I was
coming into-
asking the team the question.
Coming into this past season when Dame averaged 30 for the Blazers
Love
on
these
extra efficiency,
conversations, man.
you had Trae Young as a better point guard than Dame.
Yes.
Okay, you had Ja as a better point guard than Dame.
Yes.
Coming into the season, I'm not talking about the year we just saw.
No, I got you. Yes.
Okay.
Trying to find
Stand
my
on it.
top 10.
And
power.
Damian Lillard, first off, what he did was soft. He did not play, even though the team wanted him to sit. He sat. And the year before that, he missed almost the entire season.
Yeah, I don't think Dame is going to get back to top 5 level. I think he could be better than what he was last season. Another year of continuity, building with Giannis. But top 5, brother, be serious. He going to be better than Trae Young.
The Bucks are not worried about the Celtics are not worried about the Bucks.
Okay.
He going to be better than Halliburton?
Dame, he could be. Yeah,
He going to be better than Trae Young?
Yes, he can.
He going to be better
high
than
praise from him.
Tyrese Maxey?
Yes.
Ja Morant?
Yes.
It's
Dame
usually
Dame can average 28 this year on excellent efficiency, and we're forgetting about this down year he just had.
maybe, but he's 34. Typically, when you start to have a decline at age 34,
A few
it's hard
anomalies,
to-
Steph, LeBron.
There is anomalies.
It wasn't
I just
really a
don't know.
decline. He was figuring out how to play with Giannis. When Giannis didn't play, Dame was still Dame.
Yeah, for sure. But Giannis is going to play most of the games, probably. You know what I mean? Like,
Listen, there's nothing wrong with Dame being a top 7, top 8 point guard
I
in
think
the
top
league.
7, 8 is firm.
The,
I think
the
I'm at 8 this
position
past
is
year.
unbelievably talented.
Top 5 is nuts, though. 6 is valid.
Okay.
7's valid.
Like I said, you better hope he gets back to form. He's
Brother, he
whooping
could be a
y'all
top
ass.
3 point guard, still not being Boston.
Okay.
He won't. Top 3 is crazy.
And that's no way in hell.
Yeah. Top 3. He'd have to average 35 for the season.
I said top 5, not top 3.
No, and I said even if he got to top 3, it don't matter, bro.
No, he's saying even if he is top 3, there's no way in hell would the Bucks beat them. That's what he's saying.
And I don't trust Tatum to have like another Game 6 performance. He's not that guy.
It's fine. We're probably not going to get to Game 6.
Next question.
Bucks in 5?
Okay.
Yeah, you
all right.
wish.
Yeah. Los and 5. Nuts. Next question. Are you higher or actually we can breeze by the next 3 and call it a day. These are mad easy. Are you higher or lower on Orlando being a top 4 seed in the Eastern Conference?
Ooh, top 4 is a good question. I'm going to say
I
lower.
use 4 specifically.
I'm going to go lower. I believe the Celtics. I believe the Knicks. I'm going to go Bucks.
This is everything included.
and
Being
the Sixers.
healthy, all
Correct. I'm here. Those 4 teams I have over the Orlando Magic. Can the Orlando Magic be a top 6 team? Absolutely. That's what's going to happen in my honest opinion. Top 4, that's tough.
I think 5 seed is probably their sweet spot right now. But you look, Boston's going to be just as good as last season. Philly added Paul George. The Knicks added Mikal Bridges. And the Bucks is really the question mark. If there's any team the Magic can take over, it's the Milwaukee Bucks.
What are you? All right, now you're going nuts.
Yes, Dehls.
Now you're
Stand on
going
his
nuts.
Bucks.
What did they do to improve compared to Philly or
It
New
doesn't
York?
matter. Last year they were average for their standards, and they still were.
And what were they with Doc
a
Rivers?
50,
Yeah,
50
shout out
win
to
team?
who was the coach before? I can't remember his name.
Adrian Griffin.
Shout out to Adrian Griffin. He had them like 33 and 15, and then Doc came there, a 500 team.
It's funny coming from Dehls. He's a process over results kind of guy.
Well, they were mid with Doc. They had like a 27 game sample with Doc, 30 game sample, and they were mid.
The Magic
Oh,
have
49
played
wins. Excuse me. 1 win away from 50.
the Celtics really well. You know, they're a special young team. They are.
The follow for the Bucks is there. The path is easier for the Bucks, in my opinion, than Philly and for New York.
Man, and I you know, the Magic have played the Celtics really well.
The 4.
I think there's 2 teams that played the Celtics well, the Bucks and the Magic.
got
I
nothing to do with
remember
the
the Bucks,
Celtics,
they kicked the Celtics ass.
You know this has nothing to do with the
prime time.
Celtics.
I think they beat them by like 40.
Or they won the championship
Was it
this year
about
too,
40?
right?
I forgot.
Did they get a ring for that? They get a ring for
I
that?
forgot about that. Listen, I think this is pretty easily lower. I mean, you have, if 4 of the best teams in the East are healthy, the Bucks, Sixers, Knicks, and Celtics are 4th. Then I think then I just see no scenario where the Magic are a top 4 seed in the East.
I think I actually because they'll probably be the healthiest out the bunch of these teams, and you know you're probably not gonna have PG, Joel Embiid play the full season.
Probably push the most in the regular season.
Yeah, they're probably gonna play hard as shit. 82 games of straight lockdown defense. But okay. Next question: are you higher or lower on Russell Westbrook being a positive impact for Denver in the regular season and the playoffs?
Lower, because you included the playoffs.
Yeah, lower easy.
How the mighty have fallen.
yeah.
What about you, elite playmaker?
Listen, he still has a knack for playmaking. That's for sure, and he's a great perimeter defender too.
Great.
No, he
He's
is
pretty fucking good on
he
the
was,
perimeter.
He was great.
He has a knack for playmaking, great playmaking now.
Oh yeah, he does. He always has.
You know, he averaged like 5 points against Dallas.
I know, but defensively he was good.
Come on,
Yeah.
this should be quick. Please, higher or lower.
Listen, I'm going higher
3.5
on this.
hours.
For some reason, I kind of have some belief in Russell Westbrook this year with Nikola Jokic.
Fair enough.
One more. Are you higher? This is one that's really for you.
Okay.
Are you higher or lower or Trae Young finishing out his contract as an Atlanta Hawk?
I really want to say lower because I
Yes,
want to
this
see
year,
him.
next year, the year after is a player option. probably declines it to get more money.
I
Does he
want
finish it out
him
with the Hawks?
traded so I can see him on the Spurs. However,
It can happen.
I would love that. I think the Hawks understand that this is their most valuable guy, and they determined that this offseason when they traded DeJounte Murray. I think I'm lower on this statement. I think that they want him to be their franchise player.
Sorry, say the same one more time.
Are
Higher
you
or lower?
higher or lower on Trae Young finishing out his contract as an Atlanta Hawk?
Yeah. So you're saying
I'm lower on.
Lower.
Oh, I'm sorry.
higher,
I'm
right?
higher on that.
Yeah,
Apologize.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm lower. I think Trae Young
okay.
will get moved eventually. This Hawks team, they're gonna be terrible. I think like maybe they could get to the 10 seed because the
It's
East
not
is
hard
just
to East.
so terrible. But I don't believe in really. I just don't think they're talented enough. Right? Like you had number 1 overall pick, you take Zachary, you have Jalen Johnson there. So, you have Double O who has some potential, but eventually Trae Young's going to look at this unit and be like, if I want a chance to do anything ever, and I'm 26, 27 years old, if I don't request a trade now, I'm going to miss my chance. So I think in the next year or two, he's going to get moved.
I see the vision with this Hawks team surrounding Trae Young with wings that can defend and that can shoot. Risa Shade, I don't think was worth the number 1 overall pick, but in this draft, it can be argued. John over there was telling me about Alexander Sarr, and then he went, he didn't make a basket in Summer League, pathetic.
He's due.
John telling me about that.
I'm gonna be honest. Joel's out for blood this episode.
Yeah, oh dear.
And I got into a whole
Do you ever
argument.
just want to talk with your friends and be happy?
I had a whole
No
argument with John about Alexander Sarr. He told me he's going to be a superstar in the league. It's
That's completely
Can't spell
fabricated.
superstar without Sarr.
That never happened.
Cook.
Oh, fuck.
can't
Like
wait,
that?
what?
Can't spell superstar without Sarr.
But I don't know. Will Trae Young get traded? I feel like
Gotta
Trae Young.
trademark that. Someone's going to steal that.
I feel like Trae Young. I don't know what his value around the league is going to be because there's a lot of good guards in the league, and there's no doubt that Trae Young is better than a lot of the guards. But
Like Dame.
there's some teams that they have defensive first guards and they don't have the ball as often as Trae, and that fits better to their team. I think he's going to stay on the Atlanta Hawks. Like maybe there's a scenario he gets traded to the Spurs, but I think the Spurs are trying to build through the draft and have as much draft capital as possible. So I'm higher on Trae Young finishing out his contract with the Hawks.
We're at the 328 mark, so 330
Beautiful.
is a beautiful flat line, fellas.
Yeah. And that's going to do it for this episode of the Pick a Side Podcast, episode 403. You guys can follow us on Twitter at Pick a Side Pod, on Instagram and TikTok at Pick a Side Podcast. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.